A father and son in Oregon say they co-signed a $200,000 Star Wars Lego collection to Bricks and Minifigs franchise store in late 2023. When the store changed hands a year later, most of the collection was missing. Now this might seem menial at first glance, but it has quickly turned into an Arkham Asylum level tale of cinema and genuine evil. Hence it's standing as currently, and probably to stay, the biggest scandal of the year. And there is so much happening expectedly that it's actually pretty difficult to find out exactly what happened. So hopefully I can help out in this video, because we are going to be covering all of it. But before that, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I have just moved all the way from Glasgow to London, but you wouldn't even know that because the backgrounds look pretty much the exact same. So subscribe for consistency, and also to fund my trip to London's M&M's world, which, as we all know, is the only thing this city has to offer. Okay, so firstly, again, this doesn't seem like a big deal, but we're going to look at the video of the previous owners of the store making a vid explaining the situation. By the way, for those who don't know, Bricks and Minifigs is a large-scale company over in America primarily that does a lot of Lego dealings, and before this situation it was seen as the gold standard for Lego, whether it be trading, buying, selling, that kind of thing. But this situation has gone so out of hand now that people, Americans mainly, are genuinely walking into Bricks and Minifig stores and just fighting people who work there as some sort of weird sense of justice, I guess. Like they think they're helping the situation or getting the Legos back for the people who had it stolen from them, which I'm gonna off the bat say that I don't see this as a situation where Legos were stolen from someone. I see it as a situation where $200,000 was stolen from someone, just to connote how serious of a situation this actually is and just how unfair it is, because you also see some of the most unjust policing I think I've ever seen online. It even gets like really religious and culty in the middle of it when the Mormon religion takes like a huge place in the story, because that's like possibly a part of the police corruption. The police in the area some of the investigators end up going to happen to be Mormon, which is aligning perfectly with the people who are committing the crime. And so there's like this huge conspiracy that the Mormon police are protecting their Mormon brothers via, you know, deceptive police work. But again, man, the whole situation is genuinely, it's so insane that I can barely even scratch the surface of it in the first 5 minutes of this video. So we are going to start by actually talking about what happened. So here is a video of the previous owners explaining what happened in their own words. There's a lot of videos here, by the way, so we're not going to be watching every second of every video, but, you know, if you're watching this one, you're probably looking for more of a cut down, condensed version, which I know it might not seem that way based on the video length, but there's a lot happening here.
Our Lego franchise and our life savings, along with the giant collection inside the store, which was owned by Brian Mansell's father, was taken by Bricks and Minifigs. We want to clear up some common misconceptions and add some details. First of all, I am not Amanda. I'm Crystal, also go by Chris.
I'm Benjamin. Not Reckless Ben, the YouTube documentarian. I'm Benjamin Gorman, the novelist.
So the video Reckless Ben made about this entire situation before it became as huge as it is right now is intrinsic to the story, and we will have a look at that later, as in probably right after this video. They were the first, well, one of the first people to cover this story, definitely the first to cover it to the large extent that it has become. But chronologically, I think it makes more sense to listen to these owners first, because it is very important context for the actual documentary.
We co-owned the franchise.
I managed the store.
We purchased the franchise in February of 2023.
At first, everything seemed to be going really well. There were problems right from the beginning, ways that BAM was not in compliance with their own franchise agreement, but the store was doing well. I loved my customers, and it seemed like everything was going to work out fine.
Then we decided to move overseas because of my work. I'm a publisher at a small press, not at Pike Publishing, and we thought we might need to be publishing from outside the US for political reasons.
When we approached BAM about selling the store, they pretended to be open to the idea, though they would later admit they had been planning this.
A guy named Brandon Best showed up on a Thursday night and demanded the keys. They threatened us with the police and promised to do an inventory and compensate us. They said they understood there was a large collection on consignment and acknowledged they were taking that over.
Because taking on the business, he takes on all that consignment liability.
They told us the same thing they told Brian Mansell, that we could fight them, but they would drag it out and make it so expensive we would be putting ourselves into a whole lot of shit. Their words. Here's their executive product manager and director of operations, Kai McAllister, on the phone with us the night they took the store.
If we go the legal route, it's going to be a very expensive battle for you, and it's not going to be a good position for you guys to get into. There's not a whole lot of options for you. If you want to go the legal route, it's just going to be a mess, and it's going to be expensive for you.
So Brian is the man whose collection was stolen, essentially, and this is what was being told to him when he threatened to do some sort of legal action against Bricks and Minifigs for stealing $200,000 from them. And this seems to be, I guess, a common tactic that Bricks and Minifigs uses whenever they, you know, break the law, I guess, which is just threatening people who obviously don't have a huge company behind them and are just regular civilians with dragging out the lawsuit as long as possible and getting them bankrupt. Now, fortunately, this has come to a position now, it's come to such a level of fame that, like, their business is being negatively affected, like very much so. All the sponsors are pulling out, it's not looking good for them. But they have not even fully backed down yet. Obviously, there's been some progress made, but like nowhere near the amount that should be happening. And this took weeks, by the way. Like, Bricks and Minifigs they're one of the most stubborn, insane, mental companies I think I've ever seen online. Or just period. Forget online. Trust me, you've seen nothing yet.
Yeah, so why not consider talking with us rather than leaping to this?
We jumped on the call with Crystal this morning.
And you talked with her, or you talked at her?
We talked at her. If you fight this, then you're putting yourself into a whole lot of shit. It sounds like a threat, and I can acknowledge you feeling that, because in a way it is.
I mean, we have no choice, correct?
Yes.
We were about to move and now had our life savings taken from us. We still tried, but this loss made the relocation untenable. Eventually, we were able to find a lawyer to represent us in Utah, where BAM is headquartered.
We tried to negotiate with BAM. Just as they threatened, they dragged everything out and refused to even offer a settlement.
They claim they own the store so they can take it, and also that they never owned the store in between taking it from us and selling it to Brandon Best and Josh Johnson. It can't be both. They claim in their newest public statement that it's all our fault they took Brian Mansell's father's collection because they don't allow consignments. But they were always aware of the consignment. They promoted it when it was on the news and in the newspaper a year before they took our store, and the franchise agreement expressly allows consignment, in contradiction of their newest statement.
Once, they even tried to say we never owned the store in the first place, which would mean all their claims that it's the previous owner's fault would be lies.
We believe the best way to get Brian compensated is to win our lawsuit and include the full value of his collection in the damages so that he can then be compensated.
We've learned they've done this to other franchise owners, and we want to hear from other people BAM has treated in this same way.
Please don't harass the employees at the various franchises. This is not their fault. However, I was required as a franchise owner to pay 6% of my sales in monthly royalty fees to corporate. So do with that information what you will.
Okay, now these two put out a lot more information and videos and online posts after this one. But of course, to understand it all, we will get to it. Let's watch the original Ben Reckless video. Not the entire thing, it's like a 90-minute video. It's a huge deep dive. I'd highly recommend watching it. There is a lot of rage bait there that, like, you might not enjoy. People are very much gassing up this video. It's a good video, it is good, but it's also, there's definitely some annoying parts. We'll have a look at the most important sections though, of course.
He reached out to me because he has no clue how to break this news to his dad.
At this point, my father had a health episode. We can't bring any stress to him.
So this is Brian, just to be clear, the victim of the Lego collection who got stolen. Well, it's him and his father, who we haven't seen on camera yet. And then there's a lot of blurs here. This is because of the legal action that was taken by Bricks and Minifigs after Reckless Ben released their documentary. These blurs don't really do much. They try to sort of do it in post with the YouTube editor, which isn't great. It's very pernickety and difficult. So if there is anything blurred or something that I choose not to talk about in this video for legal reasons, if you go and watch Reckless Ben's OG video, you probably can still see it despite it maybe not being legal. I'll bring that up though if there ever is a point where I need to make that clear.
It wasn't until Brandon got there that he informed me that they were terminating my franchise agreement. We were getting threats from Brandon and from corporate that if we didn't leave the store immediately, the police were going to be called. I told corporate I wasn't comfortable leaving that night without the inventory. I was also told I was not going to be able to stay there long enough to do that inventory.
All the footage and evidence is there in the security cam footage. It's him at the store kicking her out. In that footage they sent us is Crystal asking him, how am I supposed to pay this guy? These are sets he has not been paid for.
These are ones that he has not been paid his percentage yet. And if I don't have the tickets, I won't know how much I need to pay him.
That's a business thing and not necessarily yours. If he's taking on the business, he takes on all that consignment.
His own corporation is sitting there on video saying they're going to take it.
Yeah, and his own corporation being there saying that he's going to take the consignment, like video evidence of that existing, is huge. That's like one of the biggest points of conversation regarding this case. And it is imperative that you remember this clip for pretty much the entire thing, by the way. Now you can see Crystal and Benjamin in that OG clip. Crystal gets like their own Lego minifigure. She gets featured a lot more as well, but then Benjamin's just sort of blurry in the background, whilst you've got this business guy here who is associated with the company saying like, no, don't worry about it, we'll take on consignment.
Tickets, I won't know how much I need to pay.
That's a business thing and not necessarily yours. If he's taking on the business, he takes on all that consignment.
His own corporation is sitting there on video saying they're going to take it. I called the store and I said, what happened to Crystal? And he goes, well, that's kind of a private matter, but the corporation's taking over the store. There's something I can do to help you with. I said, well, yeah. I am the owner of about half your store's inventory. All those vintage Star Wars sets you have in there are ours. And he goes, oh, I don't know anything about that. Yeah, well, you better get to learn about it because I have a contract, I have photo evidence, video evidence, like that is our collection. So I went down to the store, brought a copy of the contract. We're like, you need to let me in back and let me see the sets that you still have. All you have to do is let me in back. We can go that route or we can go to court. And the guy just looks at me, crosses his arms and goes, let me tell you what's going to happen. If we go to court, we're going to drag this thing out so long and you're going to end up spending so much more money than your collection is ever worth or what you ever would have gotten on it, that it ain't worth it, man. So if that's the route you want to go, and I go, that's really the route you want to go, rather than just letting me walk in there and go, no.
So this guy, Brian, headed over to the store, contract in hand, hearing that it's gonna, you know, obviously shut down. And he's thinking, well, I've got $200,000 in there. Or the majority of it. Maybe some of it's been sold at this point. But the better part of $200,000, which I will be referring to it as. I don't care that it's a Lego collection. It's $200,000 from him and his dad, right? That is like, that's years worth of savings. Decades worth of savings, even. Unfortunately for him, fucking Homelander was at the store that day and just goes, you know, you could fight back, but then if you do, I will destroy everything. What season was that? I'm trying to remember if that was like back when the boys were still good. I honestly don't know. Those last 2 seasons were just, man, they were so shit that sort of blurred the whole thing for me.
Bricks and Minifigs knows that this family, especially with the father's health, doesn't have the resources to take them to court. And almost mockingly, they've since flooded all of their social media with...
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting this bit. This is fucking insane, dude. Bricks and Minifigs, the official account of this store, is posting, almost goading the family, this son and his father, by constantly posting their collection specifically to all of the social medias, being like, look how cool this shit is, and it could be yours. There is no way this wasn't intentional, and like the whole thing is so they've stolen 200 grand, and they're basically making it rain on camera in front of them. This is like scamming an old grandma out of 80,000 and then calling them afterwards and going, we have your money, you'll never get it back, ha ha ha.
At this point, it seems like they're just rubbing it in this family's face.
Like, look at that. Look at that picture, man. Look at him. Look at his face. He knows exactly what he's doing.
And they got away with it. A YouTuber ended up catching wind of this story and created a team of YouTubers to do whatever they could to get Brian his Legos back.
This is the full inventory of all the sets and minifigs.
We can figure out how to get this guy's money and his stuff back.
But right after they started, they instantly stopped working on this case.
So they were threatening legal action against us. You know, Bricks and Minifigs, which is a pretty big company.
A huge company, and there's no probably there. A group of Lego YouTubers, which Lego YouTube's a real thing. There's a real niche for it, but it's not huge. It's not a mainstream niche. So a bunch of Lego YouTubers with a group channel of, what, 70,000 subscribers? No way are you ever going to compete for Bricks and Minifigs. So as much as I do think it's a real shame that they took their videos down and halted the investigation, I absolutely don't judge them for it. Like, I probably would have done the same thing in their situation, because it's fucking terrifying having this huge company looming over you, essentially saying, fucking wind your neck in or you're fucked. It'd be like if you had no experience fighting and you were 80 pounds, and then you had like a heavyweight MMA fighter say to you, if you take a step too far, I am going to do everything in my power to kill you. You would be terrified because you know you wouldn't stand a chance, and that the stakes of losing are insanely high, without even much reward for going through with it. Like, just live your life as you usually would have without losing much, or lose everything. It's incredibly fucking scummy behavior. I honestly can't believe it. I can't believe it's actually legal to drag out cases like that just to bankrupt your opponent. That should not be allowed. It's fucking insane, dude. It's such an American thing as well. One really easy way to tell if my commenters are American is if I cover someone who has slighted me in any way, shape, or form, and a commenter says, you need to sue them, I immediately know, okay, they're American. That's not a thing outside of America. You don't just sue people for anything at any time at any place. Whereas in America, when anything slightly inconvenient happens, that seems to be the first fucking option.
I had terrible anxiety attacks over it, got put on medication. I just kind of was like, okay, I just have to let these freaking things go right now. Because it didn't seem like I had any path to go.
I kind of just want to hear Bricks and Minifigs side of the story.
So basically my friend said that you guys have some of his Legos, I think, and he told me to come here and see if I could pick them up.
Who's your friend?
I think they're Brian's Legos. It's like a big like Star Wars collection set, I think.
You could go ahead and leave now.
Really?
So you could go ahead and leave now, or I will call the police for harassment.
Well, I'm not harassing you.
No, you are. Hi. You want to watch the cameras? I'm being harassed. Watch the cameras. I'm being harassed.
You're still all of the Lego sets you guys still have.
I don't have anything to do with that, and I don't want that.
I tried for a long time just to get her to look at this contract. But finally, she gave me an answer of why she can't help me.
You're supposed to be getting a hold of corporate.
I literally went to the corporate Bricks and Minifigs headquarters.
Where'd you go in?
And this was corporate side of the story.
You have to talk to the store owner. Yeah, like they're all locally owned and operated, and we can't do anything with it here. Their decisions are their decisions.
This is like a wild goose chase. Again, this is so American. I feel like what's harder, this or navigating the healthcare system over there? So you go to the no, you need to go to the hospital directly. Okay, let's go over to the hospital. No, you need to get your prescription. Okay, let's go to the general health practitioner. No, actually, you need to go. It's like that. It's a wild goose chase at this point, and it's going nowhere. Although Reckless Ben does have this habit of getting directly and physically involved in these situations. Like, he goes to the police stations, he goes to the Minifigs headquarters, he goes to the actual store with all of the memorabilia, with the $200,000 that Brian and his father got stolen from them. And that woman, I don't know if it's so weird though, because either they're all in on it, or maybe that woman is just an employee who has been specifically told by people higher up than her, if anyone mentions Brian or the stolen Lego collection, tell them to fuck off. You have the full authority, sorry, to do so. But I don't know, part of the way that she responded there makes me feel as though she must be in on it to an extent, because it just screams guilt. And when I say that, I don't mean she seems guilty, because she doesn't, and that might be one of the worst parts, is that no one in the Bricks and Minifigs company seems to ever give a fuck. Like, there's no iota, there is no semblance of, we feel a bit bad for stealing $200,000 from an innocent man and his father, who don't even necessarily need the Lego collection back, they just need to be paid for it. Like, they're being so reasonable here. They're just burglars, they're thieves, I mean, they're just thieves. And, like, big time crooks as well, huge ones, not just a wee, I'll steal 100 quid off this bloke's piggy bank. Even 100 quid would be crazy, but like, this is 200,000 grand! 200,000 grand. 200 grand.
So when they say go to corporate, how do we respond next time?
I have no idea. You have to take up with them. It's your thing with them. It doesn't involve us.
So I showed the manager what corporate Bricks and Minifigs said.
When corporate tells me this, I'm supposed to come back to the store, right? And so it kind of seems like you're going against what corporate's saying.
That's fine.
Oh, this is what corporate told us.
I'm happy that's what corporate told me for the last time I'm asking you to leave the store.
Can you give me a reason to leave, I guess?
Have you guys heard me ask me several times?
The owner of the store called in and asked if he could talk to me.
Are you the owner of the Bricks and Minifigs store?
Yeah, why? What you got?
So basically, I just wanted to get some of the Legos back that you guys still have. I think I'm looking for the clone turbo tank.
Why do you think you would be entitled to our inventory?
I just want to get it back to my friends. He said he couldn't get it back, so I was just wondering if I could just come pick him up.
I mean, that is ironically, the most entitled statement I think I've ever heard. Why do you think you're entitled to our inventory? Motherfucker, you stole the inventory. This is like if, you know what it is? I've been dogging on America too much. These guys, this is Britain. This is Britain incarnate. This is like if Greece asked Lord Elgin for the Parthenon structures back, and then fucking England went, mate, I don't know, you're barking up the wrong tree here. These are our statues, actually? It's like, well, no, they're only yours because you fucking stole them and put them in your museums, and now your taxpayers pay for them. We had nothing to do with that. You fucking nicked them off us, prick. And to make matters worse, in the year 2026, Dankyjabo went over to the museum and enjoyed looking at them on his second day in London. And that might just be the most incriminating part of it all.
Why do you think your friend would be entitled to our inventory?
What's his? He owns the Legos.
Huh? He doesn't own the Legos.
Well, yeah, we have a contract. He does own them.
No, bro, are you an idiot? Are you stupid?
Gosh, the police is showing up right now.
Yeah, that's all we get, by the way. That's like his go-to response whenever he's confronted with actual facts is, you're an idiot and you're stupid. Not even that. Are you an idiot? Are you stupid? He doesn't even have the conviction or the chest to just call him an idiot or call him stupid. He has to ask the fucking question because he's that much of a wuss. Yeah, the guy's a fucking pleb. He's just pathetic. Like, he is a pleb. It's unfortunate, really. Like, Reckless Ben has all the correct answers. Why do you think you're entitled to our inventory? Well, it's not your inventory. Brian owns it. We have a contract saying that he owns it. Everything's legit here. And because it's so ironclad, there is legitimately no way that corporate or the head honcho here can respond with anything substantial. So he's sort of left to his demise. He can only respond with menial and immature insults like, are you dumb? Are you stupid? Are you an idiot?
I think it's like $200,000 worth of Lego sets that we just have them in the store and we just like to pick them up, I guess, because they were going to sell it.
Oh, this fucking police chat really pisses me off, dude. I'm not conspiratorial by nature. Like, I don't really believe conspiracies, and I don't believe that the police in this situation are given, like, hush money by Bricks and Minifigs. I don't think Bricks and Minifigs run Lego like the fucking mafia and have these ties with the police. However, based on how the police treat Reckless Ben and Brian and his dad, I wouldn't even necessarily hold it against you or argue with you too much if you were under the impression that they were working in close alliance with Bricks and Minifigs or are being dealt, like, I don't know, secret illegal Legos under the table. Like, if it all came out that Bricks and Minifigs was some sort of money laundering scheme for high-level drug traders in conjunction with the Utah police, I wouldn't, like, honestly, it wouldn't even shock me at this point, because the way that the police treat this situation, despite Reckless Ben, Brian, and his dad having all of the fucking evidence necessary entry, plus more, to prove that 200 grand was stolen from them is bewildering. Like, as a Brit, I always hear about the incompetency of American police, and part of me feels as though sometimes it's over-exaggerated, but Jesus, the way, I genuinely can't believe this. And it looks real bad as well. Like, all the good police officers out there must be either turning in their grave if they're dead, or, I don't know, being really disappointed if they're alive, I guess. You know what, I should stop talking and actually show you the interaction and then go off a bit more.
For us, but I guess you're not selling it for us anymore.
But does it sound like they want you here, right? So
Well, but they have our set, so yeah.
I understand that. Right here, the fact is that they don't want you to have your own store, and they don't want you on the website.
But I don't want them to keep the Lego sets, though.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
The police officer literally didn't care at all that the store just stole $200,000 worth of Legos.
So you already trespassed here. So
okay.
Just for life. So if you come back.
Oh, for life?
Yeah. If you come back, you could be arrested.
Listen, so this is why I don't like calling them Legos, because I feel as though if this is a legitimate case of policing and there's no like hush money or corrupt shit going on at the table, I feel as though part of the reason why this isn't being taken as seriously as it definitely should be is because they're Legos and not, you know, it's not real money or something a bit more materially, obviously expensive, like wine or something. Like the police officer, this guy here might be a bit out of touch and thinks like, oh, Legos, it's a toy. Like, who actually gives a fuck? This guy's mental. What is he doing? But it's like, no, it shouldn't be thought of as that. It should be thought of not only is it $200,000, but the fact that it's Legos makes it even worse because there's actually some sentiment to that $200,000. What is happening here, genuinely, what has happened here is someone has stolen, I don't know, let's make a fictional thing. Let's say I go to your house and I steal $200,000 cash because, you know, Dankyjabo viewers are fucking ball and I'm sure you have that laying around. Let's say I grab it all. I grab it in my hand, I've got 200 grand in my hand and I run away and I put it in my house. You bop about to my house, you call the police, and you say to them, my Dankyjabo has 200 grand. He stole it from me. That is my life savings. I'm fucked without it. Can you go get it back from him? Right? You then knock on my door and I say, what are you doing here? This is like my house. Can you go away? And you'll sit there like, well, you have 200,000 of my, those are my dollars, right? You have you stole everything from me. And the cop goes, well, this is, you know, this is his house and he does want you to leave, so with all due respect, just fuck off, really. It's like everyone would be these fucking maniacs. Like, what is that? This is ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Yeah, it's private property, but they also stole 200 fucking grand. Imagine, like, being a kid and wanting to be a police officer and save the world and be a hero when you grow up, and this is what you're fucking doing. What a wanker, honestly.
Oh, so how do I get the Legos back then if I can't go in the store?
Okay, we talked about it. Do you understand the stress? Unfortunately, if you come back, you will be arrested.
Brian did warn me that the police are actively trying to cover this up.
Is there, I guess, a reason why they're able to just take all the Legos and not give it back, or?
So, we just gotta leave.
I should leave?
So, leave now.
See, this is so weird. Like, why can't they just acknowledge that 200 grand was stolen? I know I said I'm not conspiratorial, but there must be. I refuse to believe this is just normal policing. There must be something going on here. There fucking has to be.
And the Bricks and Minifigs CEO, the guy who runs the entire company, Eamon McNeff, he personally came out to talk to us.
So what's going on?
So you guys are holding some of our Legos?
No, we're not.
You're not?
No.
Is that a lie?
No. Who's like?
Brian Mansell.
Okay, and who's that?
Oh my god, look at this guy's fucking mustache, by the way. You can't make this shit up. Like, he genuinely has a comic book supervillain style mustache. Mate, with a stash like that, how do you tell if he's lying? See if his lips are moving. He gets up every day and he styles his... Dude, come on. Like, do you want people to despise you?
He's a guy who had he had like $200,000 worth of Legos in your guys' store.
Never happened. No, we did not.
Yeah, because his Legos were in the store and you guys took them. I know you think lying to us right now is kind of like helping you out.
I'm not lying to you.
Well, we both know you're lying, but...
No, we don't know that.
So I showed him some social media posts his own company made that are still up that claims that these are Brian Mansell's Lego sets. And these Lego sets that they're still holding on to are worth $200,000.
If you just want to give it back now, it's going to be a lot easier for you guys, you know? I think you guys would prefer the easy way. The hard way, I don't think you guys are really going to like it.
No, okay.
But we're getting it back either way, so it's like you can either...
So you can leave. If you come back here, we will call the cops. If you don't leave right now, I will call the cops. So you're threatening me. What you are doing right now is illegal. It's an extortion.
So catching you guys in illegal activity, that's illegal on me.
I can't believe this. Like, it's actually getting me angry all over again. Are you watching it all? Like, I'm in disbelief looking at this. I can't believe his mustache more than anything. Like, that is honestly blown my mind. But then, to be fair, he does hit him with the completely impossible to attack defense, legally especially, of, nope, not true. Nuh-uh, never happened. You're a liar.
So I checked their business records, but everything got scrubbed. This owner is really going to any length he can to stay fully anonymous.
By the way, if you think that just scrubbing their records is bad, just you wait. They end up shutting the entire store down on a whim because of a small claims court settlement. Sorry for the spoilers there, but it gets really bad.
I dressed him up to look like a famous YouTuber, so he would look powerful, and the employees here.
We heard something about like some like Star Wars sets.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about that, or?
I know some of it. They were gonna reimburse him for everything, and then I think they did, and he's still upset about everything, which I get.
Damn! See, this is the thing about Reckless Ben. Some of this shit is really good. Like, some of the ideas that he has to, like, get the stuff back and sort of behoove information out of people is really clever, and it's like peak cinema. There are real documentaries that I've seen in cinemas that don't have the level of ingenuity and, like, creativity and interest that this does. Reckless Ben is a fine creator. I think there were, you know what, no, it is a good video. I think there's just some moments where he comes across a wee bit annoying, but overall the video is fucking great. And this is nothing, by the way. They have like multi-dimensional level schemes that we see later on in this video too, and they're all amazingly entertaining.
Yeah, we don't have any of his stuff on the shelf.
Really?
Yeah, we don't have any of it.
So we think they've been lying to you. So these were all the sets in the store, and they're all metadata timestamped.
Wait, we do have these ones.
Yeah, those are all his.
No, some of them I think we do still have.
Yeah, I know you guys do. You showed me one of them when I asked.
Did I? Wait. I got your call on you? You know what's really funny is after you left, I got a call from my boss, and it was like, how do we get them arrested? How do we
Dang.
get them arrested?
But you have like their numbers and stuff, right?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, did you give me Josh's number? Can I take a picture of it?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Hello, this is Josh.
Hello. I'm just calling to get my Legos back. I think they told me to talk to you about it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, what Legos?
I think it's the Star Wars set. I have a list. I can kind of pull it up. I was just wondering, like, how we can get them back. Should I, like, if I get your okay, I can just walk in the store and...
I don't know what Legos you're talking about, dude. What are you talking about?
I think one of them's called, like, the Super Trooper set, I think. We got... What else is there?
I don't know what you're talking about. Keep going.
You don't?
I decided to send him over a picture of the contract his store's in.
What contract is it? I didn't sign a contract. I didn't sign that agreement. I didn't agree to anything in that.
Josh is claiming that it's not his name on the contract, it's the previous owner's, which makes no sense because in the security camera footage, he tells the previous owner that he's going to be the one taking over the contract now.
He's taking on the business, he takes on all that consignment.
In order for me to be under contract, I have to sign something.
Or you had to take it over from the previous owner, right?
Nope, that's not how the law works.
Yeah, it is.
It is?
So...
If that's how the law works, then sue me for it.
You don't just want to give the Legos back? Like...
It's such a simple solution. Just fucking give the Legos back, dude. You won't lose anything. I guess you would lose $200,000 that you've stolen. And again, just go with the whole sue me option because he knows he can decimate them in court. Fuck, man. This story's not over. I really do wish it has a happy ending. To be honest, though, Reckless Ben is so relentless and reckless that I feel he's doing it. Oh, man. He's doing a real service. I do like this guy. I do like him. He's entertaining. He's a good YouTuber. He's great at storytelling. And he's doing a good thing as well. I only have like one of those qualities. And I suck myself off daily. This guy probably loves the smell of his own farts, and I wouldn't even judge him for it. Fuck's sake. He probably doesn't drop his microphone like a dumbass either.
I'm calling the police right now, and you guys are going to be arrested for harassment.
Do you feel threatened right now?
Yeah.
We've been to a couple attorneys and they basically spelled it out saying, here's the path that's going to happen if you go down each of these routes. They're now in Spain, so we're getting into that whole international thing just to have them an injunction on the store to have them go back and prove what they sold and not. And that's like $60,000 to $70,000.
He's like, we're going to keep these. You're going to walk away from this. You're not coming back. And if you choose to sue us, we will drag this out in court until it is well past what this collection is worth.
It's actually accurate. Also added a cute little company logo.
Okay. This is their next plan here. I don't know about this. This is a silly plan. I think this is very YouTube coded and not actually like in service of trying to solve the problem. This is one of the problems I have with this video, I guess. Reckless Ben tries to do this thing where instead of suing Bricks and Minifigs, which would obviously be this huge slug, it would cost millions of dollars, it would be a huge, it wouldn't work basically because they would get decimated by this huge company. They try to get Bricks and Minifigs to sue them instead. However, they try to do it in a way to where they would win the case that they are being sued for. So they make their own company called Bricks and Minifigs. We steal from old people as the tagline, but no. The twist is, the company is called We Steal From Old People, and Bricks and Minifigs is the tagline because there is no specification under US company law that says whether or not the tagline needs to be below or above the name of the company. So you've got We Steal From Old People, and then you've got the tagline above the We Steal From Old People, and then you've got an old person crying down there too. And in their mind, they think that if they put this out and like make a whole company out of it and make a whole Instagram and like do all this PR bullshit, that Bricks and Minifigs will see it and think, oh my god, this is damaging to our company, we need to sue them. My issue with it, however, is that they are literally using the Bricks and Minifigs actual, like, copyrighted logo, so I feel as though this would still be illegal, and if Bricks and Minifigs sued them, they would probably win, because this is undeniably damaging to their company. You know, it's a real case of, Ham Lindigo Blue, if any of you know that reference.
Registered We Steal From Old People as an official Oregon company. And now that my company's legally approved, I made a website, and you can visit us at www.westealfromoldpeople.com. Setting up a Bricks and Minifigs We Steal From Old People company booth right outside of their entrance. And I have all of the court papers already filled out if they want to sue me. Hopefully they take the bait.
Is this the main store or is it the one that's out front?
No, there's a guy selling stuff out front. I don't know what he's selling. Wait, what?
No, you cannot be out here doing this.
Why not?
Were you the guy that was just trespassed out here? It's the guy that was out there. It was the guy that was just trespassed. What? Was it? Yes.
You calling the cops, right?
Oh, hello, this is corporate. We steal from old people. How's it going?
You do what?
Well, the corporation's called We Steal From Old People. Our tagline is Bricks and Minifigs. We're a legitimate business.
Going about things the way that you continue to do this is not the right way. You understand that? Bragging to people that you've vandalized the store and done other things along those lines. That's not the right way of doing
Well, I never vandalized the store, but...
people have told us that you have.
Well, he did get you there. He got you there. He didn't vandalize the store, but fucking Robotnik here says that people told him that you vandalized it, so I guess that means you vandalized it. And by that logic, there's a lot of things about me that are true that I had no knowledge about.
Franchises do, like, underneath me. I guess that's like, I can't really control them. I'm just corporate, I guess.
Are you a registered franchise?
Yeah.
You guys have FDDs and everything else?
Yeah.
What states are you registered in?
Oregon.
I get what you're doing. I appreciate that you think you're being very clever. And that you think that you can do all sorts of fun stuff this way, but it's like...
Mate, unfold your arms, you fanny. Like, he thinks he's sick, doesn't he? Man. I've got my window open because the lights in here get really hot, and I'm hearing people like on the way out from their nights out. It's 3 a.m. right now, so, and it's just making me sad hearing their voices and realizing, fuck, they're not Scottish anymore. I know that's off topic, but you know, the London Blues.
That agreement is not criminal. That agreement is now civil. So it's a civil matter, it's not criminal. And I have extensive legal knowledge.
We have the police to solve criminal crimes. So here's the plan.
So yeah, as you can see, they couldn't do it properly because in order for them to be sued, it wouldn't be a criminal offense, it would only be a civil offense, meaning there is no guilty or non-guilty verdict. It is just liable, non-liable, and it's purely a monetary thing. No one will go to jail. It is impossible for jail time to be a punishment for a civil case. I'm trying to think of like a very famous civil case. Johnny Depp Amber Heard was a civil case. The Conor McGregor sexual assault case was also a civil case. One of the things with civil cases is that there is no obligation to prove something beyond a reasonable doubt. All it needs to be is more likely than not. So they try to make this a criminal case by running a lottery for one of the Lego sets. Obviously, the winner of the lottery doesn't actually get anything, so he ends up sending them like $1,000.
We're filming this entire event. We can just give each person $1 as their appearance release fee. When they buy a $1 ticket, the transaction cancels out.
Hey, you won! Yeah, you're winning!
Well, this family legally won this prize. So now if Bricks and Minifigs doesn't give it to them, they're committing a criminal crime, which could land them in jail.
I'm here to give these people their prize of a Stormtrooper speeder set.
Well, actually,
These people.
My sister. He won.
From who?
I'm conducting this raffle, and you guys have the prize here.
I don't know anything about that. Not giving out anything.
Like, I can't leave without it.
Yeah, you can. You can have a good day.
Stealing $1,000 from a little girl.
Yep. That guy is not supposed to be here. You have a good day.
Wait, she's not gonna give him a prize? This company just stole the prize from our lottery. Okay, thank you. Is this typically how you treat victims if they get their prize stolen, or?
Do you have ID or anything on you?
No.
What's your date of birth?
12, 30, 25. Did we commit a crime?
I'm trying to figure that out right now.
I'm supposed to be getting this prize from here. Okay. And they're not going to give it to me?
We have all the paperwork here. Stealing from a DOJ-approved raffling scheme is a criminal offense which the police have to investigate.
They're selling stuff because they're thieves and stole stuff. The raffle?
Yes.
Okay. And we need to investigate some sort of raffle.
I don't know what he said to him, but whatever it was, it made them all completely change their attitudes.
You're trespassing the property for life, okay? Come back. You're going to go to handcuffs, go to jail.
But they trespass you? But we're just trying to claim our prize.
Have no right or have no connection to the story.
Well, yeah, we do. They stole a bunch of, like, they have our prize, so there's a connection.
That is a civil issue between...
No, it's criminal. Okay. I got the...
Are you going to listen to me? You really want to dive down this really deep? I'm trying to get some... Okay.
I don't know what it is with Bricks and Minifigs, but they seem to have some, like, force choke on the police officer's mind states. They're like Fed whisperers. For whatever reason, they can just immediately change the Fed's tune and get them to comply with them without question, even though they have stolen 200 grand from a man and his dad. It's like, I've never seen police just be so okay with blatant theft. I stole a couple of mangoes from my neighbor's garden at 6 years old and got beaten to near death for it. It's not even a joke, by the way. No wonder I turned out like this. But then these fuckers can steal 200 grand worth of Lego from someone and get their dick sucked by the police. What the fuck's up with that?
We can start looking at you guys falsified a raffle.
whatever that raffle looks like.
Well, here's the thing: is it's not a falsified raffle. We have all the legal paperwork right here.
You don't have authority to give out a prize. We're just going to get to the point, and we're not going to have these conversations. We're just going to let you handle it. No. Okay. Well,
You guys are gonna investigate
we are trying
that?
to keep you guys out of handcuffs. We don't want to go that route. But at a certain point, we can't keep doing this. All right, so we're good, guys. All right,
We're good. We're not gonna roll. Right?
Pretty clear. You go on the property, you're gonna get arrested. Josh ended up giving me a call.
You guys keep coming to the store. You park out front. You do fake raffles. You're threatening my business, you moron.
It wasn't a fake raffle. It was a real lottery scheme, according to Oregon state law. And it actually is a Class B felony, up to 10 years in prison and a $250,000 fine.
Let's not argue that. I don't want to. It's just better to just say, hey, you're not thieves. You know what I mean? Definitions of whether it's stolen or not, I don't care. No, anyway, it's not stolen. Why do we care about that? Well, who cares whether it's theft or not? If you think it's illegal, why don't you sue me? It's a civil matter. Tell Brian to put his money where his mouth is. Let's go to court.
Okay, you want to do double or nothing?
What are you talking about? Are you stupid?
If you're wrong, you pay us double. If I'm wrong, I pay you double.
Bro, are you dumb? You're obviously a kid. You don't know how this works.
I think you're scared. Double or nothing. Let's do it.
You're so dumb, bro.
I think you're scared.
Okay, I'm not scared.
Let's do double or nothing.
I'm not doing
If you lose, you pay us $400,000. You're scared. You're a chicken. I'm calling you out. You're scared. I'm calling you out. You're too scared. You're scared. Okay.
When Brian first came in, we identified anything that was on that list that would have been his that Amanda didn't sell, and we set it aside. And it's still sitting there. We're happy to give you your stuff back. I just don't want any more damage to the store. I'm happy to give you the inventory. It's only bringing me harm because you guys are doing wacky-do crap, trying to attack us.
Oh my god, there's like a glimmer of hope now. You know, it seems as though they've been rage baited to a point where they're just willing to give the 200 grand back.
You now to work with you guys to get the sets back.
Jake, this is what I need done.
Oh no, Jesus. That is never happening. You can see Brian's face right now. There's no chance he is giving a fucking apology. And honestly, good on him, by the way. This has been going on for years at this point. It's like caused him so much anxiety. He's got a medication for it and everything. He has every right not to want to fucking apologize for this shit.
Jake, this is what I need done. I need a written apology from Brian. I need all the negative comments taken off. I need positive reviews on there to make up for the damage.
Oh my god. That's not even a legitimate, like, realistic request. The fuck is Brian gonna do, taking down all the negative reviews? It's not even possible. He doesn't own all the accounts doing them. And then you can't leave a bunch of artificial fake positive reviews. I'm pretty sure that's illegal as well. You can't artificially boost something's positivity if you're the owner of it with fake positive reviews.
So you're holding my sets hostage.
So I'm not apologizing for shit.
I walked in there with the best of intentions. Here's proof of my collection in the store. I want it back. And they've done nothing but lie and make my life a living fucking hell over this. I've gone through 9 months of anxiety, stress, hospital-ridden, medication-taking types of burden. No, I am not apologizing to this fucking asshole.
Not only, by the way, do I completely respect his decision not to apologize to get his shit back, but I also don't even think that it would have gotten him his shit back. Like, this guy Josh is so clearly evil. He's got the fucking mustache to boot and everything. Like, I just cannot believe him when he says anything. When he says he'll give it back if a written apology is made, the positive reviews and that, I don't believe him. I think the way that he's been holding the set hostage this whole time, which is what he's doing now, he's basically admitted to literally holding the Legos hostage. I think that if a genuine apology by Brian was made, all he would do is use it as like as a confession in court, as like, I did nothing wrong. Look, here's Brian confessing and apologizing for everything fucked up that he did. I'm not sure if it would work because there is a phone call of him demanding the apology for like ransom to get all the hostages back. But I do think that is low-key his plan here. Or maybe he just wants some sick thrill out of like, so it's like some power play move.
If we give them this get out of jail free card, then they have absolutely no reason to ever give the Legos back. So I decided to tell Josh that Brian is going to send him an apology video.
He makes the apology, then we can get the Legos back like today or tomorrow, you think, or?
Yeah.
Just a little bit of deep faking. It now looks like this.
Yeah, so this is genius. He gets one of his mates to do a deep fake of Brian. So Brian is giving an apology, but it's not actually Brian. So if they try to use this as some sort of get out of jail free card in court or legally or whatever they may try doing, it's not really admissible because Reckless Ben and his team can prove pretty succinctly that it's not the real Brian making the apology. It'll just make him look really silly if they actually go through with it. But let's see if they meant what they said when they said that we'd return everything after the apology was made.
I'm Brian Mansell, and I apologize sincerely for accusing you guys of stealing my Legos.
This is the ultimate test. Was Josh being sincere, or was this all just one big trick?
I want to give it back to it. That's the long and the short of it. We run me over. I'm good. We got to win Amanda over, right?
Uh-huh.
Apologize to Amanda.
Okay. I guess Brian's still worried that you guys are just going to keep postponing it until,
No, you're going to get him. You're going to get him. I'm not going to screw you. You have my word. That's not who I am.
Uh-huh.
I promise you. I swear to God.
You can tell something shifted. You know when someone's really fucking angry And then all of a sudden it goes from like, don't ever talk to me, fuck you, get out my life. And then it's like, just like a switch, they go, yeah, come through, man. Come over. Why not? Let's have a chat. Let's have a little chin wag. It's like, no, something's up here. I don't know exactly what's going on, but something has fucking happened. People don't change like that on a dime. Unless someone's whipped out a one-wish willow, this is not real.
Apologize to her. Say sorry, man. Sorry. We did a fake raffle.
It almost feels like another trap.
Did you give me permission to go into the store to apologize to her? To make peace?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
We came to make peace, and we talked to Josh. He told us to come back and make peace with you. It's okay?
There was a gentleman who was trespassed off the property maybe 4 or 5 days ago, and he's literally standing right in front of the store, right here in the store in front of me.
Well, I guess before they get here, we just wanted to talk to you, like civilly, if you would like to have a peace treaty.
Yes. Not in a harassing way, not in a very peaceful way.
Would that be okay with you? It's just a regular peace treaty, a one-page document.
They have, like, the people they're trying to get me to sign.
See, this is silly, and it is, as funny as it is, I'm not sure this is the bet. Like, if you're genuinely trying to get this 200 grand back, I don't think these, like, theatrics are necessary. It does make for an entertaining video, but, like, this is not gonna help, dude. I'll tell you what, though, it is mental that Josh literally says, like, yeah, go over to Amanda and tell her that you're sorry, it's all good, you're allowed to do that now, you can give an in-person apology. And then they do that with explicit permission, and of course, it just ends up with them getting fucked out of the store again, because Josh is not a man of his word, as much as he claims that his word is worth dick.
Hi, Josh.
Ben, how's it going?
It's good. So we walked in, we're like, hey, we're sorry. We have permission to come back here and like apologize. And she's like, I'm calling the cops.
I'm sorry Amanda did that. Thank you for doing that. You apologize, and it's up to them to accept it. So let's cross Amanda off that checklist. Let's get this done.
I was wondering if you guys are still down to get the Legos back today.
I think I just want to make sure everything's properly.
It turns out that this is actually the same guy in the security camera footage that kicked the old owner out of the store. Google says his name is Brandon Best, and apparently he's co-owners of this franchise along with Joshua Johnson.
They said they'd give me an update on Monday type thing.
I was just calling to see if you guys are still down to get the Legos back today.
He said you'll get those sometime this weekend, so I don't know for sure.
Oh, this is genuinely like, you're in year 6 and you're like, oh, I gave you a packet of crisps yesterday. When are you going to pay me for them? Oh, tomorrow, you know? Oh, no, wait, maybe the day after tomorrow. And then the day after tomorrow. No, well, give me like another day. This is like the stereotypical guy who like can't pay off his drug money. But it's fucking Legos and a professional company. This is so dumb. It's so fucking dumb and so blatant what's going on as well.
I still don't have it. I got it. Yeah, you guys, thanks for your patience. Sorry, it's kind of crazy.
Leave your message for.
He said, I probably won't be able to talk tonight. What the heck? Why do they keep postponing this? It's been over a month now. And yeah, I've gotten no answer.
I'm not going to distribute those things at this point. We've kept them on hold for this long, so.
Hello? What?
You're not allowed to.
Oh, Josh told me to come back. I think we didn't get the Legos back because you didn't sign the peace treaty. You want to call Josh?
Then there's a bunch of silly shit that happens, and I get a bit bored of the video, and Reckless Ben sort of, he makes a bit of a fool of himself, I think, in my opinion. Like, he does get a bit annoying around this part of the video. It's a long video. I think you could have cut out maybe half an hour. But essentially, this part of the video ends in him tricking her into signing a contract that states he will not be trespassed, and she will be fined for every cop that shows up.
I'm calling the police because you've already been trespassed off the premises.
Well, you don't want to owe $5,000 more, do you?
I don't owe anything, and I'm asking you for like the millionth time in 2 weeks.
You did say that I'm allowed to be here. You signed a document. You did it?
I never once said you were allowed to be here.
Well, then whose signature is this then?
That is not my signature.
It's not?
Why do you have anything to do with signatures here?
Because you signed this, right?
No, I did not.
Is that not your signature?
So, no, it's not, and I'd like to know if you guys got a signature that's even close to mine.
That's a come on, dude. That's really funny. No, this isn't my signature, but how did you get this signature? I mean, not that it's mine, but like, where did you, just how'd you get it? I'm just curious, It's so transparent. It's like talking to a 5-year-old, genuinely. It's like, oh yeah, dude, I totally know what the 3 branches of government are, but you should tell me first, just so that I can make sure you know.
I'm just following the contract that you signed.
When we took over that store, there was nothing in that store. The shelves were empty. Tell me why you guys are thinking it wasn't that guys.
Well, if Josh is telling the truth, then why did Josh say this to us last time?
We're happy to give your stuff back.
I mean, what stuff of ours would he be giving back if none of our stuff was even ever in his store? They're like, what about this?
I'm happy to go open that stupid cupboard and you can have all the stuff in there. I want to give it back to him. I'm happy to give you the inventory. Get the inventory to Brian. I'll give it back. I'm not gonna screw you. You have my word. That's not who I am. I promise you. I swear to God. I promise you on everything. The shelves were empty.
So I decided to remind him of all of these examples where he claims they do have Brian's Legos in the store still. And this was his response.
I never said that.
Jesus Christ, these guys. He's like he's not real. He's like a fucking Tomodachi life character.
It's wrong. And if you want to test your fucking opinion, let's go to court.
I'm giving you every out that I can, but...
Dang. Don't go down that route. It doesn't really matter because
I just want to get the Legos back. They're Brian's Legos. Give them back. It's pretty easy.
You can fuck yourself.
Dang.
You stole them, bitch.
I stole the Legos?
Yeah, you're fucking thief.
Dang. Okay.
You can shut the fuck up. That's your fucking choice.
He then takes out a bunch of credit cards and gets loans to buy sets from Brian so they can all sue Bricks and Minifigs separately. This doesn't end up going anywhere really either. The rest of in fact, the rest of this video is really just a bunch of nothing. It's them trying a bunch of things, and it's entertaining, I guess, if you're into this type of content, but it doesn't really lead to anything.
Yeah, like, I guess until the store closes, I guess, to get the Legos back if that's the way you want to go, but if not, I guess we'll serve the papers today and then go to court.
How are you going to serve the papers today?
Well, figure it out.
That's not how it works. Are you young?
Hi. Hello. I am Ryan with the Guinness World Records Association, and I think you're expecting this, actually. This is an award for most Legos stolen by any company in the world.
Stolen by a single franchise.
Is that what it says?
Mm-hmm. I'm definitely not hanging that up.
You don't know anything about this?
I have no idea anything about that.
Okay. I guess call
I am the manager.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And you weren't expecting?
I was not expecting.
You have been served.
The first lawsuit has officially been served.
Now, can we just talk real quick?
I think Josh told this employee to close down the store early to avoid any more lawsuits coming in. Anyways, we ended up getting the rest of the court papers served, and now I'm just gonna fast forward a few months, and Bricks and Minifigs hasn't responded to a single court case we submitted against them. So I called the court to see what the next steps were.
Okay, so I don't see that there's been a response from anybody in the case. Since they didn't respond, you can move forward with a motion for default judgment.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much.
So yeah, this is the twist here. This is like the first smell of victory that we ever see. It does get better as time goes on. It also gets a lot... There are twists and turns in this story, man. Let me fucking tell you. And we will get to that, trust me. But what they do here is they go through the small claims court. The small claims court is a lot quicker. It's in the UK as well. It is a lot quicker and a lot cheaper than... It's virtually no money than, you know, actual large-scale court or judicial systems that, you know, lead to, you know, large-scale lawsuits and stuff that they were originally planning. So through a small claims court, they actually got the victory because Bricks and Minifigs essentially refused to show up. Because it's that much of a slam dunk. They know what they've done is wrong. It's impossible to hide from it during a small claims court settlement. So they fucked up completely and didn't show up. However, when Reckless Ben and Brian and all them man showed up to the store to, I guess, collect their winnings or see what the fuck was going on, they realized that the store wasn't even open. They shut down in fear of what would happen after their loss in the small claims court. On a whim, like no time at all, binned off all the employees and shut down the store. And this led to a bunch of incredibly negative reviews from guides and reviewers, like official reviewers, as well as a lot of very unhappy customers who would travel all the way over to this minifig store just to realize that they weren't even open. Because usually when a store closes down, it is something that is known for a while. It's not something that just happens overnight. So there is ample time to change the business hours on Google and make it clear to everyone that the store has closed down. This one closed down without the announcement. There was no announcement of any of their social medias. It was still open on Google. The business hours were the same as they've always been. This led to a lot of very angry people, rather. And this review bombing, this incredibly negative review bombing that leads and very much damages the reputation of not only this franchise, but Bricks and Minifigs as a whole, as a company, is good. Again, the first sniff of victory that we ever see for Brian and his father. But it doesn't get them their $200,000 back, does it?
Of people expecting an open store, but then being met with this. Bricks and Minifigs didn't even notify any of the kids' parents who booked birthday parties here, so when all the kids would show up, they would just have to sit in an empty parking lot for their birthday. If Bricks and Minifigs is too scared to show the world that they're closed, then the only way to let the world know is for me to give them an official closing ceremony.
And there you go. That is the end of Reckless Ben's first Bricks and Minifigs video. There has obviously been a whole host of things that happened after this that Reckless Ben has been posting about. But first, I want to go to the previous owners and see what they've been doing since the video's released before we move back to Ben. Here's the GoFundMe that they made. It has $77,000 raised out of $90K. They took our Lego store and life savings, help us fight back. The purpose of this GoFundMe is to continue paying attorneys and litigation expenses, cover court filing and discovery costs, preserve and organize evidence, defend ourselves against ongoing accusations, recover financially from the loss of our business and livelihood. Now, I truly wish them the best here because Bricks and Minifigs have made it abundantly clear that they do not plan to fight fairly, and they are going to drag this out and milk it for everything they possibly can to ruin these people's lives, and I feel unimaginably sorry for them. Here's a Reddit post from a year ago that they made about this situation, by the way, that has been sort of resurfaced now. They detail the entire situation, and you can see people from 3 months ago before the famous YouTuber, Reckless Ben, well, they weren't a famous YouTuber at the time, they kind of are now, but you can see them talking about the, like the signs and stuff that was left by Ben before the video even came out. Like, this was a huge deal. It was making it was big big news before Ben's video came out. Now it is massive news. This is Chris or Crystal responding to a lot of the support that they've gotten as well, which is very, you know, heartening to see for sure.
Been a wild couple of days. So I have a very brief update, very short update, because I've been getting a lot of questions, a lot of emails, a lot of messages. While I'm not a named defendant in the most recent court filings, my lawyer has advised that it's probably best if I don't make any public statements while we work on our next steps. However, given some recent events in the last couple of days, I've been getting messages and emails and a lot of the same follow-up questions. So if you are any of those people that are reaching out to me for public comments about this situation, there is a link tree in my bio that has a contact form. It's really hard to keep up with messages on 5 different platforms and in my email. So if you want to reach out and contact me that way, I can send you our official public statement that we have for now. For everybody else that has been so incredibly supportive of this, I cannot thank you enough. I appreciate it. Ben and I, my husband Ben, and I appreciate it more than we can ever articulate. I know this is going to drag on for a while. It's already been over a year. I am looking forward to having all of my evidence come out in court and hopefully finally reaching a resolution to this. So thank you again. I will come back and I will be back as soon as my lawyer says I can.
Yeah, now the videos that she talks about there of the Bricks and Minifigs sort of CEO speaking out, there's like a 2-hour live interview of them talking as well. That is something we'll cover too. We'll cover all of this, don't you worry. They did release a follow-up video as well, so we'll have a look at that.
So my face has gone a little bit viral in the last couple of days thanks to a YouTube video by Reckless Ben. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out.
Yeah, and you can see comments here referring to a Bricks and Minifigs statement or response to the entire thing that, again, we will be covering soon because they have a habit of just fucking lying about everything. You cannot trust a word that they say. They're a bit like, you know that bloke Anime Ribbon? We've covered them twice on this channel. Hi, I'm Wonder made a great video detailing, like, their entire history. That is someone that you can't trust. Like, I remember when the whole angel tree thing was like a huge thing on the internet and they talked about this is disgusting. I do my angel trees every year. I do so many. I help the kids. I always put so much effort into them. And I'm like, no, you don't. You're lying. You're lying. Even though I have no evidence that you're lying, I'm pretty confident in saying that you're lying because you lie about fucking everything. But hey, that's a different topic. If you're interested, go watch my Anime Ribbon videos. I think they're some of the funniest on this channel. Bricks and Minifigs might be worse than him because they are not only massive liars, but they also stole 200 fucking grand.
There's also a couple of TikTok videos from creators on here. I will tag them below so you can check out those videos as well. First, I want to say I appreciate the support from everybody. Across the board, it's been almost completely fantastic, and I appreciate that. So over a year ago, my Bricks and Minifigs franchise store was illegally seized by corporate. This was a store that I had poured my entire life savings into, that I had built and created something that I absolutely love. A customer base that I could welcome into a warm and fun and inclusive environment. This was my life. This was everything to me. I was not compensated for anything in the store. I was removed under threat of police action from the store at night with no notice whatsoever. And included in all that inventory was a very large Star Wars collection that we had under consignment. My husband and I have been fighting for over a year with corporate to get them to come to the table to settle with us so that we could be compensated for what we lost and Brian could be compensated for what he lost. They have thus far shown no indication to act in good faith whatsoever. They are employing every stalling tactic they can think of. We have filed a lawsuit against them. I'm going to try to link a Google Drive of that lawsuit so you can read it if you were interested. Lawyers are expensive. We've incurred over $30,000 in fees thus far, and that's just to get to the point where we can file a lawsuit. I've created a GoFundMe, and there's a video pinned in my profile with that information. Even if you can't donate, just sharing it and getting the word out means so much to me.
Yeah, so this is the thing. This is why I wanted to cover Chris and Benjamin, not Reckless Ben, but Benjamin, Chris's husband, because a lot of the people covering this story have only been talking about Brian and his dad, which absolutely makes sense. They are huge victims here, but have been dismissing Chris and Benjamin as victims when I think, you know, there are 4 main victims here, and those are the 4. It's Chris, Benjamin, Brian, and Brian's father, not just Brian and his father. Like, these two absolutely need to be acknowledged here as well. It's just insane how they can take the store, and then when she tries to sue, they're not associated with the franchise. Well, no, you took the fucking store, obviously you are associated. And that is a claim that they make when they respond, by the way. Now, Bricks and Minifigs do release a statement, which was updated on the 27th of May for additional clarity. How nice. Store locator. Are there any in the UK? Let's see. Oh, there is! There's fucking loads! Jesus! Wait, no, there's not. The closest ones are in the US. Okay, never mind. For some reason... Oh, here we go. Here's the closest one. It's in St. John's. There's only one. There's one in St. Pierre and Miquelon. Is this technically part of the US? Oh, it's a US territory, is it? Is it a French territory? What? Oh, it is France. No, it's France. Okay. Pick up the French, I guess. J'adore biflé. No, I'll do that better. J'adore biflé. No. Put the first one in, Naz. Fuck it. Do not put in all of those takes. That would be really embarrassing. No one will even understand what the fuck out, even if you're... Nah, whatever. Quite a gruesome word. Maybe it's best if you don't understand it. So instead of reading out the response that Bricks and Minifigs have made, I feel like we should just watch Reckless Ben's response to their response so we get the best of both worlds, you know what I mean?
Bricks and Minifigs officially responded to my Lego video we made about them, and I haven't read it yet, but someone just sent it to me, so I was like, well, let's make a video about this. This is not Lego video part 2. Part 2 is still on my Patreon if you want to check it out. Patreon.com/RecklessBen. This is just our response to Bricks and Minifigs response. Okay, should we pull it up?
Yeah, that swatted video is insane, by the way, because the we got swatted over Legos is true. Again, I understand why they're doing it for YouTube titling sense, but I don't see it as Legos, like I said before. Like, we got swatted over $200,000 is a lot more real. That's a lot more accurate to what is going on here. But again, I'm not going to fault him for that. Like, I get it. YouTube titles need to be punchy, right? And Legos is a lot more interesting than $200,000.
Over the past several months, many in our community have seen posts and videos regarding a dispute involving the former Bricks and Minifigs location in Salem, Oregon. We understand the frustration and passion behind these discussions. Do they understand?
I don't think they fully understand.
Because when I went to ask him about this was his response.
What's going on?
So you guys are holding some of our Legos?
No, we're not.
You're not?
No.
Bricks and Minifigs is built on a community of collectors and families who care deeply about fairness, and that is a value we share.
I don't give a fuck about the families, by the way. They closed down the store and didn't even bother calling the parents whose children's birthdays were booked in for Bricks and Minifigs after the store had closed down. Like, fair enough, close down the store. That's scummy enough as it is, based on why the reason why you did it. But at least have the fucking courtesy to call the parents that booked birthday parties at the store to say, just so you know, your kid's not going to be able to enjoy their birthday party at the store, maybe don't come over that day. But they didn't do that, and there's a bunch of children who spent their entire birthdays on the fucking curb just waiting for something to happen, just completely ruining the day for them and their family. It's fucked up, dude.
To be absolutely clear, Bricks and Minifigs does not condone, tolerate, or participate in the exploitation of anyone, especially older adults or vulnerable members of our community. I fucking love they just specifically put, especially older adults. Or vulnerable members of our community.
If they're not exploiting anyone, especially older adults, why are they stealing from older adults then? That seems like a weird way to not exploit old adults.
Yeah, this is a really weird thing that a lot of, I say influencers, Bricks and Minifigs isn't even an influencer, but we're all the same, aren't we? It's a weird thing they do when they get exposed for, like, let's say, you know, Bentelect. I know this is a really rogue shout here. Do any of you remember when Bentelect got cancelled for just being a fucking weirdo over text messages with OnlyFans girls, essentially? And then, like, crying like a baby and going, like, scorched earth when they didn't say yes to his every demand, or respond quick enough even. And then when he responded, he just went, I do not condone misogyny. I like women quite a bit. My mom was a woman and I have a sister in that. So yeah, I don't condone it. Not good. I refuse these allegations. Not deny that they happened, but I just refute them. So yeah, that's it really. Bye. I'm gonna keep that one in the locker, actually, for when my misogyny inevitably gets leaked.
While we will not litigate this online, which they are currently doing, we want to clarify the core situation.
Okay, so I see what they're saying. So right now they're saying, this is all a big misunderstanding. Ben has edited these clips to make us look bad, but we're not really bad. Now, for the rest of this article, we're going to share our side that Ben left out, is what I'm assuming they're saying here, right?
Sounds like it.
Maybe we were wrong. Maybe Bricks and Minifigs is right, and we should give them a chance to share their side of the story. So let's see their side. So it says, the reality of the consignment claim. Much of the online narrative centers around a private consignment arrangement allegedly made by former Salem store. It is vital to understand that Bricks and Minifigs Corporate was not a party to this alleged agreement, nor were subsequent franchises who took the ownership of the Salem location after the former owners were removed. So Bricks and Minifigs does have a point here. The previous owner, according to Bricks and Minifigs franchise agreement, they're not supposed to do consignments. They're supposed to buy the Legos and then sell them. So I think the old owner broke the rules. However, this does not, basically what this is called a whataboutism, is what they call it in politics. Basically, Bricks and Minifigs is saying, well, to take the focus off the bad thing we did, look, the previous owner also did something bad too. So because she did something bad, that makes, I mean, it just makes both of them bad. It doesn't make them, this doesn't prove their innocence. But we'll keep reading. Maybe, this is just the first paragraph. Corporate did not assign, approve, or authorize this arrangement, which is further proof of why they should not have the Legos in the store. If this is something that the brand doesn't do, if Bricks and Minifigs doesn't do consignment deals, then they should just give the Legos back, right? There's no reason for these Legos to be in their store. They didn't pay for them. They're not doing a business deal with Brian anymore, so just give them back.
Yeah, legit. It's so simple. It's so simple. Like, if there's truly no association here, then you didn't pay for the Legos. There should be no shame or no issue with you giving them to the people who can prove that they own them. The only reason you would have any authority over those Legos is if you actually are involved with them, which you're claiming you're not. But even then, you don't have any fucking authority over them. But hopefully you just catch my drift here. It's all ridiculous. It's all just so dumb. It's so simple. It's his Legos. Give them back to him!
While they must follow system standards, the franchisor does not automatically inherit responsibility for private, unauthorized agreements a local owner may enter into. This is basically corporate saying, hey, we can't control our franchises, exactly. Right? Yeah. And then, but the problem is when you go to the franchises, they say, well, corporate told us to do this.
You're supposed to be getting a hold of corporate.
In the security camera footage, corporate's the one taking over the store.
Seeking facts over narratives. Serious claims require serious evidence. I do agree. We both agree with that. Yes. We have repeatedly asked for the original documents and undoctored recordings that support these accusations. So isn't that funny? Didn't we try to get the evidence over to you guys?
Yeah. Did I remember that time when I had all the evidence in my hand and I walked into the store and I just said, hey, here's all the evidence. I'm not judging you. Let's figure this out. And what did they do?
Can we have like a clip playing right now?
Yeah, let's roll the clip.
Well, so here's still all of the Lego sets you guys still have.
I don't have anything to do with that, and I don't want that. Go ahead and leave, and I'm going to ask you one more time. This is the last time. I do not want that. You're not handing me anything.
I tried for a long time just to get her to look at this contract.
Why do you think your friend would be entitled to our inventory?
What's his? He owns the Legos.
Huh? He doesn't own the Legos.
Well, yeah, we have a contract. He does own them.
No, bro, are you an idiot? Are you stupid?
Josh, the police have shown up right now.
Oh, that was a good clip. I guess this clip is them begging for us to give them evidence, right?
It sounds like it.
And that we were the ones that refused to give them the evidence.
It makes no sense. They literally go, we have repeatedly asked. Okay, that's bullshit. Selective social media posts and investigative style videos are not a substitute for the complete records and legal agreements that govern the rights of all involved parties.
Okay, let's put all the evidence right here. We got the consignment deal. We got the full inventory list that the Bricks and Minifigs store made that shows which sets were sold, which sets are still in the store, and which sets Brian has not been paid for. This was an inventory list made by the store. Here's the security camera footage of corporate knowing there was a consignment deal.
Yeah, I mean, I really do feel as though it's pretty indefensible from Bricks and Minifigs here. And the statement is just lies. It's all just lies. And it's tough because we have, the thing is, I guess we have video evidence, and I guess maybe technically it might be selectively shown because we haven't seen what we haven't been shown. There is maybe a chance that there is a lot of stuff that happened that wasn't filmed, or if it was filmed, has never been released to the public, that paints Reckless Ben out in maybe a bit more of a sinister light. That is possible. But would that really serve to mitigate all of the horrible shit and like contradictory shit that we've seen that directly goes against the Bricks and Minifigs statement?
Yeah, and if I don't have the tickets, I won't know how much I need to pay.
That's a business thing and not necessarily yours. If he's taking on the business, he takes on all that consignment.
Because like all that shit, that clip there was posted a year before Reckless Ben even thought about getting involved. And already things are dodgy. Like things are dodgy already.
Stamps pictures of the sets that were still in the store when the owner got kicked out. I've printed all of this proof out and tried to give it to them, and this was their response.
You can go ahead and leave now.
Really?
So you can go ahead and leave now, or I will call the police for harassment.
Well, I'm not harassing you.
No, you are.
Wow, that was a really good clip.
Yeah.
It shows exactly what they wanted, which was obviously to talk to you. If a legitimate claim exists, there are established legal and dispute resolution processes to handle it fairly. Attempting to force a business outcome through public pressure, especially on unrelated stores and employees, is not a productive or fair path forward.
That's such a shitty thing to say though, because every time they tried to take those legitimate ways of getting the stuff back, they were immediately threatened into submission, essentially. Like, no, if you try to take these legit cases, these legit ways of doing the right thing, we are going to end you.
What they're saying is, let's figure this out the legal way. Well, we did what he said, actually. We did sue him, and we won. And then they didn't like the legal way. Bricks and Minifigs was the one who didn't want to do it the legal way.
That's facts, actually. What I brought up was true as well. I do think they'll bring it up because it's so obvious. Like, they try to do it the legal way, and they got threatened because of it. Not even, by the way, it's not even as though they were told, oh, if you take this, if you try to sue us, we're going to win because we did nothing wrong. It's, if you try to sue us, we're going to win because we have more money than you. Not even because they didn't do anything wrong. They didn't even say that. They didn't even deny wrongdoing. They just said, we'll win because we can. But yeah, you're right. He did do it the legal way, and they fucking ran.
Closed down their entire store because Bricks and Minifigs did not want to do the legal way. Bricks and Minifigs stores is a private business with the right to protect their premises. We will continue to support our owners in prohibiting disruptive conduct or harassment. It's not about silencing criticism. It's about, oh, they're not trying to silence criticism. Now, I feel like Bricks and Minifigs is doing whatever they can to silence criticism. And if you don't believe me, watch part 2.
Moving forward together, our position remains simple. Bricks and Minifigs Corporate was not a party to the unauthorized Salem consignment agreement.
Wait, but they were a party in the theft of the Legos.
Any legitimate claims should be resolved through the proper legal channels where facts can be evaluated fairly. And we already did that.
Yep. So, facts can be evaluated. We put all of the documents on the screen.
We ask our fans and creators to consider the human impact of the content they share. Fairness is a two-way street. It requires looking at the full picture and respecting the rights of unrelated small business owners and their staff. I mean, shouldn't they care about people below them?
This doesn't say how they're moving forward. Moving forward should be, let's give Brian his Legos back, right?
Yeah. We love the Lego community and the creativity it fosters.
Well, they're making the Lego community look really bad, so until they give Brian his Legos back, they're just going to keep making the Lego community look terrible.
We thank those who have waited for the facts before accepting rumors as truth.
I think what they're trying to say by this line is that they have the facts and we have the rumors, right? Because we're just trying to promote some narrative when they're the ones that have the facts. But if you look at the situation, it kind of seems like we're the ones that have the facts. I mean, we put all the facts up on the screens and he now has a narrative with no evidence.
Yeah, exactly. Literally just like 4 or 5 paragraphs with no evidence whatsoever. We thank those who have waited for the facts before accepting rumors as truth and who continue to support their local Bricks and Minifigs franchise stores.
Okay, here we go. Because this matter involves active legal issues, we will provide further updates only when it's appropriate and legally permissible to do so. So basically what they're saying is like, we're not going to respond again. And they're saying it's because we can't legally do it. Their legal issues are with me. Like we've already been to court, like I think 3 times. I can share my side. Why can't they share their side? Unless their side would get them in a lot of legal trouble and they could go to jail, I guess.
I feel like it's also interesting because the amount of confidence that these two are speaking with now is a little more impressive when you realize that they've done the part 2. They've already been fucking swatted. Their lives are they're in real danger. Like, this is a really dangerous situation, unironically. These people have had guns put to their fucking heads for the Legos, and they're still chatting this confidently, like chatting shit about Bricks and Minifigs or whatever the fuck. I think it really just does go to show how much they have on them and how obvious it is that Bricks and Minifigs are lying, unless these two are lying through the skin of their fucking teeth and they're just that blatant and that shameless about it, which I really do doubt.
We have all of Brian's Legos in our store. No, we didn't pay for them, but we would, and their answer for that is we would never try to exploit an old man. But it seems like that's what they're doing. They're exploiting old man. So I think a better response would be explain why do you have these Legos in your store without paying for them? That would be an explanation, right? Like that would be good. But they won't be able to do that because what they would be doing is they're explaining what stealing is. And that's what Bricks and Minifigs did. And especially not just stealing, but stealing from an old person, which is who Bricks and Minifigs likes to steal from the most.
Yeah.
There's also one more thing. So there's this other guy. It's like there's a Lego store like a couple blocks. It's like literally like right down the street from Bricks and Minifigs. It's called Bricks and Beyond. And this guy's getting a bunch of hate for my video because people are confusing his store with the Bricks and Minifigs store. But the problem is this guy runs like a super ethical Lego store. And should we give him a call right now, actually?
It's very similar in names. It is not related to Bricks and Minifigs at all.
First off, do you enjoy stealing from old people?
That is not what we do.
Oh, see, so basically everyone that's giving you harassment then is basically mixing up the two stores, what you're saying.
That's so shitty. I feel horrible for that fucking... Imagine that store, like a small independent company as well, as opposed to the massive corporation that Bricks and Minifigs are. That's really shitty, dude. Okay, so we're soon gonna get onto the whole swatting and how his life was in... and how he genuinely almost died from this whole situation. First, though, there was a leaked company memo from Bricks and Minifigs that Reckless Ben did a reaction to as well. So we'll give that a look first.
As most of you are aware, our network is currently facing a coordinated negative PR attack stemming from a former franchisee's consignment dispute in Salem, Oregon. A YouTuber, Reckless Ben, has released multiple videos amplifying this narrative, which has unfortunately led to harassment calls, review bombing, and store disruptions across our network.
We want to give everyone a clear recap of exactly what corporate is doing behind the scenes to protect you guys, what we can expect regarding a life cycle of this situation, and how we can work together as a team to move on from this defense to offense.
So obviously, I think corporate are being massive pricks here, for sure. Corporate fucking sucks. Like, they need to sort this out. However, there is obviously sympathy as well for a lot of the people who work at Bricks and Minifigs, like other locations, other store locations, who have nothing to do with this situation and are currently being harassed by fucking weird Lego vigilantes that think they're doing something, but in my mind just want an excuse to harass civilians and start fights.
Not litigate this matter in the media. We are taking aggressive action behind the scenes.
Why not do it in the media, you know? If they have nothing to hide and they actually are the innocent ones, why not do it in the public? Because then if they make it public, the public will see that they have nothing to hide.
Corporate was not involved in this specific local consignment issue.
Wait. Don't we have them on video saying they're going to be taking the consignment over?
Yeah, they do. They have corporate took the store over, for sure. And even if they didn't, even if they had, like, if you're corporate Bricks and Minifigs and something happens within a Bricks and Minifigs constituency that directly involves the Bricks and Minifigs name of things being stolen by a Bricks and Minifigs store, surely as corporate, you would inevitably have something to do with that in some way, shape, or form, and it would almost be kind of a responsibility to at least a little bit get yourself involved. Just slightly.
That person on the phone is actually one of the people from the corporate offices that says, we are taking over the consignment now. This is a corporate issue. This is corporate lying to their franchisees right now.
Corporate was not involved in this specific local consignment issue, and we are holding firm on the facts.
Law enforcement and federal involvement. We are actively working and sharing records with local police, Oregon State Police, the FBI, and USPIS. Legal action. Our legal team is preparing direct claims and seeking a TRO, a temporary restraining order, to halt the harassment and push this matter to full litigation against all parties. In my last video, they put random like copyright claims and privacy complaints over the entire video of scenes where it's literally like me and you hanging out with each other and like, did you want your face blurred in the video?
No.
Well, I can speak for myself. I didn't want my face blurred in the video. So Bricks and Minifigs is basically doing a bunch of weird stuff to try and get my videos taken down. And They said in their last response, it wasn't to silence criticism, but that's kind of what it seems like it is. Issuing cease and desist demands regarding unauthorized website they created. So basically, we made a website called www.westealfromoldpeople.com. Basically, Bricks and Minifigs is suing us because we're copying them, I think. It says the TRO is a preliminary injunction and is valid court order that will get the platforms to remove the content.
Platform takedowns. We have reached out to Google/YouTube, Patreon, GoDaddy, and Facebook to report the specific pages, videos, privacy violations, and the coordinated review.
By the way, Patreon has actually made a direct response to this all. And Patreon's a website where, like, I've had an issue with the CEOs before in the past. I think recently they've got like a really good YouTube channel actually that I'm like genuinely a huge fan of, where they interview a bunch of like sort of cinematic-based YouTubers. But the response they had to the whole Bricks and Minifigs situation, I think, is really fucking admirable. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, but like, I mean, it put a real smile on my face.
Actively reviewing internal policies to prevent similar transition issues from occurring in the future.
Since the last video, I actually got a hold of the franchise agreement that the previous owner, Crystal, made with corporate, and it says in her contract, it says consignments are allowed. Sharing any of this internal legal strategy publicly with customers can severely compromise or damage our active legal case against Ben Schneider. What to expect? The outrage cycle.
Based on historical data and export crisis management research, there's a typical cycle to online outrage. Understanding this timeline helps us manage expectations and maintain stability.
Sorry, what? They're using like internet speak now. Oh, usually when people get cancelled, it lasts for about 3 to 7 days, and then people will just forget about it. So weird hearing a company talk about this sort of thing. All right, well, to be fair, I'm privy to this information. Let's see how accurate it all is.
Wave, current phase. Peak intensity typically lasts 3 to 7 days after major videos drop. While the spike in harassment and calls is sharp, it quickly loses steam as online attention naturally shifts. We believe we are currently at or past the peak of the first wave.
3 to 7 days, peak after. Yeah, I'd say that is about true of the main videos and stuff. The issue is when there are main videos being dropped once, like multiple times a fucking week, and it's becoming more and more popular. I don't even think the situation has peaked yet, to be honest with you, at least at time of recording. So needless to say, they were very much wrong here.
When we formally file our legal actions, expect a short renewed spike, another 3 to 7 days of heightened noise. The opposing side will likely frame our legal defense as silencing the little guy.
Well, if it's not silencing the little guy, what is it?
Yeah, I know. This is exactly what this is the thing. It's like, oh, I'm going to punch you in the face, and then you're gonna do all this riffraff about how I randomly punched you in the face and you didn't do anything wrong, and it was just random, and what, you didn't deserve it, or all this bullshit you're gonna come out with. And it's like, just because you say it in a sarcastic voice and like cool it doesn't make it any less true. Like if they then go, oh, I was punched in the face by this guy, it's like, no, you can't say that actually, because I predicted you would say that, because that's exactly what I fucking did. It's like, no, it's not really how it works, is it? Bricks and Minifigs. I call them BAM. BAM. Oh, that's great. BAM is great. I miss Scotland so much. Bricks and Minifigs. Specky wee fucking BAMs.
Decay phase, 2 to 4 weeks. Most online outrage fades significantly within a month, assuming no major new fuel. Residual mentions may linger in niche Lego and other online communities for 1 to 2 months, but day-to-day operations will normalize much faster. Long-term recovery, 1 to 3 months. Reputation stabilizes.
I feel like I'm reading like a post-surgery type, like a post-surgery notice from the fucking doctor. So it's like, yeah, full recovery, maybe 1 to 3 months. You might get some lingering pains afterwards, but after a year, if there's anything left, it's permanent. Like, you can't get rid of it. When I got my wisdom teeth removed, they were like, if you can't feel your jaw in 2 weeks, then it's fucked forever. Luckily, I could feel like an hour after the surgery, so it was all good. But still, I feel like I'm reading that exact notice I got from them in this BAM letter. Also, they were just so wrong. Like, Jesus, they had no idea what was coming with all the attention.
Please implement the following immediately. Approved response options. Strictly do not engage emotionally. Train your staff immediately to use only these approved frameworks based on the situation. We understand our customers are smart, and balancing legal caution with our values helps prevent the appearance of corporal avoidance. Okay, so for general frontline staff, quick casual inquiries.
I heard your company stole a bunch of money and is not giving it back.
Holding my emotions in. This is a separate independent location, and I don't have any information to share regarding that situation.
Well, you must be correct, and I will leave. Where are Brian's Legos? I'm gonna burn this entire place down.
Yeah, I'll call 911. I am unaware of the specific details of that situation and have no comment at this time.
Well, I guess I better leave then.
Wow, that actually works.
To be honest, I do think it would be good for Reckless Ben to make it clear that no one should be doing this. Like, no one should go to random stores and ask random employees of these stores who have nothing to do with the situation about the situation, or like harass them in this manner. Because the way that he's talking here is like very sarcastically, oh, well, everything's fine. I have nothing to say to you. It's like, no, that should be what's going on here. Like, in this specific branch, branch, everything is fine. And if you're a customer who has nothing to do with the situation, don't make the employee's job any harder by asking or demanding information about the situation. Especially with all the Lego vigilanteism that's been happening recently and people going into these stores and starting genuine fucking fights, I do think it would be good for Reckless Ben and his team here to, you know, denounce that behavior.
Well, I actually have a script ready for you.
Oh, you do?
We are aware of the situation involving another independently owned location, and we understand why people are upset and asking questions. We can't speak to the specifics on the ongoing situation. Bricks and Minifigs does not support behavior that harms trust within our communities. Our local stores remain committed to operating with fairness, transparency, and respect for our customers. Does that answer your question?
Somebody reached out to me yesterday saying they got fired because their friend asked a question on your YouTube channel. Your YouTube host asked a question and they got fired.
That's crazy.
They're telling their employees, do not say anything. Like they think, you read the whole thing. They think if they just shut up and stand back and be quiet, it'll blow over. It's like they don't know Lego fans and they don't know Star Wars fans.
Yeah. And they don't know YouTube either.
Please instruct your staff to actively solicit a Google review with every single transaction. A brief verbal reminder at the register to share their honest feedback goes a long way.
Please use the hyperlinks below to download the following assets we have prepared for you and your team. Crisis De-Escalation Playbook. The short playbook includes verbatim scripts for handling in-store filming, hostile phone calls, and social media comments. So, next steps and moving forward. We understand how stressful and frustrating situations like this can be for you and your staff. Please know that your safety, peace of mind, and the protection of your local business are our absolute highest priorities.
Well,
this is a challenging issue, but it is not impossible to overcome. We are doing everything we can to protect the brand and our online reputation. While the legal process is not always fast, we want to ensure you that we have a very strong case against them.
Thank you for your resilience. Please reach out if you have any questions. Sincerely, the corporate Bricks and Minifigs team.
And there you go, a leaked memo, which I think it's so funny they got a hold of immediately, by the way. But I guess a lot of the young people who work at Bricks and Minifigs are probably on Reckless Ben's side because it is just so obviously corrupt. Okay, next comes the YouTube video, I Got Arrested Because of Legos, where we see literal organized crime. I mentioned Arkham Asylum at the start of this video, and this is genuinely the type of fucking corruption that you see in Arkham City. Like, this video is unhinged, and I cannot wait to show it to you guys. So without further ado, let me just get to these clips.
So, I started to file my lawsuit. But right after I filed this court case, it got rejected. And the reason was, I failed to demonstrate a good faith effort to resolve the dispute prior to filing. I tried calling Josh, but I'm blocked.
I'm sorry.
So my only option left is to travel to his house to have this conversation in person. But when we showed up, Josh was already outside talking on the phone to someone.
I find it so funny that he's literally blocked by the person who would need all the evidence, but at the same time, the company is saying, oh, we're open to receiving the evidence, but we're trying all we can. We are trying our absolute damnedest to get this evidence on the table, but we're also going to block him so that he can't contact us anymore. Which in that respect, actually, I find it quite shocking that it took Josh this long to block him. Now, I don't mean to victim blame or anything, but if someone's pissing you off that much and harassing you in your own words, then surely block them earlier. It's as though, you know what, I genuinely feel as though he was trying to goad information out of them, or like, maybe sort of incite or provoke harassment from them so that he could use it later against them, if that makes sense. But it's just stopped working and he's thought, fuck it, I'm just gonna block these fuckers.
While we were there, one of the corporate employees answered the door and told us he would get the CEO to come talk to us.
Well, no, they said they were getting some guy to talk to us. We're just waiting.
I can't tell you right now, no one's about to talk yet.
But they told us that they were.
I know.
Since Josh only lives like 15 minutes away, they must have informed him that we're in the area. Because a few minutes later, this happened.
The police just showed up. What the heck?
I didn't? I thought I stopped.
Yeah, you definitely stopped.
Oh my god, okay, yeah, this is where it gets mental. So now they're calling the police on Reckless Ben and his crew, but instead of calling the police and the police talking to them about the actual crime being reported, or the harassment charges being, I guess, alleged here, or anything to do with the actual case in question, the police start frivolously punishing these people for random other crimes that have no relation to the situation, and also aren't actual crimes that are being committed by them, such as this example here of not stopping at the stop sign. This is like an actual organized crime syndicate now. Like, this is a level of corruption that I never would have expected to see from a Lego company. It's honestly unhinged. Like, the thing is, at the start, I thought maybe there's not really any hush money, or like maybe there's nothing necessarily corrupt going on in just police incompetency. But here, it's like, no, there's very clearly, by the way, something corrupt going on.
So you said you ran a stop sign? Huh? You said you ran a stop sign?
I didn't see what happened.
Yeah, because we definitely stopped at the stop sign. Yeah.
I was so sure that we stopped at the stop sign that I actually requested all the police footage of this. And as you can see, we didn't even do a rolling stop. We fully stopped at the stop sign. So this is the message that he radioed in.
Hey, can you get the contact for Reckless Ben? Said he didn't have his ID, but you're just replying to me about everything else. So
everybody today's being trespassed from that property.
Okay. Yeah, we were forced to go home without having this good faith conversation the court requires us to have. Brandon is the guy in the security camera footage that illegally kicked the first owner out of the store so he could steal all their Legos. I tried calling him, but I am also blocked.
Again, how are you going to give evidence to these people if they're blocked? Okay, this is... I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know if this helps your case at all, showing up to his house unannounced.
Hello. Hey, how's it going? Hello? Hey, well, I was wondering if you'd be down to pay us for the lawsuit we won.
It kind of seems like Brandon doesn't want to have this good faith conversation to resolve this problem outside of court, and I gave him plenty of time to speak. The police showed up, and again, for some reason, they are really trying to protect these criminals.
He inherited the store. He's being blamed for everything that the previous owner did, and he's trying
well,
to...
that's a lie. So we...
Okay, hold on.
Okay, I'm sorry.
He's still trying to clean up the mess from the previous owner, and now he's catching blame for it, and he's just trying to clean up the mess from the previous owner.
No, him saying that it's the previous owner, that's a lie, and we already proved this in court.
If you come back and step foot on this property, you're gonna go to jail.
The police gave me a formal trespass notice, which I took a picture of it and sent it to the court as proof I tried to have this good faith conversation, but Brandon didn't want to have it with me.
You know, recently there has actually been some speculation or some questioning from Bricks and Minifigs as well as some lawyers in regards to the actual legitimacy of the small claims court that Reckless Ben happened to win, or well, not happened to win, but claims that he won, I guess. It would definitely be interesting to see how Reckless Ben responds to all that. He has yet to talk about it. Again, we'll get to that when we get to it, but it is important to note when he brings it up constantly in these videos. I'm not saying that it definitely is dubious or what he said was like false in any way, shape, or form, but people are starting to question it, and a lot of these people are, you know, respected and not Bricks and Minifigs. We're gonna have a look at these, we'll have a look at one of these videos later on from Legal, who in my mind is like the gold standard of legal videos on YouTube.
Turns out this was good enough. My court case with Brandon Best got accepted. So after finding exactly what church these guys go to, we went to it and showed one of the Mormons there this audio clip. And the Mormon thought that the best thing to do was to have a talk with Josh to save him from going to this outer darkness. Okay, good luck. Ended up just driving home, but on our way back, this happened.
What? Pull over again?
Yeah, and this community being a very Mormon-centric one is sort of the crux of the conspiracy behind why the police are so inefficient and so unable and unwilling to actually prosecute the criminals here, because they're all part of this same Mormon community and they very much stick together. I'm not even someone who is inherently against Mormons. I think it's a very interesting genre of the Christian religion. I obviously think a lot of the teachings are unhinged, but a lot of the teachings in most religions are... You know what? No. We're not gonna... Let's leave this. This is a topic for another video. Point is, undoubtedly, a lot of Mormons are brainwashed into it. A lot of them are hardcore radicalized and groomed into the religion. There is a lot of corruption within it, a lot of scams, and a lot of just horrible, nasty stuff. So it is very possible that there's sort of this hive-minded reaction within this Mormon community where they feel the need to stick up for each other despite knowing what they're doing is illegal, even if that means the police getting involved in said corruption.
How's it going? How's it going? I'm Officer Hawkins, American Police Department. How you doing? Good, how are you? Good. What's your name? Where you been?
At this point, we realized what's going on. Yesterday, I told Brandon that our plan is to now sue them personally.
We could just sue you guys personally and do the whole thing again. We would obviously win again.
God.
What's going on, sir? You're gonna sit one down here for me for a minute. Sit. What brings you here?
I'm just here trying to talk to Brother Johnson. Okay. I'm in the August 2nd Ward. There's been an audio going around with the young group.
Okay. What's the audio that you wanted to play?
Here's the audio.
I'm not gonna screw you. You have my word. That's not who I am. I promise you. I swear to God.
Who's that?
So,
I guess
that's him.
No, I know that. I could tell that from the voice, but...
I was just gonna ask him, like, is he willing to give up everything like he said? Because he swore on everything, he swore on God. This might be a crazy ask, but could we take a selfie with him?
But anyways, back to us. The police apparently got a call that we had heroin on us.
This officer's gonna do a search every person because of substance abuse. So he's gonna do that. I'm gonna make this way, and then we'll be right. Hold on. Don't reach in your pocket. Okay. This vehicle will be searched. Okay. I'm gonna have you stick by my sergeant.
After 2 hours of searching the car, obviously they found no drugs. Even though we were passing every single drug test they gave us, they were still not going to let us go until we told them where the drugs were.
Your eyes, for example, right? There's a constriction, which is dilated.
It's fucking insane. This is insane, dude. I know I've said this so many times, but I can't believe what I'm watching. Thank fuck this is all on camera, by the way. Like, thank fuck Reckless Ben is actually a YouTuber who is willing to, or is able to document all of this. From the very start of this, we get, like, the thing about the consignment from the previous, oh, fuck, what was his name? I don't remember his name. The guy who works at corporate about consignment. From the very start of this all, the only reason there's any meat to this video is because we got that admission of consignment on camera. It makes me wonder how many businesses like Bricks and Minifigs have been able to corruptly and and very maliciously take down owners or steal things from people like Brian and his father without any repercussion, whether it be socially or legally or in the court of public opinion, because there just wasn't the I guess efficient amount of evidence or video evidence or written evidence to actually prosecute them. Unlike here, when a YouTuber happened to just, you know, get involved and document just how fucking unhinged everything is.
So I haven't been looking at this. Also, look at him.
I'll look at you.
Yep.
You do see it? So it's crazy. I have no idea, because I've never done any drugs in my life. I don't do drugs, I don't do alcohol. I've never done any of that in my life. I'm willing to do any drug tests. Like, I'm very cooperative. I don't understand what you're seeing in my eyes.
He also just doesn't look like he's on anything either. There's no, you could not have a more cooperative person. It's been 2 hours. They should be a little if that was me, I wouldn't be this cooperative. I'd be pissed off.
I'm gonna have a discussion with this officer.
And then the police department illegally redacted this conversation too. My guess is that they acknowledge that it's very obvious we don't have drugs on us, but they were going to try and pressure us into giving some type of false confession anyways.
I'm not sure if you're lying to me or not, to be honest.
I'm willing to take any drug test you want.
I'm walking a very dangerous line, which you can go along.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Oh, I'm willing. How is that walking a dangerous line? I'm not on anything. You've searched the car. There's nothing in there. But of course, I would be willing to take any drug test that you could possibly ever want. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Slow down there, but you are... This is getting to a place I'm a little uncomfortable, actually. You're walking a very dangerous line there, my friend, and if you're not careful, you are going to end up in the dirtiest pits of hell, because that's where scum like you belong. How dare you say that you're willing to take any drugs test imaginable?
I'm in jail in Utah when you're from Cali. Okay. Not worth it, right? Yeah, yeah. We play differently here. Does that make sense? Yeah, yeah.
I'm willing to cooperate with you guys and do anything you want me to.
Yeah, we play differently here. We all back each other up and suck each other off when there's no evidence against you, and it's very obvious that the people we're defending are fucking criminals. I guess that is playing it differently, sure.
I can promise.
I made this poster that says, I stole a dying man's life savings, and printed it out. Now I'm placing this poster in a public space right across the street from Josh's house. I have a process server to serve him his court papers. But almost immediately, my sign got blocked.
Oh no, he's blocking our sign.
What are you guys doing here?
So we are in a court case with them, and we have to serve them legal papers.
So I explained to the cops the entire situation.
I'm not going on his property. Right, no, that's fine. Yeah. That's fine.
The police realized that we're not breaking any laws, and they've been called here for a false reason, so they decided to leave. Then we got the police calling us again. Again, I explained to this police officer the entire situation.
I wish we could just send him an email or a phone call, you know, but yeah, the court requires us to come in person for some reason, so...
Again, the cops realized that we were doing nothing illegal and decided to leave. But we got the police called on us again.
Yes. That's required by the court.
Again, the police agree that we are not breaking the law. They've been called out here for a false reason. This guy told me that he could even just serve the papers for me.
You okay if I get these papers to him?
Yeah, for sure.
Just give me 1 minute.
Okay, thank you.
Sadly, we can't see the police officer serve Josh because the police department redacted all of it. But the only thing that really matters is that Josh is getting served.
He does not want the paper. So. He does not want the papers? Here's that back for you. Okay.
Yeah, the police told me that they can't serve the papers for me because I'm lying to them, and these aren't even real court papers.
I'm not sure what this is. I've never seen something like that. To be honest with you.
These are court papers.
Okay. It doesn't have a judge's name or anything like that on it?
Because it hasn't gotten to the judge yet. So this is serving him, and then we'll go to the court, and then the judge will be there. So the judge doesn't get involved until we're in court.
I see saying that he gets one.
Okay, I'm not going to act as though I understand this, or that this is legitimate, or that Reckless Ben has, like, the right to be angry here, or oppose what the police officers are saying. I don't have, like, the court papers in my possession. I can't see exactly what's on them. I'm also not a lawyer, so this sort of, legalese here doesn't really make much sense to me. You know, it is entirely possible that this bloke does have the full legal authority to deny these court papers being sent to him, and that this does count as some type of annoyance that is not legally permissible, if that makes sense, but we'll wait for the actual lawyers to get involved and talk about this before I come up with a convicted opinion on that subject. I do think it is fucking unhinged. Just the very base of this, though, is that the police officers are being called over, and then they get sent away because no laws are being broken. Then they just calls them again, and then they leave again, and then they call them again, and then they leave again, and then they call them again. It's like, talk about, is there nothing going on in Utah? Like, what is the crime rate there? Like, the police... Is it just not really an issue if you waste their fucking time? It's like asking a girl out and they say no, so you just do it every day. Hoping one day you'll, I guess, wear them down enough. Except in this case, I guess the hope is that, oh, maybe if we arrest this person for life, we won't need to come here ever again because they won't call the police anymore on him.
It doesn't look good when you've been trespassed.
Yeah.
Trying to serve papers.
Well, I think it looks exactly how we're supposed to do it legally. This is the legal way to do it.
Well, we have 2 or 3 incidents.
Yeah, well, first, so... They're incidents because he's lying to you guys. He's making them incidents. We came to do a good faith conversation, which is required by the courts before you can get a court case approved. So we did that. He called the cops on us. He lied to you guys saying that we had heroin on us. And we did a 3-hour search of the car yesterday. We found no heroin in the car. He's going to make up any lie he can to get us arrested. We are doing things the legal way, the correct way. The reason he's hiding in his house is because he's the criminal. If something doesn't look good, it doesn't look good for him, not for us.
We got the police calling us again.
Oh, sure. The
what?
The serving paper?
Yeah.
Here you go. Thank you for holding. How can I help you?
Trying to speak with someone to verify if a case is, just verify if a case is real.
Yeah, looks like a real small claims case in our court.
Okay, thank you for your help. That's all. Thank you.
Hello. Okay. Am I being arrested? Really?
Damn, knocking the cuffs out as well. So weird. Oh, the court case is real. Okay, well, yeah. He was walking a dangerous line, but unfortunately he's fallen off it now. He told us the truth. He wasn't on drugs. He's got every legal authority to be here, so we have to arrest him.
You got arrested. Like, they didn't say anything when they were putting him in handcuffs. They just said, you're being arrested.
I was confused on what I was being arrested for. I mean, the same police officers that arrested me gave me permission to do exactly what I was doing.
You can film from the sidewalk wherever it's public, right? But you can't go on that property. If you do, you'll be charged, okay? Okay, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the cops down there are definitely all in with the Mormon community, and being the Bricks and Minifigs is part of that and worth millions. I would not doubt that they have donated hefty sums to the Mormon church, of which all the cops are probably a part of.
Yeah, Brandon Best, Joshua Johnson, and Eamon, the CEO, are all super Mormon. Like, the CEO even went to the Mormon University. And when I looked up all the police officers who were treating me unfairly, they were all Mormon too.
Did you know that Mormons believe that the president of the Mormon faith has regular conversations with God himself, like on a regular basis? These people don't operate on a normal human framework like I don't know, other cops do in other states. This is very much an incredibly tight-knit community that is impossible to fight against.
They're like a huge clan that takes care of each other.
I printed out the GoFundMe's picture to hang it up so we could get a nice Instagram video to post to social media. But before the group could even hang the picture up, the police came.
What you guys up to?
We're starting to GoFundMe.
Yeah.
What we're doing is we're going to get a bunch of publicity to get basically all this money back for this family.
Yeah.
You know, we're not going to do the lawsuit anymore. We're just going to do this GoFundMe. We've already got it started.
It can run into some defamation. Look at your stalking code. See if it's that. If it's not, we're going to look at disorderly. If it's not disorderly, then we're going to look at the city ordinance.
After going through every law they could think of, it turns out that hanging this sign on a fence and then taking a picture of it for Instagram is not illegal. In fact, what the group is doing is actually protected under the First Amendment, freedom of speech. So one of the police officers let the group know that they were okay to keep doing this.
Right now, I don't think that's right.
But this other police officer wasn't able to accept this reality.
We're going to take it down.
And then for the rest of this footage, the police redacted all of the audio.
Is it good if the police disagree with each other on whether or not someone is breaking the law? Like, if someone leaves their dog shit on the floor and there's two cops and one's like, you know, that's illegal, right? No, it's not. No, it's not. It's like, well, one of you's wrong here. And that's a problem because you're police officers. You should know the law better than, well, anyone, I guess, except a lawyer, maybe. No, probably, I don't know, on the same, if you're arresting people, yeah, you should probably know what's up. If one of you doesn't know the law and there's a disagreement on what is illegal and what is not, one of you is underqualified. Like, that's not a thing that should be happening, surely. And also, the cops getting called again, man. I know actual criminals who have not had their the cops called on them once.
All the redactions are done pursuant to the Utah State Code. We don't redact things just because we feel like it or, you know, just because something looks funny. Everything is redacted pursuant to Utah State Code. And other than that, I can't really delve into any more detail.
Is it an official crime? Is it disorderly conduct? Why? Is he upset about it? I mean, I guess, but that's not.
Yeah, this police officer is right. Just because this might make Josh upset does not make this poster illegal. So I decided to let the police department know that some of the redactions they made aren't exactly what they're claiming they are.
I think you guys might have accidentally forgot to redact another clip that was at the same time. And when I synced the two clips together, I was able to see what they were saying, like what the redaction was. And he was talking about how what we're doing actually isn't illegal and how the police officer might be wrong. And so it wasn't about protecting a victim. It wasn't any personal information. And so I was wondering, it seems like there might be a lot of stuff like that got redacted, maybe to protect the police officers, not to protect the victims, if that makes sense. And so
yeah, we don't do that. So like I said, anything that's redacted is pursuant to Utah State Code.
I can tell because when I sync the two clips together, I'm actually able to see that that's what the redaction was.
That's insane. This is crazy. Well, what happens when, like, fuck? I don't even know what to say. Like, it's just so unhinged. First of all, the police being dumb enough to accidentally forget to redact something when they so obviously... The thing is, the fact that they tried to delete it and, like, silence the information makes it look so much worse when the information is eventually found. Because it's like, well, now you were trying to hide it, so you know full well that this looks really fucking bad for you. But you weren't even clever enough to hide it properly, and now you're just in complete denial about it.
No, I don't do that, Ben. I follow the Utah State Code, like I just said.
Okay.
Lieutenant Adamson can correct me if I'm wrong. We're going to seize your phone right now.
Don't.
Do not do that. You understand me? Right now, you're attempting to destroy evidence. Okay, put your hands behind your back. I was just locking my phone.
First, the police officer asks if he can confiscate Sheldon's phone, so Sheldon says, okay, and reaches in his pocket to give it to him. But at this point, Sheldon sees that his phone is unlocked, and at this moment, he decided that before giving it to the police officer, he was going to lock his phone, which is totally legal. There's no search warrant, so Sheldon is legally allowed to lock his phone. But as the police officer saw Sheldon's thumb moving towards that lock button, he snatched it out of his hands, and now the police officer's claiming that because he tried to lock his phone, he's destroying evidence.
Jesus, these fucking cops, man, on this complete power trip. Definitely got bullied in school. Definitely got bullied in school. And now they think, oh, I can fucking just boss people about with my big, stupid black vest and my dumb sunglasses. And even though everyone around me knows that I'm being a massive prick, they'll protect me because we're part of the same church, I guess. It's just disgusting. It's so, it really fucking annoys me, dude. And that's against the law, by the way. Like, that's theft. He just stole that guy's phone. Can't grab the fucking phone like that without a warrant, dude. This is understood when it comes to domiciles. You can't just break into someone's house without a warrant, because then you'd be breaking and entering.
It's on my money. Look, it's on my wallet. I was turning it off.
Right now, this phone is being seized as part of this investigation, and you're being arrested. Okay, let's put him in the back of the car.
My name is Detective Nikosha. I work at the police department. I did willingly hand over my phone, but when I handed him my phone, my wallet popped up. So I said, hold up, let me hit my power button. And I had a report as well. That's all I went and did. That's not obstruction of evidence. And I let him have the phone. I wasn't trying to delete anything. In fact, it is actually impossible to delete something from an iPhone from a lock screen by hitting the power button. So in no context could I have been trying to erase something by hitting one button on my phone. Now I'm sure you have a phone as well. When you hit the power button, that doesn't delete anything, does it?
I imagine it wouldn't, yeah.
Yes, that's all I did. So I don't know how that's obstruction of evidence, but that is what it is.
Yeah, and then here's where it gets just cataclysmic, catastrophic. They fucking SWAT him.
No, don't move like that. You understand me? Don't move like that. Okay?
Yeah, this cop pulled my arm so far back and dislocated my shoulder.
Oh, dude! This is this is the thing, right? Don't move like what? Don't move like that. Don't move like that. He didn't fucking do anything. Look at Reckless Ben. He's not like a physically imposing force. Which I get it. There are guns in America. You don't need the biggest twink in the, well, I guess the smallest twink in the city could probably kill someone if they had a fucking deagle on them. But Reckless Ben could break into my home with an AK-47 and I probably wouldn't give a fuck. He is that non-threatening. Now the police are just physically assaulting people, breaking their, dislocating their shoulders. The thing is, this is where it gets dangerous now because they have guns. Like, they are literally threatening these people's lives. Like, these people have every right, every reason to be worried for their fucking lives now. Especially because we've seen just how quick to anger these police officers are based on nothing, based on things that are completely legal. Like locking your phone screen.
Because I was attempting to make an escape or something.
Don't move like that. You understand me? Don't move like that. Don't move quick. Everybody just chill.
But if we go back a little bit, you can see I was being completely still when he grabbed me, and I actually made 0 quick movements.
Included in the warrant are like...
Yes, the police department got an official warrant to search our house.
I mean, yeah, look, it's all there in, I was gonna say 4K, but in this case, 360p. But still, enough P to understand that nothing was going on. And the pH levels here, it's like a 1. It's all P, no H. That's not how pH works, is it? But whatever, move on.
The whole thing that just happened. I mean, I'm honestly, like, kind of shocked to be arrested at this point, for that. Yeah, this is definitely a very strange thing to be getting interrogated about, especially considering from my angle and the evidence I've seen, the overwhelming evidence that they just blatantly stole from this guy. It's like us trying to then do a GoFundMe to get him his money back, and I'm the one, getting put in costs. It's
It sounded like a great project to me. I was like, okay, like it's for a good cause.
And for some reason, he was trying to get all of them to admit that the GoFundMe was my idea.
Obviously, Ben was behind the GoFundMe idea as well, right?
I don't know whose idea that was, because I kind of just started,
But he was supportive of it.
Oh my god. It's like, these are quite leading questions, which I guess is allowed in interrogations. It's not like a court case or anything, and the lawyer's not talking, but what difference does that make legally if it's Ben's idea to start a GoFundMe? There's nothing illegal about a GoFundMe, surely.
Let's do this for the channel, from my understanding. Was that kind of your ideas to do this video with the GoFundMe and all that?
But I wasn't afraid to admit that I actually made the GoFundMe for Brian because a GoFundMe is a safe, legal way to raise money for a family if they got all their stuff stolen. I should be risking nothing by admitting this.
Basically, the police told me, do not take this man to court or else you'll get arrested. And so I was like, just thinking, and we're like, let's do a GoFundMe, and that was their solution.
We're going to book you back into the jail, okay? The creation of the GoFundMe, right? We're blasting this person all over saying, hey, he's...
So creating a GoFundMe was legal?
When I asked the detective how creating a GoFundMe was probable cause to send me to jail, this was his response.
A lot of this stuff you may have to just get an attorney and fight it in the criminal side of court, right?
Okay, should I
Yep.
get my back?
Yeah, go ahead and stand up. I got an officer right here that's going to get his cuffs for you.
Will I also be able to hear Josh's side of the story? Because I think he's said a lot of lies to you guys.
It'll be, and I never talked to Josh, but it'll be documented in the report as well.
Okay, thank you so much.
Police have illegally redacted every single claim Josh has made about me, and when I finally go to court, I'm going to be completely blind to what I'm even being charged for. I ended up getting extremely lucky. When a judge ended up reviewing this arrest, they thought the whole thing was so stupid and ended up releasing me on bail.
That shouldn't be luck, by the way. That should, like, it's good that happened. It's good that at least one person has their fucking head screwed on and isn't part of this whole cult. Like, if Ben actually got arrested, there would be fucking protests. Like, it would be the most insane arrest ever. And that's all the highlights from this Bricks and Minifigs, like the second video that Reckless Ben made on them. It was obviously made a lot more than 2 videos, but like, these are the 2 big ones that have been released thus far. There is a part 3 on the way. I don't think it's out. Let me have a look, actually. No, not quite. There are other responses, though, of course, which we will go over. The police obviously made a public statement about this arrest, and Reckless Ben made a response to this, of course.
Airbnb host told them that I stole the Legos.
During contact with the Airbnb owner, the owner reported overhearing conversations about possible stolen Legos. Specifically, officers wrote in the search warrant affidavit, the homeowner also disclosed that he could hear multiple individuals inside the residence speaking about possibly stolen Lego toys they had taken. Based on that information, officers added a request within the search warrant affidavit seeking authorization to also search for and seize possible stolen property, including Lego merchandise. 4th District Judge Roger W. Griffin reviewed and approved the search warrant.
Is it really worth sending like 15 police officers with guns and shit to dislocate someone's shoulder over said Lego sets that were allegedly stolen by Ben, though? Like, surely you get a warrant, you go to the door, you knock, and you say, hello mate, can I come in and just observe and see if there's any fucking stolen merchandise here? There was no need to dislocate anybody's shoulder. What the fuck? Or act as though he was some violent criminal who was like seconds away from murdering someone. But yeah, that's sort of the new story that Bricks and Minifigs are going for here. Definitely not something they genuinely believe, but the tactic that they're using to delay the or just make life as difficult as possible for Ben and Brian and his father, which is to claim that no, they're the ones that stole the Lego, or they've stolen Lego pieces before, I guess, by from Bricks and Minifigs.
Well, the benefit of the doubt, and I will take the police officer's word on this, but something fishy is going on here, and everything can just be cleared up if you unredact the audio and let everyone see the truth.
Yeah, exactly. This is the thing. I don't know if the police genuinely believe that the Lego was stolen by Ben, or take the allegations at face value like they treat any other allegation that they don't know the validity of, or if they know that they're chatting shit and are just doing it to sort of save face and act as though they're doing it in like the pursuit of justice, when in reality they know Ben hasn't stolen any fucking Legos, but they're still gonna, you know, abide by whatever request they got anyway. And the footage being redacted illegally, allegedly, is yeah, definitely fishy to say the least.
And the police officers found no Legos. All of this footage has been redacted too. And my guess is if the police unredact this footage, we will find out the answers once and for all. While we were getting swatted, one of the police officers decided to injure me for absolutely no reason. He claimed it's because I was trying to make a fast movement.
Don't move like that. You understand me? Don't move like that. Move quick.
When we replay the footage, you can clearly see I was not making any fast movements. However, the police department has an answer to this.
During Snyder's detention, Lieutenant Adamson took hold of Snyder's right arm. Lieutenant Adamson later reported that he felt Snyder tense his arm, at which point Adamson moved Snyder's right arm behind his back to place him into custody.
The police department has made it clear I did not, in fact, make any quick movements like the police officer claims I did, so the police officer was lying, but not fully, because I did tense my arm.
How would he have felt him tense his arm if he wasn't touching him? Oh, you tensed my arm after I ran at you at 10 miles per hour and fucking grabbed it.
Lunges at me extremely fast before he even touches me, so how could he even know that I was tensing my arm before he even grabs me? That doesn't make any sense.
Of course it doesn't make, not only does it not make any sense, but it obviously doesn't make any sense. They're chatting shit and they know it.
There's only one solution. This police officer has psychic powers, and he could tell that my arm was tensing up before grabbing me. However, this makes no sense, because if the police officer did truly have psychic powers, he would have known that we were not the thieves, Josh and Brandon were the thieves. So this can't be the case either. I'm trying to have an open mind with these different possibilities of what this could be, but literally the only outcome left is that this police officer injured me for no reason.
No, unironically, them having psychic powers and Ben genuinely fucking tensing his arm at that moment, maybe he's so much of an empath that when Ben felt the need to tense his arm, the police officer also felt the need to tense his arm, and his empath senses started tingling, and he thought, fuck, our life is in danger. Which, I don't know what tensing his arm would even do if he's holding his phone. Like, what's he gonna throw his phone at you? Like, what's gonna happen exactly?
So this of why I must be lying.
In the x-ray image displayed by Mr. Snyder in that video, a small L is visible in the upper right-hand corner of the x-ray. The L indicates the image is that of the left shoulder. The video shows Lieutenant Adamson handling Schneider's right arm during the arrest.
Yes, the stock footage I used to show what a dislocated shoulder is, an image that's clearly not mine because I didn't go to the hospital, I went to jail, so how could I have taken this picture? But anyways, the stock image I used is of a left shoulder when my shoulder that got injured was my right shoulder. When I was editing this, I like to think highly of my audience that they would have known that this was a stock image and I wouldn't have to spoon feed every tiny detail to my audience. But now I realize that there's another portion of my audience called the American Fork Police Department that maybe I do have to spoon feed every single piece of information to. So I'm going to use this as constructive criticism, and in every single episode going forward now that I know that the American Fork Police Department's watching, I will be forced to spoon feed every single detail.
That's a little disingenuous. You said they dislocated my shoulder and then you showed an x-ray of a dislocated shoulder. It's very reasonable for people to assume that you are showing an x-ray of your own dislocated shoulder, so I think the police actually have a point there. You haven't proven that your shoulder was actually dislocated, you're just saying it. Not that I don't believe you, but you haven't proven it.
Dislocating my shoulder is almost a monthly thing for me.
The whole weight of my arm is just on this bone.
Boon. 3 days before I got arrested, I had a really bad ski accident where I had a really bad dislocation of my shoulder, and any movement at all would have dislocated it. So I will say here, I don't think that the police officer was purposely trying to injure me. I think to a normal person, this would have been fine. But for me in particular, this was not good, but it was still unjustified. And the police officer was just making up an excuse, and now they're making up an excuse to defend it.
Yeah, I agree. It's a shoulder that is easy to dislocate in comparison to other people's shoulders. However, that's not really relevant here because it never should have been touched in the first place. The police officer had no authority to touch or grab or like get physical with Ben in any way, shape, or form, really. So the amount of ease it takes to dislocate said shoulder is fucking irrelevant. But I do believe him when he says he dislocated the shoulder, like I genuinely do. I just think the picture and saying that, oh, it clearly wasn't mine, that is a little distant. It is reasonable for people to think that it is yours. I don't think you were trying to fool people, but I don't think it's like the most obvious thing in the world that it wasn't your shoulder.
Is the chief of police, even after reviewing the dash cam footage, says that we ran a stop sign.
Richardson initiated a traffic stop on the vehicle for failing to stop before the stop line at a stop sign and failing to stop completely at that stop sign.
The chief of police looked at this video and said, we ran a stop sign. And now he's using that to say, this was a legal traffic stop. The police officers did nothing wrong. At this point, we thought the best thing to do was to take Josh to court so he can be legally accountable for the crimes he committed. However, to do that, we are first required to serve him court papers. So we did what the law told us to do. I got a process server, and we went to his house to do this the legal way. However, Josh did not want to do this the legal way, and instead called the police on us.
Joshua Johnson contacted police and reported he was going to shoot someone as a result of the ongoing harassment. Multiple officers immediately responded to the area.
Josh was so scared of going to court that he would rather shoot us than accept these court papers. Josh's logic here is that if he can murder the process server and if he can murder me, then he can get away with his crimes because there'll be no one to sue him in court. However, sadly for Josh, murder is illegal. And now he just admitted his plans to the police officers. The American Fork Police should at least be arresting Josh for trying to use murder as a way to get out of court. But sadly, for some reason, they arrested me instead.
Am I being arrested? Really?
Something about this seems off, and all of the answers are in the body cam footage.
Why would the police even admit that if they're trying to defend Josh? Oh, you don't understand, Josh is innocent. He was planning to murder these people, so we had to... I don't know, what? Protect them by arresting them so Josh couldn't murder them? But then why is Josh not being punished in why are they being punished and Josh isn't? And why were you so insistent on getting him to admit that he made the GoFundMe? Like, can we not focus on the, intent to murder them? Is that not more important here than anything else?
So this is where I think if we all come together as a community, we can somehow convince the American Fork Police Department to unredact this footage so we can find out why they arrested me and not the guy who threatened to murder me. However, the American Fork Police does not want to unredact the footage right now, and now have made up a new excuse of why I was the one justified being arrested.
Officer Sombot contacted the Marion County Circuit Court in Oregon to verify the legitimacy of the paperwork. The court confirmed that the case was indeed legitimate, but that papers had already been served and no hearing date had yet been scheduled.
The police department said the reason they arrested me and not Josh this day is because they called to confirm if this was a real court case, and they said it was real. However, the papers have already been served, and now I'm doing this solely to get YouTube content. And if that's true, I would like to see footage of it. They released all the raw footage, and that part doesn't seem to be in the raw footage.
It's already been to court, or are you allowed to tell me kind of where they're at with the case?
There is no hearing date set, and there hasn't been a hearing in the case yet. All I see is the claim that was filed. I don't see proof of service or anything. A hearing wouldn't be set until a response is filed by the defendant.
Okay, so the defendant needs to be served with papers before the case will, start?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for your help. I think that's all for today. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, bye.
Right here, the police officer admits that it is March 10th.
On March 10th, 2026.
However, you can see here that Josh doesn't get served until 3 days later, March 13th. So how could Josh have already been served on March 10th if he didn't get served until March 13th? Unless Josh is a time traveler. There's only one way to clear this all up. American Fork Police Department, show me the time machine. So now they say that I have done all the check marks which constitute stalking. Let's go through them.
Individual commits stalking if the individual intentionally or knowingly engages in a course of conduct directed at a specific individual.
So yes, I did do an action that was targeted at a specific individual, but that's what's required by the court if I want to take someone to court. If someone steals your stuff and you go through the legal process to take them to court, it is not considered stalking. I have a right as an American to sue him.
Is reckless as to whether that course of conduct would cause a reasonable person to fear for the individual's own safety or the safety of another.
The second check mark is that if a reasonable person would be scared. The police are claiming that since this action made Josh scared, this check mark is complete. However, they have completely forgotten about the term reasonable. And as we can see, Josh is not a reasonable person. This is someone who multiple times has tried to silence someone by accusing them of being on heroin.
Here's the crazy thing. They told me that they took over that location because the owners were using the location to fund their heroin addiction.
That seems to be his go-to whenever someone disagrees with him. Oh no, they must be on heroin. Let me call the police on them for the heroin that they must have. Maybe he genuinely did believe that Reckless Ben was on heroin. It wasn't just a ploy to him, like he actually thought it. Reasonable person who wants to murder them because they just want their Lego back.
Yeah, and that's how they took it over, and saying they had like a pigeon in there that was crapping all over the Legos, and it smelled bad, all this stuff.
This is someone who threatened to murder me just for trying to serve him papers. This is not a reasonable person. It is not reasonable to threaten to murder someone just for serving papers. A reasonable person would accept the papers, so that second checkbox does not meet the requirements. I even tried explaining this to one of the police officers early on.
What the law says is if the average person would feel unsafe by our behaviors. So I think he's feeling unreasonably unsafe. A reasonable person would not feel unsafe in the situation. Well, I can say the same thing. I feel unsafe trying to conduct business with him, and he calls the police on me to hide. I feel unsafe because of that. Because we had a 3-hour search on our car. He said we had heroin in our car yesterday. We had a 3-hour search on our car. That makes me feel unsafe. I think that's reasonable for me to feel unsafe. It's not reasonable for him to feel unsafe.
Yeah, I mean, when you knowingly call the police and waste their time and like accuse other people of crimes you know that they're not doing to put them in danger of being fucking swatted, by the way. Like, they walked in with guns. That is way more illegal than whatever Reckless Ben is even being accused of. Whether or not it's, you know, legally constitutes stalking, which I can't say for sure. We'll wait for the actual lawyers to give their analysis, but it's nowhere near as dire as what Josh is doing. And that shit is, like, pretty proven as well.
He said he was going to murder me if I take him to court. But now, I'm the one that's being looked into for threatening to murder Josh. How does this make any sense?
Mr. Johnson alleged that Mansell had hired Benjamin Snyder to harass, stalk, vandalize the store, threaten to murder the manager of the store.
Now, let's go to the heroin claim. We got pulled over by the police, and they claimed that we had heroin on us. Most of this footage is redacted, so again, there's a big mystery of what happened. Can we all come together and convince the American Fork Police Department to unredact this so we can find out the truth? However, what the police is claiming now is that they did not get a call saying that we had heroin on us. Instead, they could just tell from the second we pulled over that our eyes were glossy.
During the interaction, Officer Fraughton indicated he believed Shaw's eyes appeared glossy and expressed concern regarding possible impairment.
If we look back on the raw footage, this is what the police officer said his first interaction with us was like.
Good with these guys being able to drive?
Yeah, I think so. I didn't see anything clear as day with Tyler that I noticed.
What's the goal?
Right now? Yeah, I was gonna scare him a little bit and let him go. Is all I really was gonna do.
Do we have charges, or are we just tired of them being annoying?
It seems hard to take what the chief of police is saying seriously because so far almost everything he said is a lie. So the only way we can actually find out the truth is if we unredact everything. We already know the victim's name is Joshua Johnson. Why do we have to keep that protected? His name is already out there. None of these redactions are protecting anything except for the police. And now I want to acknowledge my friend Sheldon's arrest.
The group stated they were supporting a GoFundMe campaign for a dying man. One of the individuals later identified as Sheldon Norcross. Officer Richardson then decided to seize Norcross's phone, pending the approval of a search warrant, in order to preserve potential evidence and prevent the deletion or alteration of any data. According to Officer Richardson's report, when Norcross was informed that the phone was going to be seized, Norcross immediately began manipulating the device.
The police officer claims that Sheldon was arrested because he opened his phone to start deleting evidence. However, we can clearly see in the footage, Sheldon's thumb is heading towards that lock button to lock his phone. His phone was open when he pulled it out, and the phone was transitioning from on to off, not from off to on. From this response, it almost seems like the police officers didn't even watch the video.
No, they watched it, and they're deliberately trying to find ways to spin it and make it seem as insidious as possible from your side. Like, everything you have said, everything that the guy who turned his fucking phone off, every one of these people, their stories line up exactly with the evidence being shown and the videos being shown. Whereas on the other side, it doesn't line up at all.
American Fork Police Department, if I'm your teacher, here's your homework. First off, learn the facts of what actually happened. Second off, stop lying about the facts. No one's believing it. The third thing is unredact the audio that makes the police look bad. Some of the best lawyers in the United States are reaching out to me right now, so eventually this is going to get released. Wouldn't you just like to get this over with sooner rather than dragging this out? The more we drag this out, the more content we get, so this only benefits me to drag this out. It doesn't benefit you. If you unredact the illegally redacted parts now, you'll win over audience support much faster. It's kind of funny because a lot of you guys probably think I'm like trying to like make fun of this other cop by how he was talking.
Brother, you mind turning up the volume? Holy, it's actual ASMR.
Wow. I cannot really hear him. Why is he whispering? No, I'm actually just like super sick right now. I haven't been sleeping, so I'm trying to get out part 3 as fast as I can. And that's caused me just to like stay up all night, every night, and not sleep. And now I'm sick and have no voice. But yeah, I guess it kind of, I don't know why that police officer was talking with such a low, quiet voice, but that's why I am, at least. I wasn't making fun of him. I literally am just genuinely sick. But if you want to see part 3, subscribe to my Patreon at patreon.com/recklessben. Part 3 will be up there very soon. Part 2, I'm only dealing with misdemeanors, but part 3 is when they start accusing me of felonies, so it gets insane.
Yeah, I mean, cameras don't lie, which is why they fucking redacted them. The American Fort Police Department does have like a whole 25-minute response, so obviously, you know, it was cherry-picked for Ben's video. We're not going to go through their entire response as well, because I do want to get this video out eventually. But essentially, this is like the type of video you get when a whole department is supposed... It's the top comment here. This is when your whole department is supposed to resign. The entire department should be subject to a federal investigation for gross misconduct. I don't even fucking disagree necessarily. He did not want them. That's not how that works. Exactly. They arrested someone under the instruction of a would-be murderer. It's insane! We do get some new bits of unredacted police footage though, so that's fun.
I hired this YouTuber. His name is Ben Schneider. He's Reckless Ben. They sent people in saying they're gonna murder our manager. I'm done.
What are you guys doing here?
So we are in a court case with them, and we have to serve them legal papers.
She is a process server, and she's trying to serve you papers.
She's not a process server.
Okay.
Get the papers. They're fake papers. They're fake. Go get the papers.
You're okay for bringing those over to you?
Absolutely. Yeah. They're fake.
You got to see those papers? Yeah.
Yeah, which obviously we know is false because they literally called the small claims court and confirmed with them that the papers were in fact real and the case was real. So Josh is lying there, but Ben ended up still being the one who got punished.
Yes. I wish we could send him an email. I wish we could just send him a phone call, or the court could send it to him, but this is what we're required to do from the United States court. So we're just following the instructions of the government. He thinks if I just call the cops on me, he can get away with it, but we're showing him like we're not letting him away with this crime, so. Okay. You okay if I give these papers to him? Yeah, for sure. Okay. Hang tight. Are you okay if she just gives you the papers so we can just get
Have you looked at the papers? I've talked to the Kaiser Police Department. There's nothing filed. So no, I'm not accepting service. Absolutely not. It's fake. Okay. It's not real.
That's completely fine. You have that right?
Yeah.
Literally, all this police officer has to do is be like, you are served. And then he doesn't even have to accept them. He can literally just drop them.
Yeah, legit, just give him the fucking papers. Why is this an issue? He can just fuck them off. Like, this is so nothing. It's such an easy thing to fix.
Like, this whole thing could be solved in literally 3 seconds. Like, here, I'll time it. You've been served. Yeah, like literally 1.5 seconds, and this could be solved. This could literally be solved in 1.5 seconds. And this police officer is just purposely choosing to make this way more complicated than it has to be.
Hold on. All right. What do you want done today? Besides, obviously, talk to...
As much as you humanly possibly can.
I can screen charges. I'm open to screening charges through our attorney.
Yeah.
Why has this guy got like a full sort of smart casual vibe going on, and then he's got his dogs out as well? Get some socks on at least, you weird fucker.
At this point, it seems like he's willing to make up any story he can to get us arrested before he gets served these papers.
They sent a lady in, and the lady's like, oh, I'm gonna murder you to Amanda, the manager.
And now, Josh has just committed a felony. Lying to the police officers about a false threat I made to get me arrested is super duper illegal.
He called the store a billion times.
Yeah, legit. I mean, even though everything's not on camera, I highly fucking doubt. I'm pretty confident in saying Ben did not threaten to murder anyone here. And there's no way that's legal. There's no way.
He does not want the paper. So. He's not want the papers? Here's that back for you. Okay. I'm not sure what this is. I've never seen something like that. To be honest with you.
These are court papers.
Okay. I'm gonna raise your name.
Okay, see ya.
Yeah, process server's really gonna ride with the YouTuber. I mean, how stupid does he think I am? They have fake service papers. And the girl is like, she's like, oh no, I gotta serve them these papers. Like they printed up a fake lawsuit, you know? And I'm like, oh yeah, do you think the process server would really be riding with the YouTube guy to deliver papers to a guy that he's been harassing? I'm like, do you think I'm stupid? I don't know what to do, man.
So, did you call the police again?
I just don't know what to do, man. I'm done with these guys.
We're ready and willing to arrest these individuals for Utah statutes for cyberbullying and digital stalking because they're using electronic means for communication and coordinating their stalking.
Well, it's digital stalking, not stalking.
It's all of the above. But because they're continuing to use additional tactics and other things like that, thinking that they're being cute and whatnot, can't continue. So somebody has to be arrested to show that they can't continue to do this.
No, we're just kind of wanting to know what you want done on this. As much as we humanly possibly can.
He's gonna submit.
So funny. He sounds like I guess, you know, they are in front of the police, so he has to sound like he genuinely believes he's doing nothing wrong. But I'd be shocked if he actually thinks that? Like, surely they must know that they're being corrupt as fuck here and that they're not the ones in the right, but they're just willing to move past that and continue with the corruption because it serves them directly. Which I don't even know if that's true anymore. Like, they get an extra, what, 150 grand off of the Lego collection, which, by the way, that is also something that has come into dispute recently, is the actual value of the collection. But in my mind, even if it was fucking 2 grand, that's 2 grand that you shouldn't have.
Very adamant that he wants to serve you with papers, okay?
That's fake. That's illegal. You can't pretend to be a process server. So you can't. That's illegal.
Why not? In the state of Utah, to be a process server, all you have to do is be over the age of 18 years old. You got to be not affiliated with the case, and you can't be an attorney. And this girl meets all 3. She is over 18 years old. I literally met her like 10 minutes before we showed up here, and she's not an attorney. So legally, in the state of Utah, this woman is a process server. And I already explained this to the police.
So anyone can be a process server. You have to be 18 years old, and you have to be not affiliated with the case. So she's not affiliated with the case. She's over 18 years old. That qualifies as a process server.
Okay. Well, maybe just have someone not affiliated with you.
That's her. Yeah, we have no relationship. That's why she's here. Yeah, that's why she's here. We have no relationship, and that is who she is. The exact person that you're describing.
That's fake. It is a lie. She's impersonating a process server.
So for this girl to be impersonating a process server in the state of Utah, she must either be under 18, which...
Again, though, I'll need a lawyer's point of view on this, because she is with you in the car. Like, surely what he means by that is like, if she came alone and she was the one giving the papers or trying to process the charge or serve, whatever, then that'd be one thing. But the fact that you're with her, surely that makes some sort of association almost inevitable. Again, I'm not a lawyer, I don't know for sure, but like in my mind, that's what it seems like. Especially because, you know, Ben could just be lying there. I don't think he is lying, but like from the police's point of view, or that could be Ben's girlfriend and he could just lie and say, oh no, she's not affiliated with me, we met 10 minutes ago, you know what I mean? So I kind of understand why they might not see her as a legitimate process server, especially because you're the one with the papers in your hand.
Has to be related to this case, which Josh says he's never seen her before, so she can't be related to this case. Josh has verified that, and so the only option left is Josh must assume that she's an attorney. But if Josh has never heard of her before, how does he know she's an attorney? And spoiler, she's not an attorney, but so I don't know what Josh means when he says she's pretending to be a process server, because it seems like he's verified that she meets all the requirements to be a process server. So basically what Josh is saying is, even though she meets all these requirements, and I acknowledge she meets these requirements, she still doesn't meet these requirements. You're making no sense, Josh.
Impersonating an officer of the court, that carries, it's pretty significant, you know, like...
Yeah, you can't pretend to be a process server. Sorry. Yeah, you can't. That's got to be illegal.
And that's, like I say, he's getting combining charges.
The Class A misdemeanor to impersonate a process server in the state of Utah.
So right now...
I want her arrested for impersonating a process server.
So right now...
I can't just go and pretend... I can't go print up fake documents and go try to process serve people. That's illegal.
So these papers that you printed up are
fake? Yes, 1 billion, trillion, gazillion percent.
Again, this is Ammon. I'm with the corporate office.
He's the CEO.
Oh, hi.
So what's happened is we had a former franchisee. Mr. Schneider is just a YouTuber that got a hold of the story and then went to this guy and said, hey, if I can harass these guys, and if I can do some stuff and get some money out of them, will you pay me some of that money? And that's what they're trying to do, is the individual who actually owes the money left the United States.
And now Eamon has just committed obstruction by lying to the police officers.
He created a fake contract, forged the manager's signature up there, threatened to kill her.
I didn't sign no agreement. I'm not beholden to somebody else's stupid agreement. I like how he can just lie to you guys and just straight face, oh, you owe me $200,000.
I'll check with the court, see if it's a valid civil case that he's trying to push through, and we'll go about it that way, okay?
Thank you for holding. How can I help you?
Sort of shake his head there. I don't think he wants them to check whether or not it's a valid civil case because he knows that it's real. He knows that it's real. So you can see him. I wish we could see what was said afterwards by him, but he goes, I don't think he's happy at all that they're checking the validity of the case.
With someone to verify if a case is, just verify if a case is real.
Yeah, looks like a real small claims case in our court.
Okay, thank you for your help. That's all for today. Thank you.
After this phone call, I guess the police officers turned off the microphone on their body cam because I guess they really didn't want literally anyone to hear this, even if someone gets a hold of the unredacted stuff. Not even we now can get it to hear what these police officers are saying. But anyways, the police officer ends up going back to talk to Josh.
They're screening some charges, okay?
Yeah.
But we're just kind of working through. It looks like this is a real case. It just hasn't gone to court. Okay?
It's a real case. Who's it against?
Against you, him versus you.
Ben Schneider? What an idiot.
So,
he's just racking up the charges and we're working together.
So basically the consensus is, we were all wrong here. However, let's just arrest Ben anyways.
Like, letting them go cannot be an option here, guys. Like, there's got to be something for cyber-stalking, bullying, like all of the different things. Like, there's got to be something to arrest them and send a message that this is not appropriate, this is not okay.
I'm in agreement with you. Again, that's why we're kind of working through this right now.
Hello.
Step out for me.
Okay. Am I being arrested? Really?
you. I love you. Oh,
There we go.
I love you. Okay, I love you. I love you.
So now let's get to the search warrant, where the cops raid my house because they heard that I was the one that stole the Legos from Brian. So I might have found out an answer of why this cop was so rough with me and threw my arm back. Before we enter the property, the cop warns all the other police officers to make sure we are not filming.
Hey, they're probably going to be quick to film. They're probably going to be quick to pull their phones out, so just be aware of that.
However, when we got raided, I instantly pressed the record button on my phone because I was terrified these police officers were going to do something and try and hide it from the public.
That's why. That's the reason why they fucking got his shoulder. It's because they were scared of being recorded. Whoever gave that order should be held responsible here, because there's nothing wrong with recording if you're doing nothing illegal, there should be nothing wrong with recording the thing. You shouldn't be scared of anything. I mean, it's all on your body cams anyway, so it's already being recorded. It's not because there was any danger or threat to anyone's safety, it's because he was scared of Ben recording with his phone. That's what it actually was. So whatever they said about tensing his fucking arm or whatever was complete bollocks. Okay, so Reckless Ben does have one more video regarding the Bricks and Minifigs situation, and it's not great news, to be honest with you. However, we'll get to that because chronologically it's the last thing that has come out about this whole thing, so we'll end this video in a dark place. For now though, I want to go over the interview with the Bricks and Minifigs CEO. This is an hour-long interview. We're not going to watch the whole thing, of course, but I've got a clipped-up version here so we can look at the most important parts. This guy has the charisma of a fucking tea towel, so it's a good thing we have this, by the way.
Well, let's talk about the Reckless Ben video. It came out about a week ago. Did you know this was coming?
We knew that some content had been filmed. We didn't know the extent of what was going to be done with it, or like how it was going to be used. But we knew most likely that something would happen, though there were other legal things happening at the time that made us feel that maybe there had been some second thoughts.
Yeah. And what was sort of the initial reaction to the video, at least in your neck of the woods?
Sure. A very, I guess, upset is probably the best word. We have franchisees.
I'm sorry, this guy needs to shave his mustache off. He, or at least do something else with it. You can't be taking no one's gonna take you seriously with a mustache like that. It's so cringe, because you know for a fact he takes great pride in that fucking horrible bit of facial hair. He's so proud of it. He wakes up every morning, he styles it, and he goes about his day feeling like $1 million.
Everywhere, myself, included as part of those that are upset at the misinformation. You talked about not being a gotcha journalist, but the mischaracterizations and the way that they are edited to make them look has not been fair to anybody that was party to the video.
Can you, because you're in the video a couple of times, can you at least speak to your own experience with the misinformation?
Yeah, I mean, my clip in the video is just that. It's a very, very small clip compared to the amount of time that I had spent trying to reason with and talk to the individuals that had come to harass our staff at the corporate location. And after just going around in circles for probably 30 to 40 minutes and just, having less than genuine questions or less than genuine responses being given to me, I was exasperated by the end of it. And that's, when people get tired and exasperated, that's when we finally got the footage that we can use to make him look like a completely unreasonable monster, but that's what they do is people whose goal is to do those types of things.
Yeah, but at the very core of this, because that is possible, right? It's possible that you can exasperate someone until they're just bored and it's torturing them into saying the wrong thing or the false thing, right? I get it. I don't think that's what's happened here. I do think, obviously, that there is a lot that we haven't seen, of course. Stuff that if this does go to court will definitely be seen at some point, so the truth will come out eventually. However, at the very core of this, there's $200,000 Lego set, allegedly, that has been stolen and not given back, and there's not really any amount of explaining or 40-minute conversations or exasperation that can explain that away. You're a thief, you stole $200,000 from an innocent family, and they're the real victims here.
They just harass and go after people as long and hard as they can until somebody breaks and says something that, then they can, use that one clip to be like, oh, look at this horrible monster of a person.
Didn't you literally try to, coerce them into apologizing so that you had something to use against them in court? You were like, oh, everything's fine, man, everything's perfect, I'll give you the Legos back. All you need to do is give me a video of you saying sorry, genuinely and sincerely. It needs to be short, sweet, and damn epic. And then when you got a video of, albeit deep-faked, but it's not like you knew that, you just completely went back on your word, which very much implies that you are trying to get the apology for a more insidious reason.
A lot of people are upset. We could argue if that's valid or not, but I think we can both agree people are upset.
Mm-hmm, yep.
Is there a place they could go to express that frustration that isn't, the Bricks and Minifigs Facebook page in Nashville, Tennessee? Do you have a channel for them?
There's probably a couple of different things that could be done. Number one, I would say if they're frustrated, first and foremost, remind yourself that what you see online is not necessarily real, right? So if there's frustration, stop and question whether or not, is this actually real? Is this how it's being portrayed? And maybe that can help with the frustration, because if you suddenly realize that somebody is creating this for clicks and to actually create outrage. If they do want to reach out to us and express their frustration about the situation, if they do have questions about that, then they can go to, I think it's complaints@bricksandminifigs.com.
But in a very general sense, are the allegations being weighed against Bricks and Minifigs, did those happen?
No. I can understand how it appears because of the way that the videos have been edited and cut together and made to look.
This was an issue way before the videos were made, though. The videos popularized it for sure, but like people had known about this for a while before the videos came out, and these people were victims of theft way before the video came out. It was like a year before the video, a couple, like over half a year at least. And as much as it's true that not everything you see on the internet is real, a lot of the stuff you see on the internet is also real. Like, that's the whole point of a documentary. I understand YouTube is different because it's not fact-checked and it's like alternative media. It doesn't have all these like stipulations and rules that a lot of, you know, real mainstream media sites have to verify the claims that are being made. Anyone can upload a YouTube video. That's its biggest strength and its biggest weakness. However, in a case like this, it just seems really transparent that a large portion of the allegations against Bricks and Minifigs absolutely have merit to them.
Are not as they are being portrayed, and we feel very confident in our the filings that we've made with the court that will show through the evidence that we have that the allegations are all false, and that we would like for people to know, you know, like what actually did happen.
Your statement said that Bricks and Minifig doesn't allow for consignments in the operations manual. Is that correct? Can you kind of explain what is consignment, and then kind of how did that apply to this specific situation?
Yeah, well, consignment's a really interesting one. Consignment is there's probably a couple of different definitions that can go into consignment, but in fact, as has been attempted to be pointed out, we actually do in our franchise agreement, we reference consignment, but in the form of consignment services. Consignment services are different than consigned product. And so that's one thing to kind of also make sure that there's a differentiation between. Yep. So a consignment service, and as it's written in the franchise agreement, specifically related to parties and events and other things, would be like if I was going to be holding, you know, knowing that I was going to have lots of birthday parties, and I put, you know, and I have a baker, you know, like in the same strip mall, like 2 doors down, who bakes birthday cakes. I can go to that baker and say, hey, Mr. Baker, I would love to have your cakes be the only cakes that we use in my birthday party room. So if you'll agree to bake the cakes and then provide them to all the people who have a birthday party, I'll just take 25% of the proceeds of the cake that you just baked and the customer paid for. That would be an example of a consigned service. But this particular section of the franchise agreement that's been flying around online, it specifically talks about products, and then it jumps into the services section and it says consignment services specifically related to parties, events, things along those lines, right? And so there's a big difference. But then as a part of all of the franchise agreements, and every franchise in existence has this dual side of things. There's the franchise agreement and then there's the operations manual. And the operations manual is kind of the living component to any franchise agreement. We didn't have the ability, and legally speaking, it's not really permitted for us to go back into their franchise agreement, rewrite the whole thing on the fly, and then make everyone sign it all over again. And so incorporated as a part of the franchise agreement is the command, essentially, like through the franchise agreement, to follow the operations manual. And so in the operations manual, and has been since, I believe, we became franchisees, it clearly states that the consignment of product, pawning of product, those types of things are not permitted. We buy product from people and then we sell the product. And so that's, hopefully that clears up some of the confusion between those. But I also understand how not everybody's going to understand the legalese behind consignment services versus consigned product.
Yeah, but that's also not what happened, though. You bought the product, but you hadn't paid him up front. So the original idea was you would take Brian and his father's product, and then without paying him up front, which is fine if that's part of the deal, it's whatever, but you would pay him a portion of all of the profit that product makes when you sell it, right? So you keep some, and they keep some. I'm guessing that's how it went. But when the store closes down and changes management and everything shifts in a way where Brian and his father are now scared they will not receive a penny from those figures being sold, you haven't actually paid them at all. So the consignment jargon and legalese you're talking about here doesn't really apply. What I think happened is someone came in, said some bullshit about assignment as part of corporate, and now these guys are sort of being forced to remain stubborn on it all, because it'd be a really bad look if they went, oh no, someone in corporate just fucked up massively and said something that he didn't really understand or wasn't verified by, you know, the higher ups. I'd be willing to bet that they had a really stern talking to that bloke who was like seen in that video illegally taking the shop over, basically. There's no way they're happy with what he did. They're pissed the fuck off, but they're trying to save face online, which I kind of understand as a business owner, but also it's very dishonest and manipulative.
Between the original agreement, the franchise disclosure agreement, and the operations manual. For example, if something in the operation manual would contradict the disclosure agreement, which one would kind of be upheld?
So there's a couple of different things at play there. And I guess first of all, to clarify, I know there's often a confusion between a franchise disclosure document, a franchise agreement, and then the operations manual. So a disclosure document is actually just a structured document that then is regulated federally and then state by state, depending on the situation. And that's just a document that's used to help kind of take the franchise agreement and turn it into layman's language. But in attempting to do so, it just creates another big, legal document. But it's its own thing there. But when you're talking about the franchise agreement and then the operations manual, so in reality, the franchise agreement then also has certain carve-outs that indicate that unless it violates like a state law or anything else, that the operations manual, as incorporated here into the franchise agreement, essentially consists of new directives from the franchisor, which then need to be followed. So again, in the agreements are meant to be read on their face value. And so if something is not specifically written into an agreement, such as specific cleaning instructions during COVID, well, then where do they look to for direction from the franchisor? And that's through the operations manual. And so the language of the franchise agreement essentially pushes and says you are to follow all directives written verbally, also this, that, and the other, as given by the franchisor. And by so doing, then you are in compliance with this aspect of the franchise agreement. But that also includes, and it talks about any other of these documents, including like the operations manual. So the franchise agreement is the framework and kind of like the skeleton, and it has some meat on the bones of that. But then the operations manual kind of really becomes the meat on the bones when it comes to the day-to-day operations of a store.
This is a very softball interview. It would not surprise me at all if this is an interview that was almost orchestrated by the Bricks and Minifigs CEO, this mustache bloke on the bottom, who, by the way, his mustache is so thin on the ends that we can barely even see the evilness within it. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all if he went to this guy, if these guys are like friends or acquaintances at the very least, or there's some sort of payment going on here in terms of, because let's be real, these people are they're not averse to corruption in any way, shape, or form. Like I think there's a lot of corruption going on with the police. That's probably the biggest issue here, actually. The 200 grand, the Brian and his father getting their shit stolen, that's bad, but that's like one case. The corruption being shown by the police department, what are they called? What police department is it? Yeah, the police department of American Fork in Utah, of course. I think the corruption and blatant bias and blatant oh yeah, we will just do anything to protect and serve, as long as the people that we're protecting and serving are in our community, even if they're the ones who have blatantly done something wrong, to the point where we are going to endanger the lives of innocent people and point guns in their fucking face and dislocate their shoulders frivolously for no fucking reason. That's the biggest issue here, because that's something that could be going on constantly, day in, day out type shit. There is probably someone on a weekly basis who is affected by the incompetency and corruption by that police department. And that's what needs to be spoken about here, I think, more than anything. This is not a situation about Legos. This is a situation about a lot of money and a lot of corruption and a lot of really shitty police officers. But again, I'd be willing to bet in this interview that this Bricks and Minifigs guy maybe provided a list of questions for the interviewer for him to answer, if that makes sense, and has these sort of pre-prepared, because he's speaking very fluently. Maybe he is just a good talker. Maybe it is just that. But for a situation that has affected this business so much, I guess it is kind of your job as a CEO to be well spoken. But it's as though the interview is making this as easy as possible for him. There's not really any tough questions. There's no follow-up questions. It very much does seem as though, all right, let's follow the script here.
What happened in 2024? How did we get here?
Yeah, how did we get here? To be very high level and brief, we had a franchisee who had begun defaulting on payments to multiple parties, ourselves included, and then whose significant other received work overseas, and they decided that they weren't going to be able to continue on with the store, reached out to us, let us know that. We then made arrangements with them to transition the store, and we believed everything was going to go smoothly. It did not, and in that not smooth transition, there was a mention of consignment that we just really didn't know what was being talked about, but what we just essentially said, look, whatever there is, we're going to try and unravel and figure out, but at this point we need to, for the safety of the store and so that nothing gets damaged or anything otherwise, we're just asking you to leave. So
yeah, you can kind of see it there. It's like, oh, there was a mention of consignment, sort of a brief mention, not that important, we can sort of skip past that. It's like, no, he knows what he said was fucked up and wrong and incorrect. Whether it was intentional or not, or he just said it not expecting to be recorded, or was just trying to find a way to get these people out the fucking shop as quick as possible, or whether or not his intention or their intentions were to steal this Lego set, I don't know. I think there's a lot of stubbornness involved here. There must have been a point where at least one of them thought, no, it is a bit fucked up that we have all this, we could just give it back. But then it's like, no, if we do that, then we're admitting that we fucked up and we did a bad thing, I guess. So I genuinely think a lot of this is just a lot of them being too old and stubborn to admit that they fucked up, and it's getting to, but it's so dangerous because they're so stubborn that it's getting to a point where they are literally endangering people. And also false accusations of attempted murder as well. None of what they're doing is good or moral or legal, most importantly. So the fact that they're getting away with it and there is no repercussion towards them at all, and the law even seems to be weighted towards their side from their local police department, it really fucking worries me.
That then this alleged consignment agreement kind of came to our knowledge. And so then we started trying to unravel what was going on with this, what was meant. We still didn't have access to most of the records that were left behind. It was in a position and a state that we were having a difficult time reconciling anything that was being told to us at that time. So we asked for additional documentation, and it took a while to get some of that documentation. During that period of time, there was a lot of frustration, which I would say is reasonable to be frustrated. But we also kept saying, like, hey, we think that this is related to like the former franchisee. I think you need to reach out to them to see what needs to be done to help take care of this, because when we came in, we conducted a full inventory of the store, and there was nowhere near the amount of inventory in the entire store, let alone the amounts being thrown at us for the amounts that they were talking about, specifically for a very specific type of Lego, right? Yeah. And so the two just didn't reconcile. And so we kept saying, hey, I think you need to just go talk to the former franchisee. Either they have the stuff or they've sold it all, and you just need to collect the money off of them. And they kept coming back saying, like, well, they told us that it's your responsibility now. And so that's kind of where the back and forth has kind of continued to go, is because we weren't, first of all, the franchise agreement doesn't allow for consignment agreements for product. Second of all, the alleged agreement, when we finally got to see the content of it, it was signed for by Crystal, the former franchisee, and this family. And so we said, oh, okay, so yeah, like, you need to go and talk to her and see what's going on. And they said, no, like, we're just going to keep saying that you have to have it. And that's where a lot of the problems came in. So we told them, hey, if you still don't have any other resolution, like, we're happy to work with, if you've got an attorney, we can talk to them. So they actually did have an attorney send information to us. We said, great, appreciate this.
No, but this doesn't make any sense, dude. It makes no sense, and it completely you keep changing the story every 5 minutes, because in the Reckless Ben video, you say, yes, I have everything, and I will give it back to you if you apologize. If you truly don't have it, how the fuck are you ever gonna give it back to them? Also, if your dumbass sold it over to a different person when it's in your possession and it was meant to be his, is that not kind of your responsibility to an extent? Well, you're getting him to do the dirty work for you. Could you not have maybe reached out to this person who allegedly has the fucking Legos? It's not a hard conversation to have. You're the big Bricks and Minifigs CEO. You can handle that shit, right? It shouldn't be hard. It really shouldn't. Why don't you throw your weight around and offer some frivolous lawsuits and bully those people around? Those fucking thieves who stole 200 grand. Why bully the victims of said theft? I think I know the reason. It's because you're lying. Either you lied then, or you lied when you said, I'll give it back if you said sorry. Which one's the lie? I guess you decide.
Damn, and let's see what we can do to work this out. Yeah. And then we never heard back. And then the next thing we know is, like, there's a larger campaign that started happening to try and put pressure on us to just give money over on a situation that we still even have the full inventory, like, through the point of sale system reconciled to what was in the store versus anything else. So
also, he's being very sneaky, because he's saying, we didn't have the full inventory. Okay, fine. So why didn't you give back the little inventory that you do have? Because that's still not your inventory, is it? That's still Brian's. He's still the one that gave it to you. He's still not been paid for it. So at the very least, could you not have given him the small amount of inventory that you know he gave you back to him? Like, why would you even admit to having any of the inventory? Because then that's like an obvious question that'll come up. Give him what you fucking have then. How do you not realize how ridiculous you sound? Like, just give him what you have if you have a little bit of inventory. Why would you not do that? What good reason do you have not to do that? You're admitting to theft here. Even if it's not as much theft as they're alleging, you are admitting to theft.
And what made it very clear is on one of the podcasts after the fact that the parties went on to, ended up indicating that, and then we went and looked and verified for ourselves, they actually moved all of the inventory off-site after an initial, like, showing or something like that, after a particular weekend. They moved all the inventory off-site. And then as we did get access to more and more of the documentation, the point of sale receipts, some of these other things, a significantly more, higher percentage of the inventory that was claimed to be owed had actually sold already and wasn't reported. And so there was some of these types of things. And so the entire time we were saying, hey, we want to help, and we still do. We are still willing to try and help. The biggest issue is we just have to have people who are willing to sit down, look at the records, understand what's really going on.
It's fucking bollocks, dude. Yeah, definitely not wanting to help. Whenever if you wanted to help, you would not threaten someone with a lawsuit and not even say, we're going to sue you because you are causing damage to our company unlawfully and immorally, right? You wouldn't say, we are going to sue you and we're going to win because we have a lot more money than you. That is not the words of an innocent party that has done no wrong. Those are the words of someone who knows that they just have more power than you and they can do whatever the fuck they want and just sue the fuck out of you if you fight back, which again, I cannot believe is an actual option over in America. I'm not sure how much of an option it is in other countries like the UK or Australia or fucking Sudan, but in America it definitely shouldn't be. I just don't really hear about it anywhere else other than America. Or the USA, to be more precise, whatever. You wouldn't even be fucking talking about this or considering any of it if Reckless Ben hadn't made those videos and, like, irreparably damaged your company, rightfully so, by the way.
Did something go missing? You know, did somebody else take it? Did, you know, like, was there something else? But it wasn't in the store when we took over. And that's really kind of the crux of it. So the claims that we stole this inventory are just completely false. We never had the inventory in the first place to steal. And, you know, even after the fact, as some of the additional frustrations were happening, those that were then operating the store reached out and said, hey, we understand that you're frustrated. We're frustrated by the situation too. If we just give you a bunch of inventory that we do have in store, it's nowhere near what you're claiming, but like this is all we ever had. Would you be willing to just take this? And the answer was no. And that's where, you know, like some of the real frustration has come in. Is it appears that this is not necessarily like, it just appears that there's kind of some, you know, coming to a head on some things, and we've been trying to be reasonable in the situation and say like, hey, can we please get some documentation? And if we can, let's work through attorneys.
Again, just to be clear, there's no evidence. I don't think there's any evidence that that actually did happen. So he could very well just be making that story up. But secondly, fuck off. That's not the inventory they gave you. They deserve the inventory that they gave you back. That is the justified moral action here, and they're completely well within their rights to want what they gave you back.
Try and find a way of making whoever it is whole, however we can, through the right parties. And if we can do that, then we're great. You know, like we can really make something happen, and we can get back to doing exactly what everyone wants to do: spread the love of Lego.
What do you think is kind of the motive behind this? If what you're saying is what is happening?
Yeah, that's a tough thing. I can't ascribe anybody else's motive. You know, on one hand, you know, like the conduct, I would say, kind of speaks for itself to a certain degree. But I'm going to let, you know, like I think other people allow that to take place. I'll probably just say, like, through the court system, I think we'll either be able to identify some motive or otherwise, but I'm not going to try and ascribe motive to anybody.
Sure. So let me just make sure I got you here. You're saying from when Crystal and her husband...
I fucking hate that virtue signal. It's like, oh, look at how mature I am. I get this a lot in my YouTube comments. I'll get, like, comments of people being like, fucking hell, Danky's so dumb in this video. I can't believe how stupid and immoral and ignorant he is. And then I'll respond being like, yeah, fuck you, prick, sort of thing. I get a bit antsy. I do. Sometimes it ruins my fucking day and I get genuinely angry. And then they'll respond and be like, wow, dude, real mature, getting all defensive and angry and yelling at me. And it's like, don't fucking virtue signal about how mature and epic you are when your OG comment was just as fucking disrespectful as what I'm saying back to you. All I'm doing is returning your fucking energy. If you want to criticize me in a polite fashion, as long as it's not fucking horrible critiques and genuinely immoral shit that you are just phrasing in a polite manner, I will respond civilly back to you. In my last video, this exact thing happened, by the way. I talked about how I think porn is a net bad for society. However, if you were to consume it, websites like Pornhub and OnlyFans might be the most ethical ways to do so, especially OnlyFans, because they are the websites, statistically, with some of the least amount of exploitation online. I know Pornhub was very bad for it like a decade ago. There was a huge scandal, but nowadays, generally, it is a lot safer. It's not the safest pornography website, but because it's the most mainstream and has the most eyes on it, it is generally safer than a lot of the underground ones. However, upon saying this, I got a bunch of comments of people going, oh my god, Dankyjabo loves porn. Dankyjabo thinks porn is ethical inherently. Dankyjabo thinks that there should be no limits and no change to the porn industry whatsoever. He fucking loves porn. And then I'll respond with, even if they say it nicely, that like, thank you, I think this is really horrible, this take on pornography. That pisses me off. I can't respond civilly to that because it's so not what I said that it just like, I don't know, it does annoy me. It gets me quite angry. Because either you're so dumb and illiterate media-wise that you shouldn't be watching videos, or you're deliberately misinterpreting what I'm saying in an attempt to get me angry, just so you can virtue signal about how moral you are when I inevitably lose my fucking rag. This is what I mean. YouTube's made... I need, like, anger management. Genuinely, I do. YouTube has made me an angry person, and that is a real problem that I genuinely need to work on myself for. I say genuinely too much as well. I need to work on that too. That's probably more important, actually. No more genuinelys for the rest of this video. But either way, that's what we're getting here. I don't want to prescribe morals or motives to anyone because I am a mature adult and I know exactly what I'm doing in life, and no, shut up. You're suing everyone like a bastard. This does not come from any, like, the respect you have for the victims or the people involved. It's just you trying to act as though you're anything but a massive arsehole.
Ownership of the store. I mean, not ownership. They became franchisees. They were never paying the lease off.
No, they initially started paying lease.
But they stopped after a few months.
Yeah, after a certain period of time, those payments stopped. Or like they were sporadic. It wasn't to say, I don't think it was all stopped all at one time. I think, but there were multiple months where we had to step in and make payments, and then a period of time where they made their payments again, and then another series of times. And I do believe at the very end we did have to cover quite a number of months of the landlord's rent in order to not lose the space.
I've been reading over this FDD, as most of the internet has, and it does say that this location is owned and operated by an entity owned by Bricks and Minifigs Franchising.
I'm sorry, what are you referring to?
This is the 2023 financial, the FDD. It says, it gives a list of outlets owned and operated by corporate and or one or more of our officers. It lists Crystal's name here as the location on River Road in Kaiser, Oregon, owned and operated by an entity owned by Bricks and Minifigs Franchising, Inc.
Right. So that particular, and remember, the FDDs are disclosure documents. Those aren't the agreements. So every year we have to file what's called a franchise disclosure document that tells the various states what had happened the previous year. So so Crystal, when she bought the store in 2023, she bought an asset that had been owned by BAM Franchising in 2022. It's the 2022 information that's being published in the 2023 FDDs. Does that help make sense?
Yeah.
Well, and Crystal was the manager of the store at that time.
Gotcha.
Which is why she was listed there in that capacity, because she was the manager of a corporate store. She then approached us and said, hey, I'd like to buy this store in like early 2023. And we said, sure, that'd be great. And so as of, I believe, February or March of 2023, she had entered into that asset purchase agreement and then signed her own franchise agreement. So that's why, and those numbers would not have been published, like in 2022 for those types of things.
Gotcha. And as I'm looking through this, the reasons you can terminate someone as outlined in this agreement, something that caught my eye is it says you can immediately terminate someone if they don't pay for any reason. You could just immediately terminate them. But then later down it says under the notice of termination, essentially the same thing. So I guess what has confused me is what happened here? Was it an immediate termination? Was it a notice of termination?
Well, immediate termination and notice of termination. I think I would have to understand exactly which section you're referring to.
Sure,
in
absolutely.
The
So this is the 2023 Franchising Area Development Agreement, assumedly the one that Crystal signed. This is section.
No. So area developer agreements are a separate thing. So she would not have been under an area developer agreement. They can be similar, but they're not the same thing. So you're still looking at the FDDs that have a copy of the franchise agreement and the area developer agreement. So you're probably looking in a subsequent agreement that's just attached as like an attachment or addendum to the FDD. But so further up in the documentation is where you would find the full franchise agreement. It's going to be very similar, but not all the same. So that's also something to be aware of when you're looking at some of these things. There's a lot of nuance that goes into it. The actual franchise agreement she would have been sent doesn't have the FDD stuff at the very beginning, nor does it have anything to do with area developer agreements.
I guess in this case, was the termination, was it immediate? Was it noticed in Crystal's
So
case?
the original intent in the conversations that we had with her prior to the transition date was to make it a mutual termination, which is to say that she was going to be moving out of the country and she was no longer desired to operate the store. Therefore, because of the unpaid balances and otherwise, corporate was going to come back in and repossess the store based on the asset purchase agreement, but also the missing royalties. However, we were going to do so in good faith together, reasonably and mutually. And that's just that was our I guess our discretion that we wanted to be, kind and like move forward and just be like, hey, we're not going to come after you for the amount of money that you owe to us. If we can all just work together and be reasonable through this whole process. So the nearly $200,000 that's owed to us, we're just going to eat that cost. Some of it will go into the, the repossession of the store and the repurchase of the assets of the store. But otherwise, unfortunately, when we arrived, the transition ended up not going smooth, and there was, I think, just heightened emotions around the situation, and it became very antagonistic, and came to the point where we just felt like it was not going to go as smoothly as we thought it was going to. Therefore, we ended up having to send a notice of immediate termination that same night, which we could have and should have done earlier, could have done earlier, and we didn't, but we ended up having to do it, that night.
Franchise agreement under immediate termination, it says, let me see, where is it? Failure to make payments, immediate termination. Yet later down under notice of termination, it says failure to make payment of any amount. So I guess my confusion is sort of the incongruity there between. It feels like the same thing can be immediately terminated and terminated with notice.
Right. So there's a couple of different things. Number one, just because we send a notice does not mean that we are, so if there's a terminatable offense that we can go after or take action on, is not negated by the fact that if we chose to send a notice instead of immediate termination, that still doesn't negate the fact that we actually still can immediately terminate. So there's plenty of things that we can send you notice on, but and obviously in some of those types of situations, I'd also just make sure that, whenever we have something, we always send it to our franchise attorney to be like, hey, what are the steps here? And our franchise attorneys were 100% on board with everything. And they were the ones that helped us proceed with how we operate. But yeah, so hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, that does. Yeah, thank you. My last question here is, in the statement last night, you mentioned when Bricks and Minifigs Corporate repossessed the store due to the former owner's financial defaults and other breaches. Obviously, we've covered the defaults. What were the other breaches?
It's a fair question. And what I don't want to do is I don't want to get into too much that would be, I would say, damaging to any other party. But I'll speak in generalities.
You already said it, though. You put it on the again, this whole moral grandstanding of, I don't want to hurt these. You said it. It's in the fucking statement, dude. It's like going, oh, I know what you did. It's really fucking bad. It would ruin your career. It's something you wouldn't want anyone knowing about. It's one of the worst things a human being could do. What is it? Well, I would never say, come on, I don't want to damage this guy's reputation. I would never say what it actually was. I'm bigger than that. Who do you think I am. Like, no, it's in the fucking statement, so either say it or don't put it in there. Or say something along the lines of, I cannot say that because it might affect the legal proceedings or the court process. That would actually be, like, somewhat believable. But don't act as though you're not saying it for some sort of altruistic, oh, I just care too much. Even though I've been wronged, I'm a nice person, I don't want to wrong them back. Fuck you.
Maintaining standards at the store, not paying other vendors when payments are due, generally being in default in other aspects of the franchise agreement or the operations manual. Those are some of the breaches that could have and would have been.
But he's doing it anyway. He wants his cake and eat it too. Wait, hang on. I've got a Lego cake about, actually. This is it. This is what he wants. See how I have it? I have the cake, but I'm not eating it as well. So I understand what I can have and what I can't have. This opens up as well. How cool is that? Also got my own private domicile over here for we criminals like Bricks and Minifigs CEO over here. All the shit inside there. This is pretty rad too. I'm a fan of this. Whoops, I broke it. Wow!
Breach notice, some of the things that had been observed, but you know, like I don't remember every specific particular breach.
Sure. But you say it was more than just the defaults.
Correct. I mean, like so even just the default through non-payment of royalties is one thing, but non-payment on the asset purchase agreement, that's another breach in and of itself, independent. Not paying the landlord rent, those are breaches in and of themselves and independent. Not paying vendors, you know, like for inventory, that is, you know, like some of those types of things. Yeah. So every one of those are all considered breaches, just depending on the severity of the breach, would then fall in line with other things.
I guess what do you have to say to people who are so angry at you and your company?
Yeah, you know, what I would say is it's understandable how people can be angry because they've seen a very compelling video that tells a very specific story, right? And that story is, I'm a monster. That story is that Bricks and Minifigs is nothing but greed. But if you were to actually ask the majority of the franchisees, the communities that we serve, the people that we work with, the ones that are also behind on their royalties or having a hard time making rent, and we step in and we pay and we do those things, not because we're looking for another gotcha, but because we genuinely care about the business owners and the communities that they serve. That's what I would say is that not only that we shouldn't be doing anything, none of our stores should be doing anything that could potentially harm anybody in their communities. And so if there is something that's gone wrong, you know, like in the situation with the Mansell family, if something has gone wrong, we still stand by our desire to make things right. And we want to help where we can and how we can, but we have to do it the right way. And when we work together, we can make a lot of really cool things happen. And so that to me is the community base as well as the community structure that's built on that base that makes Bricks and Minifigs fantastic. And so what I would say is question, you know, like the motives that other people have for why they put out negative content. What do they get for it? And oftentimes it's for monetary gain. Well, what would we ever get by taking somebody's product? Nothing but you know, like problems.
Yeah, or maybe they're trying to set a story straight or like get the truth out there. That's like, I mean, this is a negative video, right? You are talking negatively about about Reckless Ben's stuff. So could I say the same thing here? Let's really question why he's decided to spread this negativity out in the world, talking about how the franchise owners were breaching the rules, not paying on time, all this bullshit. What a negative wee Nancy. Now let's really question, why are people negative? It's because it all comes from insecurity. They hate the world. They want money. It's all this. It's like, no, maybe in your mind at least, you're just trying to correct misinformation and get the real truth out there. It's the same reason Reckless Ben's making his video. That this argument is complete, I mean, it's fine in certain cases, but not here. It's very unself-aware and incredibly ironic as well. This guy's a fucking scrub. He's a huge douche. I hate him.
You don't really match up. They you know, so in reality, like I would say, understand where what motivations are coming from. And if you kind of look at that, you'll recognize that what we're saying and what we've put to the courts is none of this happened. None of it is as the way it was portrayed, and the inventory was not in the store when we took over the store, and whatever could be identified that might have matched the list that was eventually provided to us was attempted to be given to the family, and it was refused. And I think that what we're trying to do now is to say we still want to help recover any lost items wherever we can and however we can, and you know, like if there's a way for us to help make him whole through finding out where, you know, like the sets went and if they were, you know, like otherwise, you know, like disposed of, we can try and work through that process to help him recover whatever we can help him recover.
So you're saying your door's open if Brian wants to reach out?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing that would be good is there was also a temporary restraining order, I heard. Can you speak to that at all? Against Crystal?
Well, I think there are some probably some confusion and misunderstanding on some parties' part about what certain things happen.
Sure.
A temporary restraining order, which is preliminary to an injunction, is filed or has been filed against those who have participated in the fictitious videos that have been created and published. So that has been filed, and as well as a claim against those who have done all those things. So to the extent that individuals are named as either participants and so forth, that participated in certain activities, they may be listed as participants in some of those actions. But we would just recommend people read the documents themselves.
So there have been actions filed?
Yeah, there have been actions.
Can you speak to who they've been filed against?
I would just point to the documents themselves. They're filed with the 4th Judicial Court of Utah.
There's no reasonable. There's no reason. When you watch the fucking video, he's literally on the phone. You sue me then, sue me. If you're big and strong, sue me then. This guy is a horrible CEO. He has destroyed his entire fucking company. I'm assuming a multi-million-dollar company for 200 grand. He's destroyed it all. It's fucked now. They will never have the same reputation they did before. They were the gold standard for Lego collection, and now they definitely are not. And I don't think they ever will be again, unless there's a massive overhaul and like there's like everyone is a new employee. But it might as well just be a whole different company at that point. Okay, now Legal has put out so far 2 really great hour-long videos about this whole thing. Like everything else, we're not going to look at the whole stuff, but the most important things here with the legal stuff that I fully don't understand, like all the legalese stuff that sort of goes one ear and out the other for me. I think it'd be good to have someone who actually knows their shit, because Legal historically has been very fucking reputable. I don't think he's ever had a scandal or got like anything meaningful wrong. So I'd like to hear what he has to say about, you know, sort of pernickety subjects like the consignment and everything like that. So we have more of an educated view looking forward.
This inventory, estimating the value at over $100,000.
All the footage and evidence is there. In the security cam footage, it's him at the store kicking her out. In that footage they sent us is Crystal asking him, how am I supposed to pay this guy? These are sets he has not been paid for.
These are ones that he has not been paid his percentage yet. And if I don't have the tickets, I won't know how much I need to pay him.
That's a business thing and not necessarily yours. If taking on the business, he takes on all that consignment part.
His own corporation is sitting there on video saying they're going to take it.
After this woman got kicked out of her own store, she called Brian explaining how corporate just came down and is now trying to take the world's largest Lego Star Wars collection without paying for it.
Now, Bricks & Minifigs corporate alleges in their later lawsuit that they had no knowledge of the underlying consignment agreement. In other words, they were a bona fide purchaser with no notice of the consignment. They also claim that the Gormans still have never provided a fully signed contract of that consignment agreement with Mansell. And obviously a lot turns on the security camera footage that involves a conversation about the consignment arrangement. Now, I'm going to say that video is somewhat ambiguous as to what it actually means, and I'm not sure, even if it's crystal clear, if that qualifies as sufficient notice to put a bona fide subsequent purchaser on notice. And I'm sure the Bricks & Minifigs corporate would argue that even if that conversation were crystal clear, and even if a phone conversation is sufficient notice to perfect the creditor rights of the Mansells, it happened after they had already taken over the abandoned store, which doesn't affect their rights as a bona fide purchaser, which we'll talk about in a second. And then Bricks & Minifigs corporate also alleges that Best & Johnson, the new owners who owned through their company Baker Salem, had no knowledge of the consignment agreement either. They allege that the new owners didn't take over the abandoned store until early in 2025. And on top of that, Bricks & Minifigs claims that Mansell harassed the staff of the store seeking compensation for the consignments, and that after Mansell confronted the franchise staff, Best & Johnson tried to corroborate the contract, including with staff who worked at the prior iteration, who worked with the Gormans, and those staff members told them that there was no such consignment contract. So both Bricks & Minifigs and the new owners Best & Johnson claim to be bona fide purchasers for value. Again, this is a factual mess. I have no idea who's telling the truth here.
Yeah, and that's a very reasonable take, I feel, with a lot of the stuff in terms of the consignment and that, because that one clip there, as damaging as it is, it can't be used as like the baseline for the entire reasoning for someone's opinion on this thing. For me, and I've said this already, the 200 grand is a big deal, and I do think Brian and his father need justice, but the shit that is unjustifiable and really concerning is the police corruption and corroboration and how hell-bent they are on defending their Mormon brothers and sisters.
If we go to court, we're going to drag this thing out so long, and you're going to end up spending so much more money than your collection is ever worth or what you ever would have gotten on it, that it ain't worth it, man. So if that's the route you want to go, and I go, that's really the route you want to go, rather than just letting me walk in there and go, well, dang. What am I to do?
So at least at some point, Mansell provides a copy of the consignment contract and a formal termination to the new owners, if not BAM corporate itself. Now, Bricks & Minifig corporate claims that they still never have a fully executed contract, that they only have a version that was unsigned. But also keep in mind that at this point in this saga, Bricks & Minifig corporate doesn't have possession of these Legos. It's the new franchise that has possession, the one owned by Best & Johnson. So Bricks & Minifig corporate can't turn over the sets, as so many people on the internet have demanded. They don't have the sets. Still, the new owners, Bakers and Best, saying, sue us, you'll spend more money than you're due, while probably true, is also obviously a bad look. But Mansell believed that the sets were still in the store because people he knew had gone in and confirmed their presence. And so on December 30th, 2024, Brian Mansell walked into the Kaiser Police Department and reported what he believed was theft of a substantial Lego collection that he says remained in the Bricks & Minifig store after the Gormans lost control of the business. And according to the police report, Mansell told officers that he had entered into a consignment agreement with Crystal Law Gorman, under which he retained ownership of the inventory until sale. Mansell told the police, quote, his lawyer sent a letter via certified mail to terminate the contract with Bricks & Minifigs. And according to Mr. Mansell, the contract required that the product be returned to him within 10 days, but this return did not occur. Now, the police investigation went in multiple directions. The officers interviewed Mansell, Crystal Law, Brandon Best, and BAM leadership, including Eamon Neff and Kai McAllister, and they also bagged photos, video, and inventory spreadsheets, security footage, and the consignment documents into evidence. Bricks & Minifigs corporate told police consignments were a, quote, unauthorized franchise practice, that BAM terminated the franchise over unpaid obligations, and that the store assets were seized, while also claiming items believed to be Mansell's had been set aside. But Johnson, the new owner of this franchise, also claimed that he had the right to that property. Here's the statement that he made to police, quote, however, due to the claim that Mr. Mansell continues to call the business despite being told not to, and encouraging others to do so as well, he does not want to give these items to Mr. Mansell.
Yeah, so that's him saying right there, oh no, I do have your items, I have all of your shit, but you're little bit rude to me, so I don't want to give it. That's not how it fucking works, dude. He's only being a dick to you because you refuse to give them to him. It's like, again, it's like when you're a 6-year-old and you steal someone's fucking apple juice and they go, give it back, and they start punching you and they go, well, you know what, I was gonna give it back, but now that you've hit me, you're not gonna touch this fucking apple juice. How about that one? Bastard. But to be fair, in all the fucking body cam footage, this Johnson bloke does look like a real piece of work.
Also doesn't feel he needs to, since the store's inventory became his once he took it over. So he didn't want to give the items to Mansell because of Mansell's phone calls, and why didn't the police order him to return the sets to Mansell immediately? I guess we have to talk to the DA.
You see, exactly, even the way that Legal Eagle is saying it, he says it with such, like, he doesn't want to return, he knows how ridiculous it is, as professional as he's trying to be here.
We're all caught on body cam, and all of Johnson's interactions with the police are probably recorded.
It don't make no sense, man! I have 200 grand of yours, but because you called me a couple of times, I don't want to give it to you. That's obviously not what's happening here. You're a thief!
Reckless Ben later asked Johnson about this, and here's what he said.
I didn't sign a contract. I didn't sign that agreement. I didn't agree to anything in that.
And now I finally understand the legal loophole that Josh is using to get away with this. And it's probably the stupidest loophole I've ever heard in my entire life. Josh is claiming that it's not his name on the contract, it's the previous owner's, which makes no sense because in the security camera footage, he tells the previous owner that he's going to be the one taking over the contract now.
He's taking on the business, he takes on all that, that's not that hard.
And I guess this is some sort of just contract loophole he's trying to use to steal the world's largest Lego Star Wars collection.
In order for me to be under contract, I have to sign something.
Or you had to take it over from the previous owner, right?
No, that's not how the law works.
Yeah, it is.
Now, there are several points to make here. If Best and Johnson were selling Mansell's consigned sets from November 15, 2024, if they were doing so before any asset purchase existed, they probably have no colorable claim of ownership at all. And even after they signed a franchise agreement with Bricks and Minifigs Corporate on March 27, 2025, BAM Corporate still could not convey title to property that it never had. And an asset purchase doesn't necessarily cure that problem. It documents the disposition of property that was never BAM's to sell. And the assertion that they assume no obligations contradicts their other claims. BAM and its operators cannot simultaneously disclaim the consignment and also retain and sell the consigned property. If Johnson and Best assumed none of the consignment obligations, then it had no contractual right to Mansell's goods. And yet they may have continued to sell Mansell's goods.
And not only that, but they were literally posting Mansell's goods. They were posting them on Instagram, in my opinion, very clearly goading him and being like, haha, we have your shit, you're never getting back, and you can't sue us for it because we will destroy you.
And generally, a transferee cannot receive greater ownership rights than the transferor possessed. And this is summed up in one of those Latin phrases you learn in law school, nemo dat quoed non habet, or one cannot give what one does not have. And applied here, BAM Corporate and its new franchise owners could only seize or receive those rights that actually belonged to the Gormans. So if the franchisee owned fixtures, inventory, goodwill, or contractual rights, those assets could transfer upon termination. But if the franchisee merely possessed third-party property under consignment agreement, seizure of those premises would not ordinarily extinguish the original owner's title. So in practical terms, taking control of a building containing someone else's property does not automatically transform that property into the successor's assets. And a landlord who retakes leased premises does not become the owner of the tenant's belongings merely because those belongings remain inside.
Yeah, obvious. I feel that shouldn't even need to be mentioned. Like, it's the most obvious thing in the world. If you take over a building, it does not mean that you own everything in that building. This is known for tenancies and stuff. Like, if you're renting and you leave and you forget, like, a vacuum cleaner or something, that doesn't all of a sudden become the landlord's vacuum cleaner. There are things that need to be done legally to return the vacuum cleaner. There's like a certain period of time where you're authorized to go back and get it back. A lot of these pretty much all, I think, required by law, stuff like that needs to be checked for. It doesn't just become yours. It makes no sense, dude.
A warehouse purchaser ordinarily does not acquire title to goods owned by warehouse customers simply because those goods remain in storage, because a contract for storage is a bailment rather than a sale. Okay, so in sum, the takeover likely only transferred possession of the collection, not ownership. But the other question is, what legal obligations did BAM Corporate or successor operators assume when they took possession of the store and its contents? Well, Oregon recognizes principles of bailment. For example, a party entrusted with possession of another's property assumes duties of reasonable care in return. And that means that if the new operators, Johnson and Best, inherited the Mansell collection, they likely stepped into at least a custodial role.
Yeah, and for the record, if it was the case, very unlikely, but if it was the case that it did transfer not only just possession, but ownership of the Lego collection to the new owners, that would still be really fucked up from B&M, because Brian and his father have transferred that Lego collection, you know, thinking that they would either get it back or get paid for it. And if B&M, like, really stupidly decides to just give it, like, ownership to someone else, there's no way that can be allowed. But if they do that, then that's really fucked up on their part. They should have given the Lego set back beforehand. There are so many parts of this story where the right thing could and should have been done. But again, of course, I would recommend watching that video in its entirety to get the real story there. I want to have a look at their follow-up video where they talk about the body cam footage that was leaked, because I feel like the law here is a lot clearer and less messy, because we actually see body footage of the police, in my mind, just assaulting Ben.
I didn't?
I was so sure that we stopped at the stop sign that I actually requested all the police footage of this. And as you can see, we didn't even do a rolling stop. We fully stopped at the stop sign. So this is an illegal traffic stop.
As a criminal defense attorney, every single day, just about. People call me and say, Mark, the police officer stopped me for no reason. And I watch the body cams and I can literally see people not use their blinkers, not come to a complete stop, do all sorts of traffic violations. And so when people tell me I didn't do anything wrong, I got stopped, there's a small part of skepticism. I always believe my clients, but there's a small part that's I better check and verify. I am blown away. I mean, they know they have a dash cam. And so the officer's own dash cam shows reckless Ben's vehicle stop.
Okay, I'm glad he cleared that up, because as someone who doesn't drive, I just sort of took his word for it. I couldn't tell if that was like a lawful traffic stop. But I assumed, like, yeah, why would you ever lie about something like that? Someone would have brought up that, no, it was actually unlawful. But I'm glad that that's cleared up now.
And then they have the audacity to walk up to him and say, hey, you didn't come to a stop. That's why we stopped you. I am very skeptical of police by nature. It's my job. Skeptical of all authority. But to see an officer lie on camera, it's very rare for me to catch them in that. And you see this giant smile, that's genuine giddiness, because I love catching people in power, particularly police officers, insurance companies, whatever, get caught in a lie that can be refuted. And so
I don't love it though. I guess as a lawyer, it makes sense why you'd love it, because it makes your job quite easy. But I do not love it, because they're meant to be protecting us. If they're doing that shit, we are not being protected, we are being fucked. We should have phrased that a little more eloquently, but it's true.
The only problem is it's a crazy story, and the police officer did not believe me.
No crazier than the police lying about a traffic stop that's easily proven false. This is wild. And again, always remember, these officers know they are being recorded.
Yeah, and they also knew who these people were. Honestly, it's a fucking miracle that there were no drugs planted in the car. Because I honestly wouldn't have put that past them. And it's fucked as well, because if they did plant drugs in the car, I feel like the internet would probably believe that Reckless Ben genuinely had drugs in the car. I don't know, actually. I don't know. It would have its, like, it would have defenders and supporters, and it would have people who do believe it as well. It would have been fucked up. But bit of a missed opportunity there for the police. If you want to do this again, I recommend, actually bringing some heroin over and planting it in the car. Because that could work. You can paint Reckless Ben out to be like a junkie who can't be trusted.
Hello. Hey, how's it going? Hello? Hey, well, I was wondering if you'd be down to pay us for the lawsuit we won.
Watching your Reckless Ben outside the home of one of the owners, and the guy is just standing there. It doesn't appear to be very confrontational or anything like that.
If you don't want to talk, I'll just talk. So you guys told us to take you to court. We went to court and we won. We knew you closed down the store to avoid paying us, so...
I mean, this is the kind of stuff that, I love. I love confronting people that have hurt other people, that have harmed other people, and this is beautiful. I mean, this right here, this section, I get why Reckless Ben does these videos. This is super interesting. He's telling him to his face. That's bravery, man. That is bravery. Truth to power. If you're thinking, oh man, this guy in this sweater and sweatpants and a red hat doesn't look like he has too much power, watch all the police and law enforcement he is able to summon, push back on Reckless Ben and Reckless Ben's group.
Police showed up, and again, for some reason, they are really trying to protect these criminals.
He didn't steal anything. He turned to the store for somebody.
No, he stole $200,000 worth of... Because I've been spending the last 3 months in the case and I won in court.
This blows me away. You have this female officer actively advocating for this man. This right here shows you something weird is going on here. The police department is no longer neutral. The police department is no longer just trying to get the facts. But I suspect this police department is not used to being pushed. I suspect this police department is not used to being challenged. I suspect this is very different from what they're normally doing over there in American Fork, Utah. And that's why these officers are so reckless, despite the fact it's on body cam.
Very curious. Is very curious, because, like, I do wonder about the validity of the small claims court victory. It's something a lot of people have been bringing up, and I understand why, but it does seem as though they won a small claims court victory. And in my mind, I'm like, surely you wouldn't have won if there isn't valid evidence, or at least like somewhat valid enough evidence that the 200 grand was stolen. How else would you have won? Unless the case is about something completely different and we are just being tricked here. But in my mind, that small claims court victory should be a sign for all the police officers in that area to at the very least, not immediately side and corroborate with the other bloke. Should be like, oh, we won a small claims court victory on this exact case. Maybe like at least try to consider for a second that they might be a little more valid than they're being made out to be. Surely you're meant to listen to both parties, right?
How you doing? Good, how are you? Good.
What's your name? Where you been?
We just watched an officer pull over a vehicle Reckless Ben is sitting.
So he knows who he is. But they know exactly what it's not as though it's a random traffic stop. They know who these people are. They are being told about them. It's complete bullshit. It's actually disgusting. Like, it is, I almost said the G word. It is honestly disgusting.
And the officer leans in and basically, hey, what's your name? And Reckless Ben, because he's a good dude just trying to do what he thinks is right, he identifies, I'm Ben. I'm gonna let you know something right now. Passengers have no duty in the United States of America to identify themselves. They don't. So long as a passenger didn't do something crazy, throwing trash out the window, have some sort of crazy weapon on them. Now, a lawfully stopped vehicle, the driver does have to identify himself. This isn't America, and the right to travel doesn't apply to driving a vehicle on a road. The passenger didn't do anything to get pulled over. There's nothing that attaches reasonable suspicion, probable cause, nothing attaches to the passenger because they're not the one operating the vehicle. Now, what this officer is doing, though, is he's asking a question. And you're allowed to do that. The police are allowed to do that. You, the viewer, are allowed to ask questions. Hey, anything illegal in your bag? Hey, officer, what you got going on for lunch today? Anyone's allowed to ask questions. They probably know it's Ben, but why confirm that? Why make their job easier for them? The last day, it makes people a little bit upset with me sometimes. Oh, Mark, we shouldn't make the cop's job harder. Shouldn't we, though? What if you're getting stopped in American Police Department? I hope everybody makes your job a little bit more challenging, or at least makes them do the correct work.
This lawyer is fucking based, by the way. Jesus Christ. I don't know much. I don't know who this guy is, but like, he's very exuberant and like, and flamboyant, but he's kind of based though.
For the Mormons there, this audio clip, and the Mormon thought that the best thing to do was to have a talk with Josh to save him from going to this outer darkness.
What brings you here? I'm just here trying to talk to Brother Johnson. Okay. I'm in the August 2nd Ward. There's been an audio going around with the Command group. Okay. What's the audio that you wanted to play?
I'm smiling because it sounds like it's out of a movie, right? I've done this. People just won't accept a subpoena for deposition. They won't take a subpoena to come to court. So I have flowers delivered to them and literally hand them the flowers standing outside the door with a bouquet of flowers. Oh, flower delivery. Who are these from? Boom, served. It's awesome. It is probably done that maybe 3 times in my 20 years, and it's awesome every time. It's like a highlight reel when I'm smiling about being a lawyer. And so this right here is fine. This guy is just trying to get somebody served. He's using deception. Hey, guess what? The law is allowed to use deception against you every single day. So it's not too weird to see this guy try to do this. Now, what I don't like is this guy just starts talking. He's explaining, answering questions. What? Listen, law enforcement's asking you questions. The only question you should ask is, am I free to leave? And if the officer says you're free to leave, walk away. Don't ask questions. Don't say, thank you, officer. I'm not trying to be hard. I'm sorry being jerk. Just walk away. If they say that you're not free to leave, well then, that activates a 3-phrase section. I plead the 5th. I want a lawyer. I don't consent to searches. That's it. Don't answer questions of law enforcement. You don't need to talk to the police. But again, the police are allowed to ask questions called consensual encounter. And it's totally normal. And police are counting on you to go along with it.
The police apparently got a call that we had heroin on us.
This officer's going to conduct the search of your person because there are substances in the vehicle. So he's going to do that. I'm going to put this away and then we'll be right. Don't reach in your pocket. Okay? Sounds good. Like this. The vehicle will be searched. Okay? I'm going to have you stick by my sergeant.
After 2 hours of searching the car, obviously
they found no drugs in this search.
I explained to the police that we didn't have drugs, and the reality of the situation is that Bricks and Minifigs is so desperate at this point that they're willing to do anything to get us arrested so they don't have to pay for the property they stole. Even though we were passing every single drug test they gave us, they were still not going to let us go until we told them where the drugs were.
They're making them do field sobriety tests for apparently allegation they have heroin in the car.
So I haven't been looking at this. I'll show him. Look at him.
Oh, look at him?
Yep.
You do see it?
So
it's crazy.
Officer, your eyes are dilated. Let me see your medical degree, Mr. Officer. Really, you can see heroin in the eyes? You should be leading the drug task force of the country.
You could end up in jail in Utah when you're from Cali. Okay. Not worth it, right? Yeah. We play differently here.
We play differently here in Utah. We don't honor the Constitution. What is the officer talking about? We play differently here in Utah. I don't see where the officer is saying, we have a search warrant, we're going to search this car. Most searches don't depend on a search warrant. Most searches depend on the person saying, okay, yeah, no problem, search. I have nothing to hide. Just like these guys. And then 2 hours later, tossing the car and the officer's grilling at you. The officer's separating the passengers and the drivers.
Good point, man. Like, I know it's a very obvious point, but it's so, like, it is mental that they searched the car, they wasted 2 hours of their time, they took all these fucking tests. You should be saying, sorry, I didn't mean to waste your time like that. But instead, after these guys have been so cooperative the entire time, I don't think a warrant was even there. They just let them search with the good of their hearts because they believed that they knew that there was nothing going on. They knew that they had nothing illegal. And despite being so cordial and well-meaning and just nice to the officers, all they get in return is attitude and slyness and, well, you're walking a dangerous line here, buddy. We play differently here. It's like, come on, have some class about you, brother.
It's a false confession like they wanted, so eventually I guess they just got tired and let us go.
We'll let you guys go now, but you're walking a thin line. Just be mindful of that.
I love it. After 2 hours, we'll let you go, but you're walking a thin line. Thin line of what? Of driving normally? Of trying to serve some paperwork? This is implied threats. We do things differently in Utah. You're walking a thin line.
Yeah, legit. It's a threat. It's a threat of, you're walking a thin line. It's very much in reference to the BNM case. They know what they're doing here. You're walking a thin line, not because of the drugs, because we have established you have none, but, you know, the other stuff that we're not going to mention because it makes us look really fucking bad.
Required by the court.
Again, the police agree that we are not breaking the law. They've been called out here for a false reason.
So this third set of officers, one of the officers was like, hey, give me the papers, I'll give it to him. And this officer, I know he's coming from a place of just, let's get this done. Stop wasting my time. I can go do my other stuff, whatever the officers do when they're not harassing reckless spend. So the officer, you see him take the papers and he's gone for a little bit. And the owner says, no, I'm not taking them. There's lots of problems with this. In most states, having a police officer serve a document is the best thing you could do. I mean, it's like the top. There's so many things you can do to serve somebody. The top is having an officer serve it. Underneath that, there's process server. Underneath that, there's certified mailing. Underneath that, there's putting it in the paper and you've been sued. So there's all sorts of ways to accomplish service. As a lawyer who sues people, Quite often, having an officer do it is the best. And most departments charge money for that because they know they can make money because an officer says they serve somebody. A judge and a jury's gonna be like, yeah, they got served, man. That's proof positive. And this owner being like, I'm not touching it. And the officer being like, oh, sorry to waste your time. I apologize. That's insane. Nobody chooses to get arrested. What? Officer, this isn't a polite invitation to tea. This is a legal document to be held accountable for a lawsuit.
Okay, so I guess this guy here is claiming that it is a legal document, a legitimate serving agreement, or whatever, not agreement, a legitimate, like a legitimate form of paperwork to legally serve someone, and it's not whatever bollocks they're claiming it was. I've never seen something like this before. This isn't a real legal document. I'm sure when we get to that point, we'll get more specification on whether or not it was real, or just how real it was, though. So I'm very curious about that, because that's a big thing here. As someone who, you know, as a regular YouTube audience member, you will not know if Reckless Ben is over-exaggerating the validity or reliability of how valid this actual document is in terms of serving someone. So it is entirely possible, in my opinion, that it's a real letter, but it's not the kind of letter that you use to serve someone, and he's maybe bending the truth a little bit there. But let's find out.
Okay, it doesn't have a judge's name or anything like that on it?
They've already determined as a group, and officers, all police have what's called the collective knowledge doctrine. One officer has determined the person is lying, all the officers are going to believe he's lying. So it's not surprising to me. The officers are like, I'm not going to do this, you're a liar.
And so this is serving him, and then we'll go to the court, and then the judge will be there. So the judge doesn't get involved until we're in court.
One of the things that, Reckless Ben, and he does it, and I understand he's a content creator, but you see Reckless Ben and you see the group he's with constantly just trying to explain.
We came to do a good faith conversation, which is required by the courts before we can get a court case approved. So we did that. He called the cops on us. He lied to you guys saying that we had heroin on us. And we did a 3-hour search of the car yesterday. We found no heroin in the car.
In my mind, they're doing it because they think, hey, I'm a rational person. I'm going to explain what's going on to these officers. They'll be able to see it from my point of view. He's very calm in explaining. And I can see why officers in other states and other areas will believe him, because he's not excited. He's not intoxicated. He's not acting a fool. He's not. He's very calm and collected. And that's how everyone should be. But I want to talk to you about something. I got trained in the mountains of Wyoming by a gentleman named Jerry Spence, arguably the best trial lawyer ever. Passed away a little bit ago, but he was amazing. Jerry Spence looked at all of us and said, if you're explaining, you're losing. And I want to let you know that is true. You need to be convincing people, you need to make an impact, but if you're explaining, you are losing. And that's true on the side of the road with a police officer. That's true in court. That's probably true with your wife or a husband at home. But you see them trying to explain, it's not working. And I promise you, when you're explaining yourself to a cop on the side of the road, it's not working. The lens that you are criminal, the lens that you're a liar, they are not able to put that to the side and listen to your words. I do not recommend explaining at the side of the road. That is not your role. Your role is to be quiet at the side of the road. Let your lawyer explain later.
Then, you guessed it, we got the police calling us again.
Oh, sure. The paper? The serving paper?
Yeah. We have this officer who I'm going to call Officer Lifts Weights. This guy is huge. He's the 4th set of officers to come to Reckless Ben's group here. I suspect they sent this officer to send a message.
Do you think it's a false case? What the heck?
Just verify if the case is real.
Yeah, looks like a real small claims case in our court.
Okay, thank you for your help.
Hearing these officers when they're not in front of Ben or Ben's group, they're polite. Being nice and polite in normal life does not mean you should engage with police officers or talk to them. Bad idea. Just horrible idea. Is this purposeful flouting of our rights and Ben's a victim, or is this a situation where maybe they're just dumb and the jury's out? I don't know yet. I thought for sure this was like them colluding with the owners and, they're doing this whole thing to just get back at somebody, but it's...
Okay, so not even one mention. I think that was all good, by the way, and it is true. I've never even thought of it that way, but it is true. Most of the time, if you're explaining something, then you're probably in the wrong. Most of the time. There are exceptions, obviously. Maybe not even most, but a lot of the time, yeah, for sure. However, I find it very interesting that there was not even one mention of the mere possibility that the documents may have been forged or exaggerated or hyperbolized in their legality or validity in any way, shape, or form. Like, not one mention of the fact that that might have been what happened here. So that means one of two things. Either it's so obviously legal to someone who knows their shit that it's not even worth mentioning, or this guy isn't showing the other side of the argument enough. Now, I am not about to say the latter. I think it is probably the former. Because who the fuck am I, like 22-year-old British kid with no legal experience, to go, no, Mr. Lawyer who's been doing this all his life, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, now we're going to talk about the bit where the IT guy accidentally leaks a lot of the unredacted audio. I would love to know just how incriminating the unredacted audio actually is.
Called the police station to find out why.
All the redactions are done pursuant to the Utah State Code.
The police made a mistake. They accidentally forgot to mute this police officer's audio, so when you sync the two clips together, I can actually hear what they're saying here.
Did you see that or give that? Is it an occasional crime? Is it disorderly conduct? Why? Is he upset about it? I mean, I guess, but that's not...
Yeah, this police officer is right. Just because this might make Josh upset does not make this poster illegal.
So we do have a voice of reason, and I give that officer credit. He's not just going along blindly with the other officers, but I will let you know this. That officer when Reckless Ben is being arrested, that group is being arrested, he is not raising his hand saying, hey, y'all, stop. That's not right. He fell into line the moment the officer made an arrest decision. I suspect he did not write a separate police report saying, hey, the other officer full of it. He didn't do anything wrong. I mean, I'm hoping that report does come back. I mean, that would help restore some of my faith in the police, particularly the American Fork Police Department. But I suspect that report doesn't exist. I love being wrong about things like that, though. So someone email it to me or show it to me. There's a few scary parts about this entire thing in this Reckless Ben video. This is one of the ones that scare me because it could easily go very badly for the individual being arrested.
Lieutenant Adamson can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to seize your phone right now.
Don't. Do not do that. You understand me? Right now, you're attempting to destroy evidence. Okay? Put your hands behind your back. I was just locking my phone.
This officer's an idiot. Letting someone put their hand into their pocket? No. Officer's about to arrest somebody. Hands where I can see them, sir. Frisk them. Remove things from their pocket is evidence. A chain of things here. This guy was locking his phone because you have no duty to hand the officer your unlocked phone. You have no duty to give them the password. You have no duty for any of that. I'd probably turn my phone off before I gave it to an officer. That's just me. I probably wouldn't give my phone to an officer unless he ordered me to. The officer did say I'm seizing it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad we can get that sort of cleared up from a legal perspective, because from my dumbass point of view, it looked fucking ridiculous how angry that guy got because the guy was turning his phone off. I want to get to the swatting though. That's what I want to see.
Officer, can you please help me and my family make this stop?
Yeah, absolutely.
The whole 105, can you help me? And the officer says, absolutely. Not, hey, I'll investigate, hey, I'll do my best. But there's a definitive statement by the officer. Absolutely. Now, maybe the officer is being just helpful. Maybe the officer is just being nice. I don't know. But what I do know is...
That's a great point. I never even thought of that. And that is definitely the sort of thing that you would say if you are a part of the same community and you trust each other, you know each other, and you support each other. But not in a really wholesome way, in a very corrupt, I'll do whatever the fuck you want type of way. Because who are these outsiders coming in that we don't know about, and they're probably pricks. I'll just side with you. Why not? Absolutely, I'll help you out, mate. Because you would. If you knew your shit and you were doing your job correctly as a police officer, you would say, I don't know yet. I'll have to look into it and see if what you're saying is true or correct or has any sort of basis.
In the redacted version, we don't see this whole thing about the officers wanting to make sure no one's recording. In the unredacted, you can see Ben is turning his camera phone on, and that's when the officer grabs his arm. Ben claims he was injured. I have no reason to doubt him. And the officer said he was tensing his arm up. But in the full context of the unredacted, it looks like the officer was trying to get that phone out of Ben's control by being very forceful with his arm. And then the officers do talk about the fact that Ben, the main guy, had his phone on and somebody else had a GoPro. But it's very obvious the officers did not want to be filmed raiding this house. Why not? Well, they came in there with guns drawn, rifles, handguns. They came a SWAT team, and they came for business. And officers, I don't care anybody who watched this, officers hate being recorded. They just hate it. And why? Well, because it causes them to lose control of the narrative. Well, Mark, it's a body cam. We're going to find out eventually. I get it. But look what's happened in this case. And this is very frequent. They release redacted versions of body cam to the public. And criminal defense attorneys like myself will often get unredacted versions of the body cam, but there's usually a court order. Bam! You will not give this to anybody except your client. And in some cases, you have to have your client come into your office and watch it. You can't send a copy to him. The reason they do that, and the prosecutors will say, hey, listen, Judge, we don't know every little bit that needs to be redacted, so we need you to give a court order saying don't give it to anybody so we can give it to them so we can move these cases along. And usually the unredacted stuff becomes available after a criminal case is closed. I don't like that, but that is the reality that many criminal defense attorneys do.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what happened here. There's unredacted versions that were leaked of them saying no recording, and that revealed the exact actual reason as to why they wanted to get the as to why the assault took place. The reason it was redacted is because it completely shows the true motive behind the assault. So they hid it. They hid it from everyone to make it seem as though the taking of his phone and grabbing of his arm was a little more justified. Because if that was in the footage from the very beginning, it would have been so obvious from the start. In fact, the fact that they cut it out and it was then released unwillingly makes it that much more obvious what they were actually doing was. Fuck, man, it's so grim. It's so bad, man. Again, I want to put a stop to that there. I don't want to look at these videos too much. They are great videos. It's a great channel. I would recommend watching it yourself, of course. Next, I want to talk about a statement from the CEO of Patreon, because, of course, Bricks and Minifigs was threatening to take down all of Reckless Ben's social media accounts and offer lawsuits to all the companies and stuff if they said no, and one of these companies ended up being Patreon. And so Patreon's owner, or CEO, one of the CEOs, I think it's co-owned, responded to BNM themselves. And I think this is an insanely good video, by the way. I've disagreed with Patreon before in the past. Again, I've spoken about how they've also done pretty good work on YouTube, especially in terms of like cinematography stuff and that. I'm a genuine fan of a lot of their content. And the service is good as well. But this video in particular, this is a very good look in my opinion.
My name is Jack Conti, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Patreon. On May 29th, Patreon received an official takedown request filed by Bricks and Minifigs for media and accounts related to Reckless Ben and an ongoing dispute regarding a local Lego consignment issue. This is the verified complaint with exhibits. This is the request for immediate content removal pursuant to temporary restraining order. And this is the motion for the temporary restraining order and preliminary injunction. So after an extensive review and investigation by Patreon's Trust and Safety team, we have in fact unfortunately determined that Bricks and Minifigs can stuff it we're keeping Ben's page up. And if Bricks and Minifigs doesn't like that, they can sue us. Patreon out.
I love it. I love it. I think it's great. It's... Shut up, the boys. Fucking bullshit. This is the 5th season as well. You suck. It's not often that you see companies, big companies, like Patreon or YouTube or Google, or I know YouTube and Google are way bigger than Patreon, but either way, there's companies smaller than Patreon that would never make videos like this. Ever. Patreon is run by people who clearly know what good PR is and know what the internet is a fan of. Unlike BNM, who very clearly don't. They're willing to destroy a whole company for $200,000 essentially. And it's not even about the money no more. It's just like, it's stubbornness, like I said earlier, in my opinion. It's pride. It's also that mustache. I feel like just, if he shaves the mustache off, I feel like he'd actually be a pretty nice guy. The mustache controls him. But the fact that a big company, or a CEO of a big company, is actually comfortable enough and so confident in the case enough to stand up to BNM, because BNM is definitely smaller than Patreon. So if they get sued, if Patreon gets sued, Patreon can probably drag it out to a point where BNM is going to suffer massive losses. Or if it ends up being a completely normal, legal, moral, like, I guess lawsuit, then I guess Patreon just believes that they'll win. And they have a very good team, a much bigger team than BNM. I'm talking about like PR and not even PR, but sort of, I get they do have a better legal team. There's no doubt in my mind, Patreon have a better legal team than BNM. So I have no reason to doubt the people at Patreon who were tasked with looking through the contracts, looking through the notices, the takedown notices, and coming to the conclusion that it was all bollocks, it was all bullshit, and doing nothing about it, like keeping the Patreon account up. I think that's a very good sign that Reckless Ben is in fact fighting the good fight, even if it's very easy or reasonable to disagree with some of the ways that he has gone about it, if that makes sense. The fact that Patreon is comfortable enough to side with him so vehemently, I think can only really be a good sign, in my opinion. Unfortunately, we get some bullshit as well, so of course we're going to talk about this too. So this is a video CoffeeZilla made where he goes over a lot of the Lego vigilanteism that has happened since this. So a lot of people are very rightfully angry at the Bricks and Minifigs situation, but the people shown in these videos aren't actually angry at the situation. They just want an excuse to fight people. You know that episode of South Park where Randy goes to the kids' baseball games, but he doesn't do it because he actually cares about the game or about his children. He does it because he wants an excuse to fight other dads. But it's under the altruistic purpose of, no, I just care for my kid. That's kind of exactly what's going on here. These are all just Randy Marshes. These are all Randy Marshes acting as though they care about the greater good and for theft and for the law and justice, like they're Batman. But in reality, they just want an excuse to punch someone in the face.
And also because there are children in some of these videos, and I just want to make sure they don't get caught up in this.
You cannot talk to children in here, bro. You cannot talk to children in here. Not in my store. Look it up. Not in my store. You cannot talk to them. Then call security. We're calling security. Call. Sir, if you are harassing our customers, they steal from people. Look at Reckless Ben's video.
So just to be clear, this is some random guy. He's not a lawyer. He's not a YouTuber. Not that it would matter if he was, by the way. But he just walks into a not even in Utah. This Bricks and Minifigs store is not associated with any of the bullshit going down in the whole Reckless Ben mini-series, I guess. Or the Brian stuff either. This has nothing to do with any of that. And this random fucking dweeb just walks in. I don't know if he set out specifically to find this BNM or if he was just going about his day, happened to find one and thought, you know what would be really cool right now? A little bit of power. I can tell them how shitty they are and how great I am. So he walks in and just tells this poor wee girl, this poor wee employee, go watch this YouTube documentary because your brand is doing it. He's like, bro, I just want money. I just want to go through my day and sell Legos and make money and then go home and probably be depressed because I still haven't made enough to pay rent this month. I don't need this fucking wanker in sunglasses and a sleeveless shirt to say anything to them other than, can I please purchase this Lego Death Star?
Get out of here right now. It's who you work for, you guys. You're working for Trump, bro. What? You're working for Trump. Doors over here, pal.
Yeah, so the guy's clearly a crazy person. Again, I'm not going to show you this whole video, but I will skip to a part where it gets, like, violent. Yeah, here. Again, the context does not matter. There is no context that would, like, justify this level of fight based on the Bricks and Minifigs drama in a completely unrelated store from a bunch of people who have nothing to do with the case. But it ends up going like this.
Why are you not listening? Why are you not listening to someone listening?
I know I'm gonna have to blur a lot of this. They're getting in some serious, brain damage in some of these hits here. A little CTE over a Lego store, guys. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. And actually, you can kind of hear a kid at one point talking in the background, like, why are they fighting? I mean, just can you imagine getting in some giant fight, two adults in a Lego store, mostly for kids, right? Like, that's what Lego mostly are enjoyed by, kids, over a YouTube video about a completely different store.
Yeah, it's complete, and it's a real fight as well. Like, these two are going at it. This is the kind of fight that legitimately could kill someone. Yeah, I mean, all it takes is one bang and for someone to hit the back of their head on the floor at the wrong angle, and that could legitimately kill them.
Sorry, bitch. Fucking God.
I'm not gonna play it, but you can see like blood trickling down as well in this video. Like, it's incredibly gory and fucking violent, and I cannot believe that this is something that has actually come out of this situation. These people are worse than anyone involved in the Reckless Ben documentary, any of the employees of B&M. In fact, I'd wager to bet that they're probably worse than the B&M CEO himself, as much of a tool as I think he is. Like, this is worse. You are worse than him if you are doing this. Okay, next, 2 more videos, right? We're almost done here. The first of which is bad news, the second of which is a hilarious example of the Bricks and Minifigs CEO being caught in a blatant fucking lie, and it is genuinely fucking glorious. Fuck, I said it again. I'm sorry. I'm genuinely sorry. So yeah, my plan was to end in a dark place, but we can finish with this Reckless Ben video, which is sad, and then immediately after look at the CoffeeZilla documentary. Not the whole thing, of course, but there's one moment I want to show you, just so that we're ending in somewhat of a happy place. You can go about the rest of your day with some glee and whimsy, eh?
Episode 3 is finally finished after crazy all-nighters and basically destroying my health. But I can't post it or I will go to jail. And not only that, I will also immediately lose my lawsuit of $300,000, and the GoFundMe we made for Brian will go straight to this mystery company that I am no longer allowed to talk about.
Now, it's a little rough because I have no idea what company he's talking about. If any of you can sort of educate me in the comments, if you are more aware of, corrupt companies and stuff, maybe you could let me know. But from what I'm aware, there have actually been a couple of scholars and intellectuals over in Russia trying to figure out exactly who this mystery company is. Because it really is, it makes me ponder. I might need to have a quick gander after I record this video. I might need to spend the whole next month trying to figure this out because I'm really quite curious. I just can't begin to imagine who this could, maybe Amazon, maybe? They've been a little sketchy in the, I haven't, it's really frustrating me. I wish I knew what this company was. You'd think that there's maybe some context clues in the previous videos or anything like that that sort of give it away to an extent, but I just can't think of any company that is known for frivolous lawsuits or trying to sort of corruptly win things when they know they've done something fucked up. No, I don't know. I've lost it. I'm sorry. I don't mean to disappoint you guys, but I just don't think I have it. And for the record, Brian's GoFundMe did get taken down. It was reinstated, but it was also taken down as well. So they are actively trying. Whoever this mystery company is, they are actively trying, and they're doing it. Not even trying, they are doing it, taking down as many things as they can. Even the GoFundMe, which is just not even related to them. Like, that is just them trying to make money. It has nothing to do with Bricks and Minifigs as far as I'm aware. Sorry, not Bricks and... the mystery company.
They sent court papers to my email, which I guess a judge approved for them that this was a valid form of service. And so now that I'm officially served...
Why were the mystery company allowed to send service via email, but Ben wasn't allowed to send service via email? He had to do it in person. This, again, seems like really clear corruption from that Utah Police Department. It's like, no, we'll make Ben has to do it in person, because then it's a lot easier for us to prevent it from happening. But if the opposite is true, we'll just let them email Ben, because if they do it in person, there's a likelihood that Ben sort of might reciprocate what happened to him, or be sort of bitter, or go, well, you didn't accept mine, there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to accept yours. Whatever, it could be complicated, so fuck it, just send it to him via email. Again, in my mind, this is just clear sign of corruption as well. Like, that makes no sense. It shouldn't be one set of rules for one person and a completely different set of rules for the other.
Even mention this company or I will be in jail and everything. Normally I would be like, screw the big guy telling me what to do. I'm gonna do what's morally right.
But in this situation, if I do that, then all my friends get screwed with this lawsuit, and we lose all the GoFundMe money we raised.
Yeah, and I don't blame him for that, by the way. I don't think anyone should, because anyone who's had experience in, like, I guess, managerial positions or positions where there are a lot of people you need to take care of will understand that sometimes you do need to kiss a little bit of arse, you do need to sacrifice a little bit of self-respect for the betterment of the people around you that you love so much and who rely on you. Like, if you're a boss at a company of 100 people and there is a real chance that you can, like, get some really great opportunities for a group of your employees, for example, but in order to do so, you have to sort of lick the arse of someone higher above you. Maybe not massively, but you do need to sort of a little bit maybe pander to them slightly, and that might feel a little bit weird, especially if you're someone with a lot of pride or something, but for the betterment of your employees, it is something worth doing a lot of the time. Especially if you're like the head of an athletes commission and you're trying to get like athletes into the Olympics, for example, just out of a weird, just a, you know, little random example there that is very realistic, I think. You might have athletes or people under your wing that might even start resenting you. Like, come on, dude, I understand you're prideful, I understand that it's embarrassing, but can you please just kiss a little bit of arse? Can you not be such a dick to these people who have so much power? Because I know I'm good enough to get into the Olympics and win it, but because you're not able to put your ego aside, you're preventing all of us from being able to get there. That's kind of what would happen here if Reckless Ben was genuinely reckless and revealed the name of the company, the mystery company that I'd have no idea who they are still, and just, you know, went against every part of the order because that's the morally right thing to do. He would be fucking not only himself, but everyone else involved in this situation. So I completely understand why he has chosen not to do so.
Immediately. So I am no longer allowed to even mention this mystery company. My personal opinion is that this is unfair because this order was put on me because this company was telling the court that I was making bomb threats. I was planning on murdering the manager and employees, which obviously I didn't do, and you can see that in the footage. The only problem is I was not given a chance to share my side. The court just heard their perspective, not mine. So because I wasn't able to share my side, I am now no longer allowed to talk about them, and it looks like this might be it. So yeah.
We've been seeing a lot of that, by the way. We've been seeing a lot of, like, his side just not being taken into account at all. We saw earlier with the whole, can you please do this stop? Absolutely we'll do it. We're not going to listen to him or ask him what this is about at all or look into it at all. We'll do it. Absolutely. No problem at all. Okay. Now to end, I want to show you this U-Haul story from the new CoffeeZilla video. It is magnificent. So the initial claim is that there wasn't a U-Haul on site and it was a rental car, but obviously there was a U-Haul and there's proof of this, and just have a look at this.
Brandon showed up to the Salem store in a rental car. When he came to get the keys from Crystal, he was there in a rental car, not in a U-Haul.
It wasn't until after he told me he was taking the keys and locking me out that I really kind of paid attention to the fact that he had a large, not the small, the large U-Haul truck.
So yeah, I just kept hearing about this U-Haul truck. Now, why is it significant, U-Haul or not? Well, one, a U-Haul truck can fit a lot of Legos, but the big reason it mattered to me was because I was actually called by an ex-employee of the Bricks and Minifigs store in Eugene, Oregon. Remember, that's the one that Brandon and Josh owned, and he told me something very interesting.
I'm a former employee, started in 2024, and I was working under the old manager Brian, and he sold the store to Brandon, Best, and Josh.
What store was this? Bricks and Minifigs where? Okay, now what did you see that made you want to talk to me?
I saw Reckless Ben's YouTube video about the Salem store closing down because when I was talking to my co-workers about the situation about Salem, and we were told through other employees that it was just a bad area to work in. It was like haunted, if you will, is what was going around. But after seeing the video of Reckless Ben, we exposed them, and it makes a lot more sense with what we dealt with Brandon and Josh. Like, oh, Crystal stole Lego sets and bolted out of the country.
Who says that?
Brandon Best told us. When he was jumping off all the Lego sets to us that night. And it was a bunch of used Lego sets, that set were like Saran Wrap. They had Star Wars CD. They had just a lot of stuff. It was like in a medium-sized U-Haul truck.
Wait. They brought a U-Haul truck.
Yeah, from Salem to Eugene.
And to Eugene, and it had a bunch of Star Wars sets on it?
Yeah, Star Wars sets, like everything. A bunch of used stuff too.
Wait, and was this when they took over the store from Crystal?
I believe so, yes. Yes, because he said that Crystal stole Legos and left the country.
While he has a U-Haul of Legos?
Yeah.
So then, CoffeeZilla gets the CEO of B&M on call to confront him about the U-Haul, but the CEO doesn't know that CoffeeZilla knows for a fact and has photo evidence of the U-Haul being there. So CoffeeZilla's playing it coy, like an actual police interrogation, trying to get, well, not even trying, there's no attempt there, it's the easiest thing in the world, but he gets the CEO to lie about there not being a U-Haul when everyone in this call knows there was in fact a U-Haul. And then there's the golden fucking moment where he goes, well, actually there was a U-Haul, I have a photo of it. Why are you lying to me? Have a look at this. It's genuinely incredible.
So last night, I talked with Matt McNeff. I brought up this question of the U-Haul. He told me emphatically there was no U-Haul. Y'all came to me this morning, you said, hey, we looked into it, there actually was a U-Haul there that night. Can you clear up what that's about?
So there's actually two different things that are going on here, just to help you understand. And I don't know if you want this particularly not on the record, but we do know of a disgruntled former employee that worked at another location that back on the 24th of October, there was a U-Haul that went to a storage unit in Salem for another previous franchisee, like for a different situation that we had just gone through some things, and he had a previously, like, hey, I have some inventory that I didn't turn over that I was supposed to. It's at this storage location. You guys can come pick it up. And so Brandon was sent on that day to pick up with a U-Haul inventory that then he moved down, but that was October 24th.
So when we're talking about this ex-employee, you're saying they are conflating the October 24th event of the U-Haul coming up to Eugene with Legos with some time after November 14th, after the store takeover. Is that correct? Am I understanding that?
Yes.
So this is now kind of a strange story. Corporate is saying there was a U-Haul at the Eugene store dropping off Lego, but that was from a different night, different collection. Then, weeks later, on November 14th, Brandon supposedly shows up again with a U-Haul, but the reason isn't for hauling Legos.
Now, just to be clear, let's remember that the original story was there was no U-Haul. And then there's evidence that there was a U-Haul, and all of a sudden it becomes, oh no, there was! So here's the different story that you should believe. I'll speed this one up because they do a lot of over-explaining because it's fucking they're lying. They are lying. It's the most obvious lie in this whole fucking case, actually. One of them, for sure. It's definitely the one that proves, like, very much malicious intent.
Flew in to Eugene that night, at midnight. So flew from Utah on the 13th, but landed in Oregon on midnight of the 14th. Went and got a rental truck, and then went and stayed at a trailer that had previously been moved up there in anticipation, meaning a camper trailer, in anticipation of the potential hostile takeover previously.
Is that why he had a U-Haul? Is that the reason he had a U-Haul was for this camper, or what's going on with the?
Yes. So then what happens is he takes his rental vehicle truck and he tries to connect the trailer. The camping trailer to that truck, and it's not rated for that particular weight, and he realized, oh crap. He called around and found that U-Haul had a rating for one of their box trucks, and so he grabbed that, went and got it at 10 a.m. on the 14th, and so he then went and hooked that trailer up to the camping trailer to a U-Haul, drove that trailer down to another location where he could set up the camping trailer in Salem, dropped out the camper trailer, and then he arrived in a U-Haul to the Salem store, and then went in, said hi to Crystal. And then as she was leaving, the door shuts, and so he locks it,
calls the locksmith, takes him a while to finish up the changing of the locks.
They have to cut it. They have to cut it out, man. This is such a clear example of lying, by the way. When you have to explain this much shit. If there was this much going on, why didn't you think to mention any of it beforehand? It's been proven. He's gone back. This guy really. It's so good. It's very good work from CoffeeZilla. It's extremely good journalism from CoffeeZilla.
And he has an hour drive back to Eugene to drop off the rental truck. So he drops it off at, midnight or 1 o'clock, something like that, grabs the rental truck, and then heads back up to the camper trailer in Salem. And then, probably gets in at around 2 or 3 in the morning, spends a couple of, gets that's a little bit of sleep before he has to head back to the store at 9 a.m. before the other employees get there. The timeline that is trying to be portrayed just makes absolutely zero sense.
Okay, so I asked, obviously, for documentation of all of this from Brandon. And here's what I got. First, the U-Haul contract on November 14th. This checks out what we already know. Then I got sent a photo. The last one Brandon took in the Salem store, dated 9:44 p.m., where you can see what looks like the inside of a bird cage that the Gormans had. And lastly, I was sent a photo Brandon took of the mileage in the U-Haul as he dropped it back off at the rental place on November 15th, 12:41 a.m. Now, the time gap there is about 3 hours between the last photo in Salem to dropping the U-Haul off, which is a bit of a problem for our timeline.
Yeah, it took like 4 hours. I mean, I worked till like 11 o'clock, and I got up early for my other job.
You moved 4 hours of Legos out of this truck.
Yeah.
All right, so as weird as this U-Haul thing is, the timeline just doesn't fit, to be honest. If it took 4 hours to unload, you can't also drive to another city, load and unload and drop off the U-Haul in that time. But still, even if this is true, it's pretty weird. And it's one of the most bizarre stories I've ever heard, to have a U-Haul thing back to back. One of the times you're picking up Legos, the other time you're not, you're taking a camper. Nevertheless, without more proof, we kind of have to move on to another theory of how to find these missing Lego.
Yeah, absolutely. There's not like, it's not definitive on either side in terms of, but it's like, it's extremely fucking suspicious and funny seeing this CEO stumble, mumble, jumble his way through a story that he blatantly lied about. Because he knows how bad it looks, and he thought he'd get away with it. He didn't know that this former employee had called, I guess. Well, he did know, but he didn't know just how relentless they would be in terms of like remembering everything, providing all the evidence, I guess, because there's no way he would have lied that obviously if he had known that. Talking about, oh no, there was no U-Haul, but I completely respect this employee, he must be getting it wrong in good faith, no problem. Actually, no, there was a U-Haul. Well, it's a disgruntled, it's a disgruntled employee, resentful that we fired him. We have no relationship with him, and but there was a U-Haul though, but just not in the way that they're claiming. Just to be clear, it's like no one fucking trusts you, dude. The CEO is horrible. It's so embarrassing as well. It's so embarrassing. I'm surprised we've not seen one video of him honestly twirling his mustache. Right, I'm using the G word too much. But honestly, with that, I feel as though we should end the video. We end in a happy place. A liar getting caught in a lie. As I'm recording this video, Legal put out another video on the Reckless Ben sort of finale, I guess. But you can go watch that yourselves. I think this video is long enough as it is. So as always, hopefully that was like a decent overview of the entire situation for those who wanted it in one relatively concise video, as long as it was. But either which way, hopefully you all enjoyed watching. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment, and I will catch you all in the next one. So, yeah, bye.